So that's 5 total for Aimbot Calvin and King Richard, and it looks like, oh wow, so we just got an update from the production. 15-0 is the lead that King Richard and Aimbot Calvin had coming into this one, so I was very safe with my King Richard predictions.
Yes, you were.
As predicted, right?
Yeah, calculated.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Jeez, 15-0.
I mean, you imagine the Cobble Cup and Young had to, like, unfortunate drop, maybe like a tilted or a retail row salty, something along those lines where they, just happened to kind of face off against the RNG, and as per typical, RNG likes to win a majority of the time. So,
yes, it does.
Rather unfortunate for those boys.
Yes, it does. Well, I can only imagine that King Rich and Aimbot Calvin still maintain that lead of sorts, and as we're getting down to the final 30, actually, we are currently there now, 29 players remaining, and you have that massive amount of lead coming in. Obviously, Quabblecop Dayong it's going to be tough for them to make this comeback, especially with King Richard about to snipe this head off of this player. You think you're safe, but King Richard is right there stalking you out, and he gets it. He can't get the full elimination, however, as that player is going to dip behind that car. But, of course, you can only imagine there's going to be more teammates at least pushing up in the distance as we're going to see a great push on top of this hill.
I just want to notice, too, Quabblecop and Dayong, at this point in the game, they're on the very eastern side of the map. If you're down 15 kills, why are you not sending at least one person to tilt it? Like maybe they went like one retail, one retail, one salty. But I don't know, man. I think down 15 kills, you got to send maybe like a double push to tilted, maybe at least one split, something along those lines. Definitely kind of out of character when it comes down to most things. Maybe a team who's still yet kind of developing those strategies and still getting underhand what exactly it means to be down in the game and really how to improve. But yeah, man, kind of odd strategies that we see being on the right side of the map when you're down a massive majority, such as 15 kills.
I wanted to say, Quabblecop, I was kind of questioning, why is he staying with King Richard Aimbot Calvin? There's no reason for him to do that, maybe split up, but he has stolen a lot of kills from King Richard and Aimbot Calvin. I would say at least 4 at this point, just himself. So he's looking good. I think he's at 8 frags. Yeah, so obviously showing, typically I'd go against that strategy, but it seems to be working as King Richard Aimbot Calvin, they're putting in all the work, but Quabblecop's coming in and he's just putting that one bullet in the players and he's just knocking them left and right. So 8-4, that puts us at 12 and on to the left 7. Of course, still a lead for King Richard Aimbot Calvin, but they're closing it in.
Yeah, not a crazy amount of engagements left, but definitely going to need to try to find these as quick as possible and hope that it maybe one King Richard Aimbot Calvin could fall. That's what we really are trying to pray for at this moment. But yeah, man, if Quabblecop can still start to be a little bit of a thorn in the side, as they do have a 10 frag advantage, he can start to steal some kills away and maybe try to set up Dayong to find some rogue squads kind of roaming throughout the map. And that's what he's kind of praying for right now, hoping he sees a player run through his line sight, because that's what's going to be the key factor of them moving on in this matchup. But I believe he does have someone on his tracks. That's actually going to be Aimbot Calvin, actually. Yep. So I like that play, trying to keep him at bay, making sure that any opportunities where he tries to split isn't possible. It's a smart veteran play coming in from King Richard and Calvin.
Yeah, I mean, simply all you have to do is shadow and make sure you get at least half the kills. You're up by, I believe, 10 kills. So that's the right play. I was going to point that out when I had a chance. Is King Richard probably makes the call. Aimbot Calvin, one of the two, make the call to rotate over to King Richard, or rotate over to Quabblecop and Dayong, and just one person shadows each player. You get at least half the kills. If you get 25% of the kills at this point, you win the game. So I like that strategy. I like that call. I think safe to say here, King Richard and Aimbot Calvin in a good position to move on.
18 frags remaining at this point. Course 10 down as we're going to have to see what's in store for us. That circle is getting pretty tight with these amount of players remaining as the storm is going to close in. Who's going to play that gatekeeper role effectively, as we see King Richard is going to be bringing down the Taj Mahal just in front of him. And will that player die from fall damage? Well, he will in fact be damaged, and King Richard looks like he's going for the finish as he does get it. Great defensive building to get a little bit of that high ground, but as we say that, a player is in fact moving in, and I think that was another player who got that elimination, as we got, I believe, 2 teams fighting it out just in front of King Richard. But of course, as long as he stays alive and at least he gets knocks, at least 1 or 2 knocks at a time, with this many engagements still remaining, obviously it's going to be in their favor, as we're seeing some graffiti going down for Aimbot Calvin.
The E3 spray as well.
I'm so jealous of that. I
know, man. The 3 llamas look so good. I need it. I actually thought about buying one on eBay, but didn't do that, fortunately. They're pretty high in price, which they absolutely should be, right?
You can buy one on eBay?
I think you could. I think they were codes.
Oh, they were codes?
Yeah, they were codes, I believe.
How much?
But, I don't remember, but it was a price.
Don't tell me, because you know what? I'm already interested.
You probably
I need to stop,
them.
and I'm like, all right, I'm going to go buy it. No, we're not going to do that. We are controlling ourselves now.
I've been very impressed with you. I'm not going to lie. There's been some really nice skins on the market recently.
The newest skin that was just
released.
The newest skin
I bought that 100%, yes.
I was like, I should have bought it. I didn't. But as we see, look at that. Who's that? Quabblecop.
I'm just trying to tempt you even more.
Please stop. Quabblecop is going to go down, and that means Ida Young, of course, already at the kill deficit, is in fact going to be all by his lonesome. And of course, this being a loser bracket round is all too real that they will in fact be moving out of this tournament. As of course, we see King Richard and Aimbot Calvin still finding those engagements, and Ida Young is going to spot a couple of them himself. But with that being said, he does take some fall damage, and this is pretty rough if you're Ida Young. But overall, they had a great tournament run, I would have to say. At least they beat some notable players, and honestly, I'm not disappointed in them. I think this is probably one of their best finishes overall, tournament-wise, in Friday Fortnite. But you got to give it to King Rich and Aimbot Calvin. Definitely becoming one of our most consistent teams out there, as we see Ida Young is in fact going to drop. So that's going to be it. King Richard, Aimbot Calvin are in fact going to be moving on, as you said. I should have never
doubt me.
I should have never doubted you. I'm sorry.
It was a complete accident.
So they're going to be moving on to play Ninja and Hysteria. Ninja and Hysteria, of course, a favorite to move on throughout this tournament. But King Richard and Aimbot Calvin in the past, I believe, maybe not Ninja and Hysteria, but they have beat Ninja at times.
Yeah.
So
I think they beat him 2 weeks ago, and I think King Richard and Aimbot Calvin got knocked out last week
by Ninja.
Ninja and Hysteria, I believe.
Yeah. So this is still going to be a pretty big match.
Always close games between both of these squads, which obviously sets up awesome matches for the ending of our losers bracket, which of course it's kind of getting down to the nitty gritty. Of course, we've kind of given our predictions as to which teams we think can kind of make it through it, and obviously far. But this is one of the kind of highlighted matches. One of the pay-per-view games that we have in the losers bracket is of course one of our most talented squads, one of our most consistent squads, Aimbot Calvin and King Richard, versus kind of the new duo-ship of Ninja and Hysteria after last week placing top 4 first tournament together. Of course, they kind of had that prior chemistry, playing Halo together, playing under Cloud9 together, of course, 2014 and 2015. But yeah, man, it's going to be a fantastic match to watch. Like I said, one of the greatest games that we're going to have in the losers bracket today.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. And, of course, a lot of storylines still remain. We have Cypher awaiting us in the loser bracket final. We have Ninja and Hysteria trying to move on through King Richard and Aimbot Calvin. But you also have on the bottom there Nick Merckx himself potentially making his way to face off against his brother, his teammate, longtime teammate Cypher in the losers final. So much craziness still remains in this tournament. Let us know what you guys are thinking in the chat. Make sure you're tweeting out using the hashtag FridayFortnite. But, guys, we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. A lot more exciting action coming your way.
This video is sponsored by Retail Me Not. Alright, internet. Let's find some deals.
trees, it's hard to breathe, but I will keep fighting. With broken walls, nowhere to fall, but I will keep climbing. I can't see, I'm in the dark, surrounded by sharks, but cloud over me. I can't see, I'm in the dark, surrounded by sharks, but cloud over me.
Hi, welcome back to Friday Fortnite. My name is Taylor Noble, or at Reflections. I was really excited about saying my name, apparently. But joining me on the couch is going to be Fallout with 2 T's. And, of course, Ryan, you guys go back a long way. Please tell me how long you guys go back.
Years, man. I think my first event was in 2008. I know you're about 2007, and we kind of met during like the Gears of War 2 era, roughly around 2009. And it's been finesse boys.
Finesse boys at it.
Back when it was crazy. Gears of War scene was insane. I know how chaotic. I remember you telling me how chaotic it used to be back in the day, man. Like, it used to be like COD back in, like, Black Ops 2.
Yeah, I mean, people think that, like, we're crazy now, right? 'Cause there's a lot of trash talking Gears of War. There's a lot of, uppity screaming, doing high fives. Like, it used to be way worse back in the day, right? Ask
More cameras.
Like, guys from MLG and stuff like that. We used to go down. It was crazy, but, those are the good old days.
Yeah, I actually wish I could go back in time and kind of check a little bit of that out, because that's kind of the competitive community that I enjoy doing. Great transition. But, hey, look, guys, we're looking – we're back. Welcome back to – No, but seriously, we're getting further in the tournament. We're probably going to be seeing our next matchup of Ninja Nasteri going against King Richard and Aimbot Calvin. We've been talking about it. This is still going to be a tough matchup. Of course, you've already made your decision. You think Ninja Nasteri is going to be facing off in the finals against FaZe. You think they'll make their way through. He's already determined that. Do you have any opinions as of right now? I can give you a rundown who's left.
I mean, in this matchup, I do give Ninja the nod as well. Obviously, Ninja and King Richard used to play together, right? So there's a little bit of, old teammate animosity there. I just personally give the nod of the experience, right? Ninja and Asteria guys have been playing on big stages their whole career in esports. So here we are on a pretty big stage in Friday Fortnite for a lot of money. So that's kind of who I'm going with.
Yeah, absolutely, and we're already going to be getting into the action. This is the matchup that we wanted to see. Ninja and Asteria going against King Richard and Aimbot Calvin. Map 1, whoever wins this will move on to at least the losers semifinals to play off against Courage and Scissors, or maybe even Nick Merckx and Parallax if they beat Mitch Jones and Grenader Jake. But here we are dropping in, and looks like Hysteria and Ninja both have tilted. Or maybe even shifty. It might be a shifty drop, which is fine because we've seen them do that quite often in the past. Yeah. And then it looks like we have a salty drop for King Richard and Aimbot Calvin.
Yeah, so King Richard and Aimbot Calvin opting for that common phase strat that we're used to seeing, dropping the outskirts of Salty, pick up some pretty cheap loot, and then rotate into Salty and clean up as many kills as possible, and you end up with quite a pot of loot on your end. Meanwhile, Ninja Asteria have loved that shifty drop over and over and over again. You see them go to that spot. You can rotate Tilted, you can rotate Greasy Grove, a lot of different options out of that shifty drop.
I've been surprised with how many players have been dropping shifty, too. In past weeks, we've seen that as one of those kind of areas that never gets a lot of action. Meanwhile, kind of today, we've seen a lot of gunfights a lot of teams landing, and I mean, Ninja and Hysteria almost actually got knocked out early. Remember, Hysteria made that big play to keep Ninja up and keep them into the game, which ended up winning them a big map.
The thing about shifty is, at least you're almost guaranteed to have at least one team fight at that point, but the team that you're going to be going against typically isn't top tier. You're thinking a lot of the top tier players are going to be heading over to Salty. They like to hit up retail. They like to hit up those areas, maybe even Tilted, that are hotly contested, because a lot of these, mind you, they're going against public players. They're going against public lobby players. They want to get into the action and get into the action fast. So shifty tends to be slow, and you get a lot of the slower teams, slower players that tend to go there. So you get in, you get a team kill, but you also end up kitted up as well as you push in. You have options. You can go to Greasy Grove if you want to go there. I know that was a popular spot last tournament, but you can also head over to Tilted. A lot of different options from this point to rotate through. But Salty, by far, at least for my sake, is my favorite area to go to. The amount of places that you can rotate to is superior.
Yeah, right here it's really interesting. No one drops to Shifty, so I think that's a kind of a loss off the bat for Ninja and Hysteria. But I don't know how many people are going to be at Salty. I think it was a little further down the bus path, so they're taking their time looting. I think you'll see a Salty or retail rotation come in soon here from King Richard and Aimbot Calvin. We'll have that question answered. But I think at this point, it's been a while. It might be just the last team in Salty, so they might only be picking up at least one squad wipe here. We'll see.
Yeah, you know, FaZe, we've been watching them, and they love to hit up the outskirts just as King Richard and Aimbot Calvin do, but they love to get into Salty a lot faster. Whereas King Richard and Aimbot Calvin, they a little bit sluggish getting over there. They will get over there, though, with at least a couple of good things in their inventory, but not too much to really go crazy over. But still, though, with that being said, they got to get through this team, and they've got to start picking up their speed overall. You know, when they're playing against a team like Ninja and Asteria, once they start heating up, especially when they get the tilted, you're going to be in a danger of getting a huge deficit added onto your score. So you've got to be careful. You've got to start getting to work. But with that being said, Aimbot Calvin, guys, he's already dropped. He is completely eliminated, and King Richard last alive.
Shot in the back.
Yeah, and Aimbot Calvin right there, quite a misplay. 2 opportunities. One, didn't have the awareness to remember that there's someone that was at that top tower and didn't put a wall behind him, and he got tagged up pretty hard by that individual. And then 2, kind of trapped himself in the little square and was not able to edit himself out of that. Kind of just stood there and turtled for a little bit. Almost looked like he was trying to edit peak, but obviously
I was going to point that out. Yeah, he tried to do the edit. People call the edit glitch, whatever you want to call it, and then it was just big gray box, can't see through it. Right? It's part of the latest update. So I'm curious to see kind of how people have to adapt now to a trick that used to get people a lot of information about where their opponents are. Now you got to rely on a lot more things like sound and kind of where they're going to be.
Yeah, because a lot of these things is second nature, peeking through your builds or even double pumping through walls, which we've been seeing quite a few players trying to double pump through these structures. But of course, it's been nerfed by at least 50% when it comes to pumps and tacks as well as heavies, 25%. So it's not effective whatsoever. Yet we still see these players continually trying to do that, and they're not even breaking down one wall. So it just comes down to you just got to learn how to adjust and react. But like I said, muscle memory is going to take over. Old habits die hard. Exactly true. The old adage goes, and it is true in this case. But this is what I was talking about. Now, Aimbot Calvin, he dies. King Richard, a little bit sluggish off the start. He's going to have at least 3 kills in his back pocket.
Hit you with the minigun. What a boss.
But Ninja and Asteria at Tilted, they are probably going to pick up a lot of engagements here.
Yeah, Ninja absolutely loves that new minigun meta. He's going to get himself caught in a build war here. Actually, no, I think that's Asteria building to his right. He's going to get a call out that someone dropped and looking to edit down and pick off a kill here. Ninja, one of the best editors and builders that in the game, as he's going to take out one off the bat here. Good plays from Ninja. I am just fixated at the top left of my screen. always marvel at Ninja's gameplay. He's such a phenomenal individual player.
And look at there's some opponents up on that roof behind him too. So he actually was kind of risking there. He didn't build anything behind him, so there's a good chance he could have gotten shot in the back there. But obviously lucked out and got the kills, and it's just kind of continuing to loot. I'm a little surprised that there's still this much action in Tilted. It's pretty late now. We're only 38 players remaining, and we kind of saw King Richard and Aimbot Calvin go to Salty late. Now we're kind of seeing a late hit at Tilted, but it seems to be working a lot better for Ninja and Asteria now.
Yeah, it definitely does. But then again, where do you rotate after this, right? Loot Lake is going to be your area, whereas King Richard, he's going to be by that dusty divot, so he's got quite a few options to be rotating through. It looks like he's going over to Retail Row now at this point, so there's potential to find some more players over there. So with that being said, yeah, Tilted has a lot of engagements, but still, Ninja's only sitting at 3 kills. We know that King Richard or Aimbot Calvin had, I think, 1 kill maybe, or maybe he was sitting he had 0 kills. But
Calvin,
so either way, so we're sitting at 3 kills each for sowing. So obviously showing, yeah, he may be at Tilted, but there's not a lot of action there. These rotations are going to be extremely crucial. King Richard, though, in a big fight. Let's see if he can win it.
And he's also back against the Storm. If you look at the top right of his corner, you see the mini-map. He looks like he's a considerable distance from the Storm right now. He's pretty low health, and there's 4 people on him. He does have a med kit, which is pretty helpful, and a campfire. But if I'm him, I don't know. You're going to take a lot of fall damage at the same time. I'm not sure if he's going to get out alive here.
And I don't agree with how he played this, too. He
goes down, yeah.
He had height advantage, was in a good position, and they had to push into his Storm. He instead heads down and pushes, almost looks like a Gears goon.
Right, head down, smash A.
Watch the demo about
he had to get, I don't know, maybe in his mind he had to get those kills fast because we couldn't see just how far he was from the Storm, right? So he could have been a considerable amount away from the Storm and kind of felt like he had to push those kills and maybe met up, get some resources. I'm not really sure. But yeah, I agree with you. It's a little too aggressive for being basically 4 people in front of him who have to move forward.
Now Ninja and Asteria smell blood in the water, and they're going to go forth and get this extra credit, as we like to call it. Of course, they're only 1 frag down at this point, and a lot of potential for coming through big in this second round, especially to knock out King Rich and Aimbot Calvin and push your way forward. This is a big opportunity for them, and they're going to definitely live it up, and we'll see how they're going to perform as we have a total of 30 frags still remaining. And look at that circle. It is massive, as now they are going to kind of just rotate through, maybe play that gatekeeper role. We'll see. But Loot Lake is just one of those eyesores that you just gotta navigate. You have to.
Extra credit. I like that. I was always the guy that finessed extra credit in high school. Ryan.
Oh yeah, you already know what it is. Every finesse opportunity. But no, like honestly, if you're Aimbot Calvin and King Richard, like up until this point, I know there's still a lot of kills left on the map. But I mean, if you look at Hysteria, hasn't got a kill yet. Ninja, who's one of the most explosive players in Fortnite, only has 3 kills. So you're not sitting in the worst spot. Obviously, again, these are 2 players who could easily pop off 20 of the remaining 30 kills in the blink of an eye. But I mean, this isn't the worst case scenario, especially with how early Aimbot Calvin went down.
Yeah, absolutely. So as we'll see how they are going to navigate this loot lake area, as they see shots are in fact going to be at the 60, but still all the way across the other way. We do have a tie game. I mean, it's pretty close, but like I said, the circle is in fact going to be collapsing down. What could we see from Ninja and Hysteria? It's going to be very slow coming at this point, but nobody home. Will anybody be rotating out of Pleasant?
And they have plenty of time here.
They do.
Ninja and Hysteria really embodying the slow and steady wins the race philosophy. And when they played Friday Fortnite, they like to play a lot more passive and really play for late game and get those kills. Because you're guaranteed, if you make it this far, at least 10 to 15 of these last kills. So right now, only 3 kills, but you can guarantee they're going to end up with at least 10 to 15.
Still plenty of action left in the map, that's for sure, especially for players of this caliber.
Yeah, absolutely. So as we're seeing Hysteria.
Oh,
looking at
the pub player does finesse it down, though.
Yeah, he definitely finessed it. As we see him now coming in, he's going to try and get the revive. Hysteria trying himself to go for the rest. Now, this is a bold play, especially with the team pushing up forward. Now, of course, he is, in fact, going to get it off. Does he throw the half pot as Ninja's way? But that was a very bold push, and luckily for him, his opponents did not push forward, which...
Was that a full team?
That was a full team, and they didn't push forward whatsoever.
Interesting decision to go for the Ninja revive there, or the sneak revive, no pun intended. But it's going to be Ninja now that's just going to edit and try and stay alive. He's low on health, needs to be very cautious, going to take some fall damage, but it's going to be Hysteria who finally takes out the last member, I believe. Double Campfire comes in, and they are going to survive without even a scratch, as Ninja will have full health here momentarily.
One thing I've noticed from watching this team just throughout today is they actually seem to revive each other more than any other team I've watched in Friday Fortnite. A lot of times, the teammates will see the other people on the map, right? They'll see the opponents and they'll kind of get scared and not necessarily go for the revive, which we've seen it pay dividends for Ninja and Hysteria so far in this tournament.
Now, do you think that's Ninja finessing and saying, hey, you better pick me up, or do you think it's just a teamwork?
I mean, I think it's just they both have an esports background, right? They both know teamwork really, really well. They both competed together actually on the same team. So I think that just they probably put a little different value on it than other people, right? A lot of these guys go for high kill gameplays all the time, head down, get kills. So I just think that they maybe put a little more emphasis on it than other teams.
Yeah, well said. I could totally see Ninja being that guy that goes down in Gears of War or
right?
Fortnite and says, you better revive me. You know, prospect-esque. And for good reason. Ninja is one of the best players in Fortnite right now, of course, as you check out his gameplay. Anytime where he is up, he is doing work and doing damages. He's now back to full health here. 18 people left in the game, so that's 16 kills. This potential. Actually, one person's going to go down here, so make that 15. Sniper's looking cross map. Sarah needs to be careful here, looking for a good opportunity. Not going to connect.
But this is still a bad spot for them to be in there, getting in these long distance fights as we see players dropping left and right due to other opponents. As player 282 just went off and picked up that whole squad as they're going to be pushing forward, and Hysteria is not able to get in and get those shots off, unfortunately, because he's such a long distance. We see even Ninja himself trying to get those AR shots across the way, and the Storm. Look at the Storm. The Storm is to the back. They've got to run away from that. They know the players are going to be pushing in from Loot Lake, so they had the potential to pick them off maybe later, but at this point, they don't even. I was expecting a lot more kills coming from them.
And that right there is actually why that assault rifle is out of meta. Is that long range with the assault rifle, you're not going to do much. So a lot of people are just taking an SMG for close and medium range, silenced, and a scoped assault rifle, and thermal assault rifle is actually very heavily in the meta right now, which makes more sense. To have a scoped assault rifle right there,
the
you're
thermal
at least,
shreds.
It really does.
Thermal shreds.
Especially in Tfue's hands. I've seen the man do ridiculous things. So with the scoped AR right there, you're getting at least 3 or 4 kills.
I do think, though, even with the regular ARs, with the first bullet accuracy update that was added, I mean, you see guys like Tfue are like, they've already perfected the whole art of like tap shooting, right? Where it resets the bloom very quickly, and they have just obviously great shots themselves. So I think I kind of like the idea here. I mean, their opponents are already dead. Everything from here is kind of the extra credit we talked about. So to get a nice little knock, you don't really got to worry about finishing it because no one's going to really go for the revive in the Storm right now. Both these players have heals. I think it's a pretty decent play right here, especially because they got to go through the water, so they're basically in the mud.
Yeah, and that's the thing about Loot Lake. It's so hard to navigate through, especially if you catch yourself in the Storm. And Ninja's doing exactly what he should be doing, and I believe Hysteria has broke out, and he's going to be pushing ahead of the Storm to try and find those engagements in case maybe Ninja goes down in the Storm, which he doesn't, luckily, but that is, in fact, going to pay off. That's going to be 6 eliminations in his hands now as they're going to continue that lead, that extra credit, as I talked about, as we see 12 more engagements still to remain as the circle is in fact collapsing down a considerable amount, as we're now going to be over here at the soccer field, the old soccer field, and we'll see who is going to be home.
Looks like it's closing over Snobby. It's a pretty unorthodox closing.
Yeah, a little bit different here. Is Ninja flirting with the Storm a little bit. Doesn't have any heals either, so he's going to be tagged up quite.
And that's all he has is the campfire.
And exactly. And the campfire is basically you're dead in water because you can't move. So it's interestingly, yep, there it is. Ninja's going to get knocked. So was it worth it? You know, he's going to.
Oh, I don't think there's a med kit right there.
I know. Oh, that is disappointing.
So he was going for the campfire to stay alive, med kit to try and clutch up. That's crazy.
You hate to see it.
Yeah, 2 kills picked up. I think it's worth it. You know, you now have Hysteria alive in a 1 versus 11. I think he can pick up at least 4 or 5 kills here. For those 2 kills, assuming Hysteria can clutch up, I think that's worth.
Well, Hysteria's got to battle this hill, and I believe there's going to be players on top of it. I know we saw a considerable amount of building up here, but that could have been prior builds overall, unless there's some people just randomly camping inside this house, which I highly doubt. But him having this high ground is going to be hugely beneficial, as yes, there is in fact going to be a player ahead. And you would expect with King Richard Amot Calvin dropping so early that the score difference would be monumental, but it's not. It's only at 5 at this point. Of course, though, Hysteria still has engagements remaining, and it looks like he's going to put them to good use and be able to pick them all up. But still, though, it's not going to be as much of a lead as I thought we were going to have going into game number 2. But yeah, Hysteria, he's in the storm. He's on top of this hill, and he's just going to rain bullets down on the opponents.
So some grenades are coming in here. So well played by Hysteria right there. Rather than sitting around where he killed the first guy, he's actually going to rotate, and he's going to know that everyone's going to expect him to be by that downed opponent. So instead he rotates wide right and gets a good first shot on this Zoe here. And by the way, also has himself a nice height advantage.
Definitely does. Getting that high ground so incredibly important. Knows there's a player
2 teams
just behind him.
Other guy was shooting at the Zoe character.
So that's the thing. This hill, especially with the circle collapse now, like you said, was going to be very awkward. All these teams are wanting to get that high ground, so they're all pushing this hill to try and get that advantage to rain down bullets. So I believe it could be at least 2 teams or a couple teams even pushing them.
I'll say one of those guys down low finessed one of his kills, and I think that guy's a solo.
Absolutely.
Yep, no, you're spot on, Ryan. I think it is 2 teams right here. Maybe even 3 is that Zoe and that Omega might be fighting as well. If I'm Hysteria, though, I've gotten some good tags. I'm doing exactly this. I'm pushing for these kills because you know they're weak. They're going to be trying to med up or shield up here. So Hysteria now does not have any explosives, though, which is kind of costly in this exact scenario. That C4 would be perfect right now if he had it.
He's got a lot of minis, though, too, which is really helpful kind of, mid-fight and everything. And I mean, if I'm him, like, your teammates said already, every kill matters. He's got to be a little more aggressive before it looks like if we have 9 players left, could be 2 teams of 4 before they kind of start taking each other out. I think he's got to be a little more aggressive on him.
Yeah, and it really wouldn't hurt him to be more aggressive at this point because they know they're going to be going into game 2 with at least a minor lead at this point of, about 6 kills total at this point, unless he picks up more. So being aggressive here wouldn't hurt, but then again, also not being aggressive doesn't hurt either because he can kind of just chill out in the back and just pick up some last remaining kills. Great use of the bounce trap to come up, pick him off with the shotgun. And you talk about these bounce traps being added, and man, I got to tell you, they were a great addition. You know, I thought impulses were extremely valuable, but these bouncer traps have become even more valuable so as we see so many different uses.
Now he's going to spot that Zoe, actually. I thought that Zoe was taken out by the Omega, but instead it was 3 different teams, Ryan. You're spot on here. So Hysteria now playing this so smart, patient, and just using his height advantage to his advantage as he's going to be able to get some good kills here. 1 on the Omega and 2 on the Zoe momentarily. And
he still has 1 more bounce pad, too. We see what he's been able to do with it so far.
There it is.
Another solo kill. Yep. Making the best of the situation for sure with Ninja going down.
Well, to overtaking his hill was the big moment for him, and what a shot coming in. Hysteria has been landing these shots left and right all night tonight, proving himself to be a very valiant player when it comes to overall snipes. And will he use this bouncer trap to kind of push the opponents to see the building is in fact going to be going down, dropping down. Great use. And going right back up once again aggressively for this push, but his mats are in fact growing thin. As are the engagements. And a player from behind. I believe this is a second team, or at least maybe even a solo on another team. He's pinched.
So if I'm Hysteria right now, I'm trying to disengage in any way I can. He's going to try and get some health back, disengages from that fight, gets his shields, and let these 2 teams fight for at least a little bit. You want to try and bounce pad out of there if you can, but a tough situation nonetheless to be in if you're Hysteria. There it is. Some good shots put in. I'm absolutely loving this play right now from Hysteria. He's going to go and get high ground now. When there's 2 teams that you're fighting against, there's really no reason to try and head down and put yourself in a risky position. Get height advantage and really just tag those people up and try and clean up kills, especially in 1v2, 1v3s. Perfect gameplay here from Hysteria as there's 7 people left, so 6 others. It's 2 teams guaranteed. 1 person gets eliminated here, so at least 1 or 2 teams left.
He's doing a great job staying alive, too.
Oh, he's doing a great job just working these teams, like kind of juking them out, getting the high ground, pushing down, editing through.
It's being annoying, really.
It is, but I mean, he's doing exactly what he needs to do at this point. You just want to
be as annoying as possible.
And the thing is everybody just keeps pushing him. Like, they're just running straight into him. Now, without that being said, though, these guys aren't bad players that he's going against. I mean, he's having to build up considerably well, but look at his defensive builds, too.
He gets the kill for that, by the way. That guy knocked himself out. So he does get the kill if you eliminate someone who downed themselves. So heads up play by Asteria to pick that one up.
3 engagements still remaining. And
he's just playing Ring Around the Rosie at this point. This is perfect play, honestly. He's doing everything to fluster the opponents and for them to push him, and he's always in the right situation with the high ground, making great use of the bounce pads.
Yeah, I feel like I'm watching Halo 3 because Halo 3, the benefit and the advantage of staying alive and valuing your life, sometimes it's better to have less deaths than more kills, and that's exactly how Asteria is playing right now. Just staying alive, valuing his life, and it's really, really different than you see most Fortnite pro players play.
I like his use of the bounce pads to kind of reset. Have you noticed that? It's like the third time where he's used a bounce pad to jump off of the big set of builds to kind of survey the levels and then kind of reset his build position. As you see that, does it again, he gets another kill.
And he can also use it, too, to navigate down this hill a lot faster. It looks like he might opt out to do so. But there's 2 players remaining, and he knows they're probably going to be most likely moved forward to the circle overall. So he's got to be careful. There's a lot of buildings down here these opponents can, in fact, be hanging out at. But, of course, though, even with that being said, even if he goes down at this point, he's still okay because he's managed to, make the score 15 or 16 now to 4. So he's looking incredibly well going into the second game. And maybe he spots these players straight ahead with the sniper. Not going to take the shot, still moving forward, and he will have circle advantage now.
And this goes to make the point that we made earlier about Ninja getting those 2 kills and dying, being even more worth it, because Asteria has cleaned up at least 80% of these kills since Ninja has died. So perfectly played right now by Ninja Asteria to try and get themselves as big of a lead as possible. They're going to need it against Aimbot Calvin and King Richard, a very formidable team going into game 2.
Yeah, I don't know if they're going to go down that early next time, right? So this game right now, I mean, Asteria's been obviously my MVP of this round. He's stayed alive, gotten a ton of kills, and really extended the lead, which looked a little more bleak after Ninja went down, but just done a great job giving them position to really win this match. And obviously, Aimbot Calvin and King Richard probably aren't going to go down as early. In the same way, Ninja probably won't either, though.
Yep. And I think they had, 3 kills for Calvin? 4 kills total. So I don't know where Ninja's at. Ninja's at least at 7. So I think they have a pretty decent lead here and hoping to make it a 2
It was 15-4 last time I saw it, but I believe he got a couple more kills since then, 16-4. So it's currently 16-4. So, I mean, you talk about a lead. That is a good-sized lead going into it. I was thinking maybe a 5-kill lead, and, not too bad, but you're talking about 16-4. And maybe even more coming in as he gets the knock. What composure. You're talking about an RPG coming straight at your face, still maintains composure, stays there to get the shot off, knowing he's going to be okay, and goes for the knock, and wisely so. Even if he doesn't pick up this last player, he's still going to come in with a 17-4 lead into the second game. But, of course, this last player is just going to be dipping around here. And
he actually tagged him up earlier. I think it was the Omega, I believe. He's going to launch C4 at nothing. The Omega was actually tagged up a little bit for, I believe, 60 blue shields. So he's going to have a good advantage in this one and get height advantage. That's going to be all she wrote. Hysteria.
Wow, 17-4.
A perfect end game right there.
That was
to stay alive.
18-4.
Value his life. If you're an aspiring Fortnite player, take notes of what you just saw.
It felt like it was just 4-4 next thing you know, right? And then Hysteria hits that top of that hill and just mows everyone down. And here we are now, 14-kill lead coming in the map, too.
Yeah.
We were just talking about, actually isn't that bad. And they both died early. And
now it's terrible.
Right, yeah, they're only down a few kills. Like, this is really manageable still for game 2. Like, yeah, not so much anymore. Like, this is looking bad.
So now it's 14. Now it's 14 kill lead going into the second game. Now, we got to start talking about strategy. King Richard, Aimbot Calvin, where do they land? Do they go tilted? Do they start landing with Ninja and Asteria, maybe to kind of finesse some of those skills as we see them coming in? What are you thinking overall the strategy is going to be?
I think they should both go to tilted. I feel like almost every time, of course, I think Ninja and HD did it once. Almost every time we see a split where one guy goes tilted and one guy goes somewhere else, never really seems to work that well.
Right.
I think if they both go tilted, and obviously little RNG comes into play, got to get a good weapon. Hopefully you get a Scar or a blue tack or something, right? Where you get a lot of quick kills and then make a quick rotation. I think that's kind of got to be their play because you already know that Ninja and Asteria, they're going to probably land somewhere less populated, but they're not going to, their gas pedal's not going to stop being down, right? They're going to still keep going. They're going to still keep killing. So that would be what I would do personally, but
yeah, I love that call. I think that's spot on, and I agree. Especially in solo squads, you go to tilted by yourself, anything can happen. You go to salty by yourself. A team of 4 can just be spraying 4 miniguns at you, and there's nothing you can do. Literally nothing. So I completely agree with that call. I think they need to play for early game for sure because you can't try and outlast Ninja and Asteria, especially when you're down 14 kills. You got to play for early game. You got to get at least 10 kills within the first 2-3 minutes of the game.
We talk about options. Look at that route, the bus route, literally dead center of the map, and it's
far.
It's far, but then again, I mean, if you look at it, it's still doable. Still doable, of course. A lot of players will probably still land there, but Actually, yeah, they're kind of off the beaten path, aren't they?
Okay, they faked the mansion mark,
so
and then went retail.
They're going to be going retail side. It looks like they might be able to hit residential, but I think they're no.
And it looks like Ninja and Asteria are going to hit containers or crates and look to finesse some quick loot.
Yeah, which is perfectly fine. They absolutely need to do that. And it looks like, yep, they are in fact going to be going residential side. Don't disagree with this. And there's okay, so there's going to be at least one chest over, which actually I didn't know there was a chest just outside of there. So it could be a new little area I might be hitting up. I usually hit up the house that King Richard is at least, or excuse me, aimbot Calvin's at, or to the left of it. That one house, what is it, 3-story house? It usually has at least 2 chests in there, but also a couple of different weapons. But already hot off the start, aimbot Calvin comes in and gets an easy 2-piece. To get 2 eliminations. Of course, King Richard on your screen too, joining him. We'll see if he'll be able to pick up some kills himself.
I think the key for King Richard and Aimbot Calvin here, obviously, they have a huge deficit to make up. They're going to have to make big plays no matter what. But I think the key to their success is going to be their rotations. They cannot stick around this area too long. They got to kind of get the quick kills, do a quick survey at best. Maybe if you don't see anyone that's really noticeable, you got to just move. You're down so much coming into this. Obviously, your opponents are going to keep getting kills. We saw Asteria kill a kid off the bat in crates, right? Like no one expected there to be anyone there. But
same with Ninja. Ninja got 2. So it's pretty lucky for Ninja and Asteria.
Right. So I mean,
find some kills early on.
We see they see a team right here. I think you got to kill that team, do a quick survey, and then be on your way to the next spot on the map.
Which is Dusty, in my opinion, especially given the fact that the bus came from the east side of the map.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Dusty. If they reach Dusty beforehand, especially coming in with some kills already, it's going to be a huge advantage on their part. But as I say, that aimbot Calvin gets a little bit close there, kind of scaring me a little bit, as he was in fact taking major damage. But with that being said, they are currently sitting at 4 kills, but came in 14 frags down, and looks like they're only 13 frags down at this point. Still plenty of engagements remaining. But like you said, Fallout Ninja and Asteria, if they make it over to Dusty before King Richard and aimbot Calvin, that could be a huge play on their part to kind of start taking away those frags that could be possible in the future.
And Ninja has the thermal rifle too, which you're just talking about how powerful that could be and how much it shreds, and it shreds from a distance too. So if you're, imagine King Richard and aimbot Calvin go into to Dusty and start to try and fight everyone, and Ninja just sits behind him pecking people with the thermal rifle, he can probably steal a lot of those kills.
Yep, that's spot on. I mean, Dusty right now, you still have all of Salty up for grabs, at least the winning team from Salty, and Tomato Town / Risky Reels area. So that's a huge opportunity. You got to get there quick. And it looks like Ninja and Asteria recognize it. They're working that direction. They're obviously taking their time and looting up a little bit. But a little bit of static here over in Retail Row is, King Richard's going to get tagged up.
Close call.
And they're going to have to waste time with another medkits. I think King Richard medkits and aimbot Calvin flies at Dusty is the right decision right now, because you're still behind by so much in kills.
Yeah, it seems like doing a medkit's 10 seconds, right? It doesn't seem like that much, but in the grand scheme of things, if you're 10 seconds off rotation here, 10 seconds off rotation there, like those things add up. And so those 10 seconds, 3 more kills can happen on the map within those 10 seconds, right? So every second seems like in Fortnite matters, which is funny because BR games, seem to last a lot longer than traditional games, but every second really does matter, especially in this format where, your scoring is based on just your kills.
Yeah. Well, and not to mention, too, it messes up your pacing. So I think that's the biggest thing is, because this rotation sort of already been underway. And if you have to stop and medkit up, I mean, it just knocks you off overall. Of course, everybody else who you potentially could have been coming up on their back is going to be moving forward themselves. So you're constantly playing this catch-up game. But with that being said, they are in fact going to be just outside of the circle, and they are making their way over towards Dusty, which they might in fact beat Ninja and Asteria. As I say that, they are in fact going to be just right by it, but they're just on the outside of it. But we do have a bracket update coming to you guys, and because we're going to see Mitch Jones and Grenader Jake advance over Nick Merckx. Wow, we did not see that coming, but hey, Mitch Jones, Grenader Jake are going to be playing the winners of this match here. Talk about a surprise.
They'll play against Courage.
They'll play against Courage. Excuse me, they'll play against Courage, which
I believe the winner would play.
The winner of that one would play against these guys, but
that's an upset in my eyes. For sure.
It's definitely an upset. Yeah, did not see that happening,
especially after Parallax and Nick Merckx beat TSM.
Right,
great victory. You're thinking they're riding hot and heavy, but instead.
But then again, is it really surprising? Let's think about it. Nick Merckx loves his tilted drop, so of course anything can happen there. It's very volatile. For sure. He goes tilted, he drops early, and unfortunately that's it.
Yep, that's a great point. So the Dusty rotation is going to come through early for Ninja and Asteria, and look at this. Easy kills for Ninja and Asteria because they did get there first. They have a huge advantage. Calvin's going to be there, but not in a position to pick up any kills, as Ninja and Asteria are going to do a great job on a rotation against a team of default skins, and that's going to be 3 more kills for Asteria in this one.
And as the great franchise says, that can't happen. If you're aimbot Calvin and King Richard, you cannot let Ninja and Asteria out-rotate you to that spot. I'm sorry, but you're down 14 kills. I know they had to pop a medkit and everything. You cannot be out-rotated when you have the huge disadvantage. So
I think think that they had no urgency. I think as soon as you see Ninja and Hysteria drop crates, you know their next move is Dusty.
Yep.
You need to basically say, hey, it's a race to Dusty. You call that out from the get-go. I think shot calling is a little bit of a opportunity right now for King Richard and Calvin.
And not to mention, honestly, I know you talked about it at the beginning about splitting up, maybe not the right thing, but I think a split at this point would have been a very beneficial thing on their part. Yes, I mean,
I believe.
You risk they go down, but overall, you got to risk it for the biscuit, right? You got to go for it. And
I think it should have double hit Tilted.
And well, double hitting Tilted would have been good too. It was on the
around.
path. It was a little bit late, as Fallout mentioned, but it was definitely on the path, and a lot of players probably would have went there. The reason why they went retail, though, obviously, it was fresh off the jump. It was right there, but they didn't come out with as many kills as they thought they would have.
Exactly. I thought there'd be a lot more static in retail, which there's a decent amount, but again, rotation is what made the key difference here. Is Calvin's going to get that knock. One person still one shot at the top of that mountain that Calvin tagged up earlier. I think that guy is still alive, and guess what? It's going to be he's going to pick up the kills. Hysteria and Ninja though rotating over, looking to steal some
more kills
now.
Coming in.
And now I wonder, do they continue to just mirror and shadow, or do they continue to just push for kills on their own? I think either strategy works in this situation.
I think Ninja can sit there with a thermal rifle and just ruin their day, honestly. With how accurate he is, with how strong that weapon is, and the range it has, I mean, I don't know, they're up, 16 kills now, or maybe even more, actually, since Hysteria just got 2 kills. I think they're up 16 or 17. I mean, there's only 22 left on the map. Basically, King Richard and Calvin have to effectively kill, 85% of the rest of the map. So, I don't know, this isn't looking too good for the side of, Calvin and King Richard.
And they're up 16 kills. 16 kills right now. And
with 21 remaining.
With 21 still remaining, it's looking very bleak for the future of King Richard and Calvin, as they might, in fact, be moving out of this tournament. And Ninja and Hysteria, though, a very formidable opponent, could be moving on in this tournament. And you know, that whole final, that phase versus Ninja and Hysteria could, in fact, come to fruition here, as we'll see. As we know, Ninja and Hysteria got 4th last time. They're hungry for the first-place victory. But still, with that being said, a lot of ifs in this match still remaining, as King Richard and Calvin, they're not out, but the backs are against the wall.
Are we in the round of 6 right now?
Yep.
So this would be another,
this
again.
Is round of 6. Yeah.
Right, so this is all, they're all top 6 playing for top 4, correct? So this would be another top 6 placing for King Richard and Calvin. I mean, let's not let's make sure we give them credit where credit's due. They've been one of our most consistent teams throughout all of Friday Fortnite, always showing up in the top 6. So, I mean, they're still here. Maybe next week they kind of break through and kind of break the curse they got going. But, I mean, all the credit to them. They've been very, very consistent. We've seen a lot of teams that have even won tournaments go out in the first round the next week, right? So they're always in the mix. They're always competitive. And, obviously, they're playing quite a formidable opponent in the round of 6.
No, exactly.
Yeah. And we talk about it quite often. And, there's a lot of, ands, if, buts about it. But King Richard and Calvin, they both died relatively early with, about 30-something engagements still remaining in that second game. And, of course, Hysteria played incredibly well towards that last. But you look at the second game, right? Even though it's been a bit of a slower start for King Richard and Calvin, they're still sitting right now with that knock. They're only 1 frag behind Ninja and Hysteria. So you can only imagine if they would have stayed up in that first game what the score could have been. We could have been talking about now mere kills getting down to the last frags. But, of course, with that being said, that's not the case. Hysteria played it extremely well. But as I say that, Hysteria does, in fact, drop. And he's going to be over by Shifty, which means we are not going to see a res. Ninja now is in a 1v2.
Yeah, I mean, short of the Call of Duty nuke putting in by, Calvin and King Richard, I don't think there's any way they can win this.
Just straight to the point.
25 kill streak, they need the Moab or whatever it's called. Like that.
Exactly.
This is looking like it's over, even with Hysteria going down.
Yeah, the missile has been beeping over by the super hero.
Yeah, they might have to go press the button on the beeping missile that launches tomorrow.
Yeah, which, by the way, I'm excited about that. If you guys don't know in the chat, there is going to be a missile launch tomorrow, and it's a one-time thing. You have to be in a game in order to see it. And it's going to be at, I believe it's 1:30 Eastern time.
They confirmed?
Yeah, they actually confirmed.
I think it's 10:30 Pacific, so 1:30 Eastern.
1:30 Eastern, yeah. So you guys got to go see that. So we have to, and there was a Reddit post about this. We have to make an official pact that there's no killing. There's no killing on that match because everybody's going to want to go and watch that.
Until some guy pulls up with
but
C4.
You know that guy's going to with C4 or a minigun and just start mowing everybody down. It's going to happen, trust me. But I don't know.
You see little people flying.
Look at how accurate Ninja is.
It's insane.
Give me 1/10 that accuracy and I can die happy. It's incredible.
Ain't that the truth here? I'm watching King Richard now flying across Loot Lake with some mats, doing everything he can right now to try and make this dream come true. But Ninja is doing everything he can, of course, to pick up at least 1 or 2 kills. And they should be able to wrap it up here as Ninja looking to secure yet another top 4 finish in this one.
And who would be there on the bracket? Who would be Ninja's opponent for the next match?
Either Courage,
the Courage Scissors,
or
Mitch
Jones and Grenader Jake.
Okay. Interesting.
But yeah, I mean, it's very interesting.
I was looking at Twitter between the matches when obviously when Landon was on, and I saw Courage raging about, I guess, something happened to him during the FaZe match that he was saying, like, apparently the team of no skins pulled up, but they were just like gods. And so he just said he got super, super unlucky. His last 7 matches had no issues in the beginning, but then, of course, against FaZe, they play against the team of no skin gods. And so he was talking about how tilted he was, but I mean, I thought he was out of the tournament, but he's still in there killing it.
Oh, no, yeah, he's still in it. I mean, he's still in it to win it. I mean, we'll see if he'll be able to pull through. But you can imagine the speech that he's going to be giving if he has to go against Ninja and Hysteria. It's going to be monumental of sorts, and I'm sure it's going to be on YouTube later. Yeah,
Courage definitely has one of the most entertaining streams out there right now. He has, obviously, I'm a little biased towards CN in the Third. I think CN in the Third is the most entertaining human being on the planet. But Courage has had a very, very entertaining stream, and we talk about really good at the game. So it's no surprise to me that they're getting this far.
Crazy how much he's improved over the past couple of.
It is.
Oh, he's like really good. it's really I really enjoy watching him.
Oh yeah. All she wrote as
the dream is dead.
King Richard couldn't pick up I think 2 kills right there. Ninja in the build war at the top left of your screen right now. Ninja doing what Ninja does best.
A little flexing.
Great shots right there on that default skin. And a lot of people left. I think that is going to be all she wrote.
Well, my man King Richard, once again, great performance, but not able to come through in the end. Aimbot Calvin and King Richard, though, they played well, like you said, top 6. They have done so consistently well throughout this Friday Fortnite, so got to give it to him. He played really well, and
for sure,
honestly, I'm impressed overall, and I hope to see them moving forward. I hope to see. Still, we're waiting on King Richard, team captain of Envy, to kind of pick someone up. We still don't know who's going to be on the Team Envy team.
Yeah,
as we're still waiting. We're still waiting. We're still waiting. Also,
people are getting picked up left and right. You better hurry up, Envy. If you're envious, you at least get a duo for them.
There's a lot of organizations. Envy, we're still waiting to see who goes on them. We're still waiting on to see who Echo Fox picks up. We're still waiting on quite a few people out there, ladies and gentlemen. Of course.
No comment.
Fox himself over here.
No comment. Yeah.
But seriously, hey, you guys are awesome coming from the Gears of War scene. Coming in, watching some Fortnite.
It's good to be here. A lot of Gears pros doing their thing in this tournament. I think this tournament alone, CD in the Third, Nick Merckx, Camille's, High Distortion, 4 Gears pros in this tournament alone. It's crazy to see how Gears fams represented.
Third-person games, that's what we're good at, right?
And
third-person games and shotguns. There's just no better recipe, right?
Fortnite champions in the mist. But, guys, please let us know who you guys are thinking is going to move on in this tournament. Thought Nick Merckx. The Nick Merckx Cypher, kind of matchup is dead now. But, hey, there's still a lot more in the works. Will Ninja and Hysteria move on to finally make it over to face off against FaZe in the finals? They're going for that first place slot. Of course, they also want the money in their pockets too. We'll see who's going to take it. Let us know in the chat. Use the hashtag Friday Fortnite on Twitter. We'll be right back after these commercial breaks.
This is G Fuel. These are the flavors of G Fuel. Sorry, forgot one.
What is G Fuel?
G Fuel is an energy formula.
An energy drink?
Formula.
Formula?
Formula. G Fuel isn't your typical energy drink. This is your brain. This is your brain on G Fuel. G Fuel gives you energy. G Fuel increases your focus. Gross. You know what else is gross? The amount of sugar in other energy drinks. Know what's awesome? The amount of sugar in G Fuel. So that crash you get from drinking other energy drinks never has to happen.
Can I drink G Fuel?
Yes.
Can I drink G Fuel?
Of course.
Can I drink G Fuel?
Sure. G Fuel has vitamins and minerals from 19 different fruits. G Fuel can conveniently be ordered online and delivered right to your door. G Fuel comes in a tub with 40 servings, which means for the price of that $3 can, you can have 40 G Fuels at only about 90 cents per serving. So let's recap. G Fuel has no sugar, is 25 calories, gets delivered right to you for less than 90 cents a serving, has a bunch of flavors, and gives you energy. You should probably check out our website.
Now the sky is falling, don't let it fall, don't let me go. Now the sky is falling down,
I'm Rob McCackman, and right here outside of Ensenada doing a breakdown of my 2017 Polaris RZR Turbo. I've been racing off-road cars, buggies, started in 1982, and race trophy trucks now, short courses, everything. And a couple years ago, I got myself a 16 Polaris RZR 4-seater, and we take the family out and just have such a good time in it. Obviously, being a race car guy, I wanted to go faster, and ended up getting a 2-seater and started to trick it out. Usually when I'm at the races, it's all business. We're here to pre-run, we're here to try to win the race. And what the RZRs has really enabled us to do as a family is to get together, to go out and go on the trails in Utah, Nevada, Arizona, all over the place. Making memories, honestly, is probably the best thing to say about it. I've been racing since 1991 on BF Goodrich tires. I've been involved in a lot of test sessions with them for a Class 8 truck, for buggies, for trophy trucks, for short course trucks. And, a lot of that information all got dragged into these UTVs. And the BF Goodrich built an awesome tire. This 32-inch KR2 has really been incredible. It's not only fits on UTVs, it fits on bigger cars. People are using them on 1600 cars, Class 12 cars, everything. And the wheels are a Vision Wheel Invader. And, they're a great package. We have beadlocks on there. Whenever I've made a partner, whether it's BF Goodrich since 1991, Fox Shock since about 2001, I really stick with it. I want to work with these people and try to make, our relationship better, make the brand better, and be successful. And, with that being said, Fox, they're continually pushing the envelope, and that's one thing that they've really done with the RZR, with the ride dynamics. To be able to choose your ride stiffness, let's say, and to be able to have the shocks actually adjust while you're driving it on their own is a pretty amazing thing. It really makes these vehicles go across the desert faster. It lets them go through the bumps. It lets them corner. And it's very impressive to me, and I'm blown away by the technology that Fox has put into these Polaris RZRs. When I first got the RZR and realized how fast you can go across the desert in them, I realized it probably should be adding a little bit more safety. So that's basically what drew us to put an aftermarket cage on. And when I was in the catalog for Mark Holes Racing Products, I basically picked his cage. Thought it had the best lines, the best look with the car, and knew it'd keep us safe too. When I get into something, I want to go all in, and I want to do my research. So I reached out to people like RJ Anderson and Randy Anderson, and just started going to the races, UTV World Championship, and looking at cars. And I ended up meeting up with Mark Holes, and I chatted with him for just a moment. I realized this guy really knows his shit. And at that time, he was just coming out with this kit that's on there now. It's 3 inches wider, but the front A-arms are 2 inches farther forward to give it a little bit more wheelbase. So I thought, let's order that up, put it on there. Added that with the BF Goodrich tires, the Fox shocks, and their internal bypass, the Fox coilovers, and put all that on there, and it just really improves the ride. Yeah, I'm pretty particular on my lights, and especially, BAW 1000s. We know we're going to race, mostly all through the whole night. So really trying to get the right light package for that. And with that being said, the KC HIDs for the trophy truck are absolutely incredible. There's no other light that's out there that shines the distance down the trail that they do. Flex LEDs or other LED products that KC has on the lower bumper to get your width and your close lighting, you have an incredible package. We've been very successful with it, and really have no complaints about the night driving with our product. Yeah, over the years, you come with things that you want. When you go to the car dealership, you say, I want a satellite radio or whatever you want. You want four-wheel drive, you want all-wheel drive, whatever it is, and I'm the same way. So when we got this RZR, I started writing on a piece of paper what I wanted to do, what I wanted to have. So we went with Impact and went with our new Genesis hard shell seat on the inside, along with the 2-inch seat belts with the QRS latches in there to make it quick and easy to get in and out. We added a Holes foot brake pedal. It's all billet aluminum, really nice, and the shifter handle. And also Impact has a nice steering wheel now with suede or leather covering. We went with all that stuff, and a PCI radio with intercom, Bluetooth, so we can listen to music when we're out on the trail. I was really impressed when I got on Holes Racing Products on their website, and started looking, scrolling through all the products they make, and it was kind of neat just going through there. And I realized, I want to have a place to store my equipment, carry your spare spare tools, things like that. And you know, Hull's had a bitchin' aluminum box that they made that actually goes right on top of where the air filter lid is. And I thought, well, that's no good, because how are you going to get to the air filter? But what I found out after doing a little more research, that the box actually Zeus's in with 4 buttons. So within a minute, you can have that box out of there and service the air filter. So I thought the Hull's people did an awesome job with all their thinking and making things simple. And that's something I learned early in my life is, you know, keep it simple, stupid, right? Now you've heard all about my 2017 Polaris Razor Turbo, so let's go give it a drive and see what it can do.
Different options. We know when it comes down to Anarchy Acres, we saw, what was it? I think it was Ninja's team Hysteria. We saw him kind of go around this position, didn't really see anyone for a majority of the game. So while the challenge is here for this week, eliminate opponents in Anarchy Acres, you definitely see a few enemies from time to time, but a majority of our strategy so far throughout the day hasn't really treated it in the way that I'm sure a lot of players most likely thought it would.
As your average Fortnite scrub, I land at Anarchy Acres and Fatal Fields a lot with my friends.
Okay.
And so I can tell you from vast amount of experience, there is maybe 1 to 2 teams tops that fall there, right? So,
Yeah.
I mean, again, they might be leaning on the challenge as the driving force behind this drop,
Right.
but definitely a very unorthodox place. But like, at the same time, we see Courage and Scissors going to Greasy, which I think we've maybe seen once or twice tonight.
There's a reason why there's no apartments in Anarchy Acres, it's fair to say. But it looks like as the grenades are out, the unfortunateness for Grenader Jake is he's able to stay alive. Looked like a little bit of an awkward situation for the moment, but it looks like he, alongside Mitch Jones, will be able to survive themselves throughout this fight. Both things escaping with the frag, but take a look at our left side of our screen. Courage and Scissors also getting an engagement as well here, Fallout.
Yep, Greasy Grove having a little bit of action as it's going to be Courage. It's able to take out one. Scissors going to clean up that kill, and they should be more than safe here, as I believe that is all of Greasy completely wiped. As I say that, Courage looks like he might be pushing someone. Nope, I think that's going to be all she wrote for Greasy. Meanwhile, Anarchy Acres is going to be cleaned up, and when the dust is settled, it is 4 kills to 3 in favor of Grenader Jake and Mitch Jones. So as we expected, 2 very similar drops, outskirts of the map, 1 squad per location that they're able to take out. Unfortunately, one happened to be a team of 4, the other was a team of 3, and in result, we have a 1-kill game.
And I'm also curious what the rotation would be for Courage and Scissors. I know earlier we saw a team, it might actually been them, land Greasy Grove and later made the rotation over towards Shifty Shafts. One thing that I know we've talked about in the past has been usually if you're landing Shifty Shafts, it's a matter of early rotating towards Tilted Towers or waiting for those players heading in from Greasy Grove. So kind of a little bit of a transition play for the most part, kind of an opposite strategy for a lot of teams who usually land Shifty is to, like I said, try to find the players from Greasy Grove. In this situation, though, Courage and Scissors, they have the option at hand. I think it's fair to say, gentlemen, we can kind of argue, probably the more preferred landing zone when it comes down to a more population of players, a lot more surrounding cities. Like I said, Ryan, Anarchy Acres, not the most prominent when it comes down to a player base.
But I got to get it how I got it. You know what I'm saying? Like, me and the boys.
Ryan's looking for the W's, man. I mean, kills are important, but the victory royale is what matters the most at the end of the day.
That's right.
But,
all the glory.
Exactly, man. How many wins you got now? 1,000 plus?
I lost count. After like 4,000,
it's hard to keep up. 80,000 kills.
Yeah, Fortnite Master's just like, too many NA. Like, can't even keep up with how many this guy has. But taking a quick look at Courage's perspective, of course, has the hunting rifle out and
I like
suspected someone was there.
Yeah, they're going to opt for a Shifty Shafts rotation. You go Shifty, immediately you can cut back to Tilted if you would like to, and you're almost always going to find people at Shifty. I do drop Greasy a lot with my teammate Ribs, and it's a lot of good opportunity as we see a bush.
Oh, no.
We love bushes.
As Ryan's wearing a bush shirt as I speak.
Oh, there you go, man.
See?
So great rotation here. They're going to see a team of 3, if not a team of 4, should be able to pick up some good kills here.
Yeah, definitely an opportunity for them to try to establish a little bit of a lead. Nearly getting down to our final 30 players, but here comes the rush from Courage. We highlight this guy quite a bit, right, when it comes down to the Fortnite Pro-Am. Runner-up when it came down to that matchup, of course, just falling short to Ninja and Marshmallow, but still, very solid player in his own regard. Of course, a fantastic guy as well. Great streamer, him and Scissors alike, but here comes the rush, of course, continuing on with Courage's perspective, getting a few knocks just in the side of the shotgun at his backside. And it looks like sticking very close together. They want to try to find these collective kills, and they're going to do exactly that. Nice knockdown coming in from Scissors.
I like that edit to make the opponent fall there to kind of reset him. That was a good play. We talk about kind of what separates the good teams, right? It's the ability to get the kills quick and rotate quick. And we saw Courage and Scissors rotate quicker, and now they're starting to take the lead, see more players. So time and time again, that seems to be kind of like the meta is to get the quick kill a team or two, and then be on your way to the next city. And they're doing the better job right now, and it's looking like they're in the lead.
And based off of right now where we see Grenader, Jake, and Mitch Jones, in your opinion, Fallout, like what's the idealistic call, right? They're on the eastern side of Loot Lake. You have a few options you can kind of go toward, but you think it's a Tilted Towers drop? You think they make their way to Dusty Divot, try to grab some Hop Rocks and kind of advance their way forward? What's your thoughts being a little bit down? It's by no means an unfortunate drop or an unfortunate deficit they have to suffer, but in your opinion, what do you think the best call would be?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think a big part of it depends where the bus came from, which I believe was the east side of the map.
I believe so, yeah.
So with that in mind, it actually might make sense to go towards Tilted, versus Dusty, I think. And they're actually going to split right in the middle between Tilted and Dusty, which should be able to allow them to catch some rotations from Salty, from Tilted, and from Dusty. I think it's a smart play. They're heading the right direction. They're actually going to do a minor split. They can easily recoup and get back together. One person going Dusty, one person going to go check out Tilted Towers. I like that decision. Meanwhile, still at Shifty Shafts are Courage and Scissors. They're taking their time looting up.
Yeah, we talk about one team making a lot of ground, the other pretty much staying in a 50-meter radius, but looking on here exactly to see what the strategies are. Much different, but the scoreline not saying too much, at least for right now, Ryan.
I always love the mid-round push to Dusty just because the Hop Rocks are like, everyone loves the Hop Rocks no matter if it's the initial,
right,
the middle, the end, right? So there's going to always be people flowing through Dusty. It's also right now, it is in the middle of the circle, so I know a lot of people like to do kind of like the circle guarding or whatever we call it, gatekeeping.
Yeah.
So you do kind of lose the ability for that, but I do think that like at any time in the map you can go to Dusty and there's probably going to be people there because there's going to probably be kids in pub matches want to get Hop Rocks and jump around, right? So I do like that play to kind of go both. I do agree, again, Tilted in this point in the map is a good idea as well. I just think that Dusty's kind of always a good point of interest at any time.
The kids these days and their Hop Rocks,
right? Back in my day, we ate Pop Rocks, right? Now they're on these dang Hop Rocks.
Now you're jumping 30 feet in the air. Definitely a little bit of a different sensation than just the pops in your mouth, but now they're in the entirety of your body. But looking on here, speaking of jumps, Courage and Scissors making a nice little jump pad play here just toward the outskirts of Salty Springs. As I'm seeing a few little pops down there when it comes down to the choices of the map locations, but from afar, Scissors trying to bank actually these grenade launcher shots off the mountain and officially will take down an enemy. Now up to 4 kills when it comes down to this lineup. Definitely looking pretty solid when it comes down to these two. At least when it came down to like weekly rankings or really, kind of placements, where we think a lot of these guys are going to kind of reign from, when it came down to certain matches, power rankings, etc. A lot of people were saying, hey man, don't sleep on Courage and Scissors. This is a really solid group. When it comes down to their overall bracket, it seems as if they could easily make it far. Don't have to worry about the early TSM match, the early phase game either. And these guys are absolutely answering the call, right? In our losers quarterfinal game for a reason, but Courage ends up getting dropped, I believe, at least for right now. He doesn't have to worry about getting thirsted, but just as soon as I say that, the caster curse comes forward, and now Scissors, not the best of graces at the moment, needs to go big, of course, trying to get as much high ground as he possibly can and trying to rejuvenate a little bit of a push from this duo of Optic and FaZe combining for this matchup.
Yeah, and I believe Courage did have one down. The rotation is going to come through, actually, so that's going to be rough for Scissors. He's just going to push desperately for these kills. He did have one down. That's going to be the guy that was down, so he's going to pick up that down and kill. Good job by Scissors right now as he's looking to find these last 2 or 3 alive. Looks like they're kind of staying sneaky here. And he's going to get the kill. Can he finish it with the AR? Oof. Not going to connect. Finally, he's going to be able to do exactly that. Huge plays from Scissors to pick up 2/3 of those kills.
Yeah.
And one thing I want to point out is the way Courage has been playing in general. When he was in Shifty, put himself in a really dangerous spot by getting close to that shotgun, and he just did it again right there. I think when you're in that situation, you down one, immediately build yourself a 1x1 and value your life and stay alive, especially in a duo squads. You have to value your life a little bit more.
Right.
You can't put yourself in those risky positions because honestly, a one pump can get hit by any noob, can one pump you for death. So you gotta be really cautious.
It's true, and that's one thing that we've seen even our highest level of professional players, FaZe, TSM, even Ninja and Hysteria, playing a lot more passively when it comes down to their landing location, also when it comes down to the regular play. TSM is known, right, especially Hamlin's one of the best players in the world, known at getting that high ground when it comes down to a lot of positions. Can he obviously take down the players? Yeah, a majority of the time, but just wants to solidify the factor of having those eliminations go in his way. But just as we start to say those things, Mitch Jones and co. trying to initiate the fights forward, as I believe one player just happened to run just past his line set, of course, has the advantage of the man count favor with Grenadier Jake at his side. Of course, goes for the side challenge, taking down one, and I believe at the same time, a near kill coming through from Scissors, but it looks like, for the most part, all except for one, I believe, 3 for 4 going toward Grenadier Jake and Mitch Jones, which, having the man count advantage, that's what happens in situations such as that.
Yep. And if I'm Scissors right now, I'm doing everything I possibly can. I'm not sure if he has any bounce pads, but to try and create distance. You're going to get outshot.
Yeah.
A 3-to-1 trade is okay, but you want to get at least 1 or 2 squad wipes if you can. So looks like he's trying to dodge him a little bit here. I'm going back for some loot. I wonder how he's going to play this, but if I'm him, I'm backing out and trying to create some distance.
Do you remember how many kills Courage had?
4 or 3, I believe.
I think around that amount.
Okay, so that would put them at like a 3 or 4 kill advantage.
Right.
Okay,
there we
go.
Perfect.
Like 4 kill advantage. So I almost wonder maybe if it's a decent play for Scissors to actually stick with them and try and just kind of finesse away a few of their kills. There's only 20-something left. So for them, I mean, if you can get 1 of every 3 kills or whatever and you have kind of a 4-kill thing, it wouldn't be the worst thing of all time. I mean, there's a chance he goes on his own and finds no one, or he gets pulled up in the middle of a 2-team fight. So I actually kind of like the play, especially because he has a grenade launcher.
Yeah, and a sniper as well, right?
Yeah, to go just disrupt Grenadier Jake and Mitch Jones and try and steal kills where you can. It's so late in the game.
That's a good point. Yeah, I didn't really know exactly what the score would be. Like, like I said, like normally in that situation, a 1 versus 2, you're probably trying to get away from the opposition, try to distance yourself as much as possible to make sure you have the option to really get the frags. But the shoe's on the other foot, right? The player who's in a 1 versus 2 actually has the advantage. So what do you really do in this spot? I mean, do you think that maybe Grenadier Jake and Mitch Jones should try to initiate things, maybe separate themselves?
They're the ones who should be trying to get out, actually.
They should maybe try to split?
I want Scissors away from my kills, right? I'm the one that's down. Especially if there's a grenade launcher. I mean, if he can even just loot the bodies that die in some of these team fights, right? Continue to pick up grenades, continue to be a kind of disrupting force in what they do. It's, we're almost over. It's only map 1, right? So he just wants to make sure that he doesn't lose the lead by a lot.
And keeping in mind, for all three of our players, actually just double bounce pads actually get rocked there from Grenadier Jake and Mitch Jones' team. Along with that, Scissors has ones in his back pocket, so there's a lot of mobility that we have on the map
Scissors
as it currently stands. And Scissors taking quite a bit of the chunk when it comes down to that squad who is remaining up, and that's exactly what you want to see for a team who also finds the engagements. And keeping in mind as well, I think he also found another bounce pad on the ground, which is great for him as long as he can kind of keep the players near him or kind of make sure that the distance isn't too great. He's looking at a pretty good spot, I think it's fair to say.
I think he just finessed the slurp from one of them.
Actually, he got his baby's finesse.
You love to see it.
Yeah, exactly. His mini shield's got finesse too, so it's a land of finessing right now for these guys.
Oh man,
gotta be disrupt and finesse if you're Scissors. That's all you gotta do.
That's the way to play.
It's the grind. It's the grind. It's all it is, man. And just like that, Scissors going on the bounce pad play. Of course, going toward the outer ring right now of Dusty Divot, kind of pulling that gatekeeping role that we've been bringing up so often throughout the broadcast. Just kind of like I said, keeping the most valuable asset of the entire game at your backside, making the enemy have to rush toward you, and making them have to go through you in order to try to get what is the most important in this game, which of course is staying alive. And just as we start to bring up those things, I believe Scissors making his way to the very top of the mountain, and Grenadier Jake is saying, hey man, feel free to use all your resources because I'm just going to follow you the entire time. So appreciate all those mats and you rocking them. But yeah,
he does have a launch pad as well.
Yeah. This is what you love to see if you're Scissors.
Here we go.
Literally Christmas. He's going to rain grenades down an entire team and pick up 2 of those kills here. Can he get the 3rd? Looking for it. Can't spot it just yet. Of course, the rotation going to come through from Grenadier Jake and Mitch Jones, so Scissors has to hurry up. He has 2 knocked right now, and he's going to trust that those guys will go down as soon as they pick up this last kill here. Can he get it? Yes, he does. So Scissors, by avoiding the other team and getting a few steps ahead, is going to pick up 3 necessary kills here. Might be able to make it a 4th.
And that's great to see, especially from Courage's point of view. He's probably like rooting on his teammate, like, hey man, just do your best. And literally, he's 1v2ing them by himself. And yet again, he has, what is that, 2, 3 jump pads? Like,
he just up to 14 kills in the blink of an eye.
He's making a case. He's like, hey, Cloaksy and Tfue, man, if you guys ever need a sub, I'm happy to be there if you guys ever need one. Solid player, Scissors.
He's been making great use of that grenade launcher, too. We always talk about how a lot of pros consider that kind of the best weapon in the game, the strongest weapon in the game. He's showing why that's such a powerful device, especially when you have high builds like that. It does so much damage to not only players but structures.
Definitely.
Even a blue grenade launcher goes to show the damage that thing can do. Is he's going to get another jump
Launch
pad.
padding away.
Yeah. Meanwhile, these guys are just a bunch of jamokes sitting in the middle of a dusty divot, not able to make any ground here until they get a hop rock. But now Scissors finds another squad, and guess what? Not in the range are Grenadier Jake and Mitch Jones. So good opportunity.
Wow.
Another jump pad here. Beautiful plays here from Scissors.
Yeah, the amount of mobility that this guy has is absolutely absurd. And that's catering the fact that how he's able to get toward these engagements first. And so just like that, at least 2 players in front of him going to try to get a little bit of support from that backside beam, the backboard that was essentially done on that structure. Desperately trying to find a few of those kills. Of course, winning for the bit rate to get back up for Scissors. His gameplay is way too intense, but using that ninja strategy that we talked about, kind of bouncing those grenades off the floor to try to add that damage perfectly into those structures, always great to see, because it's obviously one of the weapons that you can use that you don't even have to be seen to rock it.
Here's the tough part. He's gotten a lot of these guys so weak, and now the rotation is going to come through from Grenadier Jake and Mike.
Great play.
Looks like it's going to be some good shots, but it will be the actually, Scissors gets one of the kills, though, so that's big. That's exactly what he needs.
And one thing that I noticed quickly, taking a look at Scissors' kind of loadout that you've been mentioning quite a bit, Fallout, is the factor of not having an assault rifle in your overall arsenal. Is another one's about to be found here from Scissors, but no! Oh, man, Grenadier Jake just from the flank steals that kill. I thought it was all for nothing, but just as we start to say that, nice steal comes through from Grenadier, but going back to the quick arsenal from Scissors, not an AR in sight, right? He's got the TAC SMG. He's got the gold heavy along with the sniper and grenade launcher combo. I mean, I don't know. I think, like you mentioned earlier, kind of like the meta, that's super straying away from the assault rifles, but there's definitely a lot of weapons that can kind of account for that medium range distance that the assault rifle is obviously very nice to use for.
Yeah, with the accuracy of some of these players, too, I mean, for the average person to use the submachine guns at mid-range, even the long range, is very difficult, right? They have a lot of kickback. Even with the updates, still much harder than the assault rifle. But for these guys, I mean, they can use that rate of fire and utilize that better than anyone. So,
yeah,
I mean, great plays by them. Scissors turned it up with his teammate going down early.
16 frags, I think, something along those lines.
He had like 7 or 8. Next thing you know, like we turned around, looked at each other, I looked back at you, and he had like 15 kills, right? He just absolutely turned it up in the blink of an eye. Did a lot of good kill steals too and his teammates, and I mean, here we go, 5-kill lead with the teammate going down early. You can't ask for a better result than that for map 1.
Absolutely. And a pretty early drop, right, from Courage as well. We were kind of saying, okay, like in this situation, what is Scissors really going to do? Well, he's actually going to destroy the entire team and hold on to a lead. And I think the one thing that was really nice to see that, of course, along with finding those kills, he was also great at finding those jump pads, which allowed him to be super mobile, always to be kind of ahead of the enemy in those situations. I thought that was great to see. Any kind of note-taking Fallout from that kind of, essentially a fantastic moment from Scissors. Anything to really add on to it?
It was, yeah. I think the big thing for me is the early game. I think the Grenadier Jake and Mitch were outclassed a little bit in early game, dropping Anarchy Acres. They got the 4 kills early. Didn't find a good rotation until they made it to past Salty towards Fatal Field. So I think I want to see a better drop out of them this second game. I like the drop in decision from Courage and team as they're able to rotate towards Shifty Shafts. Great plays from them. I want to see. I would expect them to play a little more passive this time around.
Okay.
Interested to see where Grenadier Jake and co land this time.
Yeah, you guys think it's maybe like an outskirts Salty Springs type of play, or something along those lines? Because I mean, like 5 kills, right?
Ryan, you're still on the tilted train or what?
No, I think 5-kill deficit isn't enough to have to do a desperation play like that. I mean, I don't know, we talk about like the usual places, like, oh, is it an outskirts Salty? Is it maybe a Shifty? But like last time they landed at Anarchy and Greasy, right? So it's like these are 2 teams that have been landing in little unorthodox places. So I'm not really sure where we're going to see them land. We talk about how great of a play it was by Scissors with Courage going down early. At the end of the day, though, it is only a 5-kill lead, right? That can be a race in the matter of seconds. That's a team and a half, tops. So Grenadier Jake and Mitch Jones had to have their work cut out for him. At the same time, you do have Courage and Scissors coming out at full force now. That's the second time we've seen a solo player kind of go on like a rampage to keep the team alive and then build a lead when you think that the opponent has the opportunity now to go build one. So
great plays. Distortion do it, seen Ninja do it, King Richard. So
Hysteria just did it. I mean, we've been seeing a ton of it.
He's definitely in good company. It's fair to say. As Scissors, or you look at really the stacked up of players that he of course joins alongside. But fantastic play from Scissors as now he can kind of himself encourage, rely on the fact that hey, we don't have to go super hard when it comes down to at least the start of this game. I'm thinking maybe they at least think about a Greasy Grove landing. Of course, that worked out for them very well last time, just kind of on the outskirts of places like Shifty, of course, Tilted as well. But main question to be asking is where's Grenadier Jake and where is Mitch Jones going to land? And based off their landing zone, it looks like Tilted has been marked.
It's a great drop for Salty, too.
Yeah, I mean,
it's true.
It's right over the bus.
But it looks like they're going to go Tilted. I mean, I guess they're baiting it and going to go...
Maybe a little audible?
We'll see where they end up.
Finessing, potentially, boys.
We love finesse potential.
Right? But, yeah, it looks like Grenadier Jake is just assessing the factor of how many players are around and probably been a little bit nervous, right? I mean, you see, 35 people landing at Tilted Towers. You're like, okay.
Tilted drop. We're here.
Yeah, they're here to stay, baby. They're going, maybe L's, Clock Tower?
Man, Grenadier Jake is about that action.
Jeez. It looks like they're going to do a little bit of a split, not even landing together. One in L's and one inside a Clock Tower. Mitch Jones, people have been giving him a lot of credit so far throughout this tournament, saying he has been playing unreal. Time to show it.
They're putting their money where their mouth is, man. This is a risky jump.
Definitely is. And also, along with that, Courage and Scissors, as looks like engagement's going down really quickly. Grenadier Jake taking a little bit of damage, but thankfully finds the knockdown. But I think maybe even to counter that one Fallout, we see Courage and Scissors going to Retail Row. They probably weren't expecting to go toward a pretty high pressure situation, a very high pressure location like this. But I think after maybe watching Tilted, they say, hey, we don't want to get in a situation to where these guys are finding frags and we can't really attest to it. So I don't know. I think maybe that's the reason why they go that location. You think?
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, you're only up by 5 kills, so you can't get too comfortable. I think you still need to drop in a named location in a city, somewhere where you can get at least a little bit of early game going. And it's gonna be on the left side of your screen. You see Courage facing a little bit of static here. Good SMG play is gonna get him at least 1 down, but still has the rest of the team to fight against. Meanwhile, Scissors is gonna get top house. He's gonna give himself some nice support. And this is something you like to see in retail, is that exact play. Meanwhile, right side of your screen is gonna be a member going down. That's gonna be, I believe, Mitch Jones, who was taken out of the game, all up to Grenadier Jake, down by 5 kills.
He's in shambles right now. He's taking his headset off, leaving the room.
Oh, boy.
He needs a break, man.
Hate to see
and that's totally understandable. I think Grenadier Jake was maybe a half a second away from firing a shot in the enemy, which just happened to thirst Mitch in that situation. You could argue, right, in that exact play, the one shot to the chest, the half second that comes into play where Grenadier Jake isn't there, could be the ending of this series, the potential for Grenadier Jake and Mitch Jones to move forward. But, of course, as we digress, taking a look at Courage and Scissors' overall play just inside of Retail Row, sitting pretty. It looks like Courage Arsenal sitting pretty nice as well. And looking at Scissors, right, he's got the blue zoom. He's feeling pretty good. So
they're not stopping, man. They're getting all kinds of kills right now.
Oh, yeah.
This is not looking good for Grenadier Jake and Mitch Jones.
Not at all, but definitely a player to be looking out for. Top right, Grenadier Jake already in some engagements, needs to find a few of these kills.
That's a trap.
Oh, he actually puts up the ramp to try to dodge the trap. I think it might have done a little bit of damage. That might have just been team shots. Not exactly sure the case, but this player is set in stone, wanting to stay in this 1v1, and Grenadier Jake might have to play bully and start to hammer down on this roof.
As he knows there's actually a trap there as well, so has to be a little bit cautious. He got himself a great builder that he's going up against. Finally going to eliminate him. Great job by Grenadier Jake winning that 1v1 against a formidable opponent, as he's going to medkit up here. 2 medkits to his name. Should be in a good spot. So can he pull off his finest Hysteria, Scissors, High Distortion, Ninja impression and carry this game? Meanwhile, 2 kills and 3 kills, so 5 kills combined for Courage and Scissors. It's not looking good if you're a fan of Grenadier Jake and Mitch Jones, but we'll see if he can pull it off.
Yeah, down in game number 2 after being down, I think it was 5 kills heading into after game number 1. So not looking the best, but it's not the biggest deficit we've ever seen, obviously. It easily is doable. I say easily with a grain of salt there. I mean, compared to the other discussions, the other players that we bring up in that talk of amazing solo plays. But, yeah, I think if you're Grenadier Jake in the situation, you're pretty much hoping that you can find some easy squads, along with the fact of praying that Courage or Scissors can happen to run into a solid player, maybe like a John Wick or maybe even a Omega for this season, potentially. But, yeah, they're sitting pretty good in Retail Row, and they're continuing to play this consistent type of play style here, Ryan. They haven't really dropped too much. I think it's fair to say none of them have been really that low on HP throughout this series. They're sitting pretty for the most part.
That's it. Oh, I thought he was going to fall to the ground there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, going back to Courage and Scissors, they just need to stay alive at this point, right? I mean, they have their lead obviously isn't insurmountable, but they have the man advantage, right? They have good resources. The kills aren't flying in for Grenadier Jake necessarily, and they're still getting kills themselves and still moving around enough. So I think if you're they're up 7 kills right now. So if you're Courage and Scissors, you just need to basically kind of stay alive, let the game progress, and until Grenadier Jake starts doing some Ninja or High Distortion-esque rampage, you're pretty much okay to just kind of continue to move the map at a fairly slow pace, play pretty conservative, and get the natural kills where you get them.
And if you're Courage and Scissors, right, you have a mini map. You can see Grenadier Jake's overall score. You can see his health. You know what's going on with this guy regarding a lot of these situations. So they can kind of have a little bit of an idea as to what's happening right now. And just as that goes through, Grenadier Jake will fall to I believe that's pink ink. So rather unfortunate player to drop toward, but still, man, Grenadier Jake and Mitch Jones have officially been eliminated from Friday Fortnite week number 8. But respectable tournament for those guys. Of course, we talked about some really maybe not names that we're not familiar with seeing. those two guys, man, they have a heck of a tournament, played incredibly well, and obviously props to them. Have a little bit of a slow game off the start. We talked about landing zones, Anarchy Acres, etc. Not seeing a whole lot of opponents really set up Scissors and Courage to kind of go on that spree, and also Scissors in game number 1 puts up, I think, 14, 15, 16 frags solo. A lot of it being in a 1 versus 2 situation. So, I mean, you argue Scissors doesn't go off, maybe a different landing location. We could be saying, hey, welcome to Loser Semis, the opposite team here. So, any thoughts throughout that series?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great point. What a phenomenal first performance for Grenadier Jake and Mitch Jones. I mean, to make it as far as they did, defeating Nick Merckx and a lot of big names in the process. I mean, it was an amazing run. Meanwhile, on the flip side, Courage and Scissors, man. I'm liking this duo. They make it far in winner's bracket, get knocked to loser's bracket. Don't show that they're shook at all. They're able to bounce back, win that one pretty decisively, and now they're going to move on to play against Ninja and Hysteria in our loser's bracket semifinal.
Yeah, it's a tough task. I've been actually super impressed by Scissors. I talked earlier how I thought Courage was really good. I haven't seen that much of Scissors yet. I don't think he's made a ton of deep runs in our tournaments yet, but he's obviously had the great 1-on-2, but he's been very, very good throughout this whole tournament, and this might be their new little duo. This could be a team that we see kind of up in the top ranks moving forward. They seem to have a decent amount of chemistry, good thing going for them, but they do go against Ninja and Hysteria, who are obviously one of our powerhouse teams. You're going up against the King of Twitch. All the eyes are on you, so we'll see what they do.
Although we have seen Courage in these situations versus Ninja perform pretty well. We talked about the $3 million Pro-Am in E3, ends up finishing second when it comes down to the duos game. And
who, though?
To Ninja, right? That's what I'm saying, man. That's what I mean. In these situations, I think they actually have played in a tournament prior as well, Ninja and Courage together. So have a little bit of maybe some chemistry. I know that they played each other, in streams and whatnot. But definitely have some potential to see a very fantastic series when it comes down to our upcoming losers semi-final matchup. Like we said, guys, coming up next, Scissors and Courage. Can they potentially take down the King of Twitch along with a familiar teammate in Hysteria? Of course, we'll find all of that more. And of course, if you guys haven't done so already, man, make sure to check out our website, of course, umggaming.com. You guys can play, obviously, in a lot of our tournaments. You guys can even rock a Prime membership to, obviously, be able to play in some high-level tournaments, whether it's Fortnite, whether it's Call of Duty. Got a ton of games, even Realm Royale, recently added to the website. Make sure to, of course, check out all of our games, of course, on our website as well. Guys, we're headed to a quick commercial break. When we return, more awesome action here from Friday Fortnite.
Everybody going through it like whoa, do it like whoa, do it like whoa, going through it like
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Friday Fortnite 20K. Of course, Week 8 action will continue as we're hopping in here toward our loser semifinal matchup. We've got Ninja and Hysteria going up against Courage and Scissors. Of course, myself, Landon Lano Sinners, joined alongside by Taylor Reflections Noble and Ryan, a.k.a. Ryan Fools. Boys, it's about to be an interesting game, and taking a look at our landing zones, anything to take note of off the break?
Yeah, we got retail coming in from Courage and Scissors, which, hey, I'm excited to see just that. But, of course, it looks like we have a very slow, shifty shafts drop for the men of Ninja and Hysteria. But, of course, they have been opting to go to this spot quite often throughout the match. And, of course, already off the break, we see Ninja getting a nice little knock there with the sub, as well as he has that gray tack.
Indeed he does. The gray tactical machine gun, which we've seen a few players, right, in our past tournaments do some work with it. And in Ninja's hands, I think he could pretty much pull off anything. I think if he even had like a jump pad, he'd somehow find a way to kill somebody. But looking on here, as I actually have to continue on with Ninja's perspective, having constant players in the mine, trying to find as many as he possibly can. There's 2, there's 3. This would be a full squad wipe, and just like that, Ninja 4 kills toward his arsenal off the start. I was going to bring up and say the aggressive play versus the more passive play, meaning that we see Ninja and Hysteria and Shifty Shafts, while Scissors and Courage are sitting in a very well-populated place like Retail Row, but it's been anything but the opposite of that. More action and Shifty compared to Retail this time.
Yeah, Shifty has seen to serve Ninja and Hysteria quite well throughout this tournament. I mean, they come in here, they usually get at least a squad wipe, and they're able to rotate through Tilted, which obviously is working out in their favor. Of course, Courage and Scissors just coming off of that win, which that was I liked it. I have to say, Scissors really performed extremely well in that last one. We finished with, about 15 total, no, 16 kills, I believe it was, towards the end. Of course, Courage, I believe, had 4, finished with a total of 20 at the very end of it. So, gotta say, very impressed overall by his style of play and just how he performs overall. Courage has been playing phenomenally well too, but I know Ninja was kind of scoping out the competition before that when I was in the back room while you guys were on. I was watching. Ninja and Hysteria were both watching Courage's stream, trying to get the little strats, find out what are they doing that we can capitalize on.
I want to point out, actually, in that last Ninja play, I don't know if anyone else noticed, there was basically 3 people in front of him shooting, and there was no builds. They were underground where you couldn't build, you couldn't do anything. He had to basically just outmaneuver and showed great composure, hitting pretty much every shot, like I said, with that trusty gray tag. So great plays by Ninja to stay alive, because, 3 kids in front of you with no way to build or play defense, and to get all 3 of them, that's a big play that could have really turned the tide of the round.
And the odds it's possibly a stream sniper as well. It's like, oh my God, it's Ninja, there he is.
It was a John Wick too, man. You know, those guys are Superman in this game. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
John Wick, just turn around, brother.
That's facts. That is absolute facts. But I believe at the same time that we're highlighting Ninja's play, even going back to him as well, just takes down a casual enemy on that orange bridge as he is just having 27s pop up like it's nobody's business, man. What, constant? Okay. All right. Well.
All right. He's just showing off at this point.
Yeah. That's It's fun to watch something that you can never accomplish and just be like, wow, that's really impressive. That is something I will never do. But I believe along with the nice little assistance coming in there from Ninja, Hysteria also gets the knock, of course, being the aggressor in this situation while Ninja kind of plays support and kind of fires back from afar.
Yeah, it's funny because going back to when we had Ribs on stream whenever he was commentating, I said, Ribs, how do you feel watching these matches? And he says, well, honestly, it's quite depressing. And I was like, why? Why is it depressing? He says, well, because I'm an aspiring, I want to potentially go pro or at least be competitive in this field. And I'm watching these players play like Ninja, just ding players left and right with whatever weapon they have. And he's like, man, they're good. I mean, and it goes without saying, they really are good. And we've seen them improve so drastically over the span of these Friday Fortnites. Of course, on week 8, it just gets better and better over time. And, you know, it slowed down a little bit for Ninja and Hysteria, but it's starting to heat back up. We see 5 and 2, making that 7 for Ninja and Hysteria. But on the other end, we have Courage and Scissors. Now, they managed to pick up at least 4 kills coming out of retail, but here at Dusty, hopefully they'll be able to find some future engagements, because if not, they're going to start falling behind. But, you know, we do see Ninja and Hysteria, though, working their way back to Shifty Shafts and then maybe over towards Tilted. But I'm kind of curious as to why they made their way back over to Shifty.
I was going to say, I'm not sure why they went back to Shifty. They already killed all the players that were over there. They made their rotation, and now they're just kind of rotating back. I'm not sure if they're maybe going for more mats for the late game. It's an interesting decision.
Yeah, definitely kind of untypical, that's for sure. But does back up and thankfully finds a gold from Moss off the ground. So at least there's one positive, regardless of the mat discussion that we can obviously bring up. But yeah, I guess there's some excess areas that haven't been fully discovered and going to kind of make their way through here. But speaking alongside the opposite team, we talk about one squad kind of remaining consistent, not really moving too much. That squad happens to be in the lead. Well, we've credited Courage and Scissors by being the aggressors in Retail Row. They escape out of that overall city with only 4 kills, and now they're advancing themselves into Salty Springs. So definitely you could argue, based off the location covered, Ninja and Hysteria are looking great, right? They've maybe covered like 60, 70 meters overall, or maybe a little bit more than that, but not too much of a play, yet they're in the lead despite Courage and Scissors going to 2 massive areas and only having four kills total.
Yeah, based on what Ninja's doing right now, too, he's doing a ton of farming and gets blessed with a grenade launcher, which obviously we know how good he is with a grenade launcher, kind of side note, but he's doing a ton of farming for mats, and I mean, I think it's a pretty smart play. You have the lead. It looks kind of weird he's going back kind of where they started, but if you enter the late game with a lot of mats, I mean, how many times have we seen players get in these crazy build battles in these solo squad matchups and run out of mats, right? And then from there, if you have 4 players shooting at you and you can't defend yourself, kind of puts you in a world of hurt. So, I mean, while they have the lead, obviously Courage and Scissors aren't doing a ton to put the deficit back up, so he has a free couple minutes to farm. Meanwhile, as we say that, Courage and Scissors are pushing, looks like 4 players right now.
Yeah, this is their opportunity to try to get back in the kill column. It looks like Scissors was definitely firing down on quite a few innings when it came down to the zoom, as we like to call it. But nice little play there. She's going to find a few excess frags. I believe Courage takes down 2 while Scissors finds the 3rd. So that's going to be nice when it comes down to their overall play. But take a look on the top left of your screen, gentlemen. We're making our way toward Tilted Towers as well for Ninja and Hysteria. Of course, like Ryan mentioned, the tie game. This is a pretty risky call when it comes down to a Ninja and Hysteria, not known for making their way toward Tilted quite a bit of the time, but when you're going Shifty Shafts, it's almost a matter of time when you're going to Tilted Towers, Taylor.
Yeah, that's the thing. You have to make your way over to Tilted. That's just the natural rotation from Shifty, and it seems to be working out as Hysteria does, in fact, pick up a knock. Of course, we do see some grenades coming in. He's got to watch out for that slow damage, and I'm talking about Ninja, in fact, who picks up the Thirst, and he's going to get some much-needed loot as Hysteria as well is going to pick up a kill himself as they're looking to kind of take off with the score, sitting at a total of 10 here. As we'll see more will, in fact, and we now see, once again, Hysteria is, in fact, going to have that thermal in his back pocket. But as I say that, Courage, though, tearing up the competition, manages to pick up another kill himself, putting him at 5. So we're going back to back between the 2 teams. And got to say, very interesting. We're seeing now Courage, they land retail, they go through Dusty, they go through Salty, and now they're at Fatal.
Yeah, they're covering a lot of ground, and to be honest, like not that the turn hasn't been there, but you think about going to those 4 cities, escaping with 8 frags, you could argue that going to one of those locations should give you 8, let alone going to 4 total locations in itself. So definitely kind of surprising, but regardless of the current line side as far as locations are considered, right now, it looks like we're going to see Ninja and Hysteria go ahead and dip out Tilted Towers, which, you know what? I actually like that. Like, the one thing that I see a lot of the times when it comes down to players regarding zones like this is, hey, like Tilted Towers is nice, but it's kind of like a funnel, right? You don't know when all those enemies are going to kind of be coming forward. Also, with the zone kind of at their backside, they can kind of play that very aggressive gatekeeping role and kind of be wary of the players kind of coming toward the eastern side of the map. So essentially for them, right, they have a very wide open position to kind of challenge from, maybe getting guys from the northern parts of Tilted Towers as well. I think they're in a pretty good spot, and I like the play to not necessarily always stay in Tilted, but to try to use Tilted to your advantage. There's going to be a lot of guys who want to go there. It's just a matter of when and what time.
Definitely so. They push out of Tilted and end up with an engagement, as you see now on the Ninja, just trying to ding those shots. But unfortunately, I believe there is another team battle going up there, and that means frags are not going to be in the hands of Ninja and Hysteria. As we see the thermal came out for Hysteria, he did get a ding shot, but unfortunately worked against him as one of his opponents was able to get that kill. So they are, in fact, going to be in hot pursuit, and I like the aggression coming from them, pushing up, and see if they'll be able to take over this kill course. Going for that high ground is, in fact, going to be Hysteria.
Ooh. One thing I wanted to point out from Tilted, even though they didn't get as many kills as you'd like, one huge detail that I think is so big is actually Ninja upgraded his grenade launcher from a blue one to a purple one. And we know how strong that freaking thing is, and we know how good he is with it. So that could pay dividends going down, and I mean that wholeheartedly.
Ryan is very intent on everyone knowing that the
Ninja
grenade launcher
best.
in Ninja's hands is almost like a nuke.
I mean, we were calling the bounce thing the Ninja shot, right? Like that should say enough. He also has the Gold FAMAS, which, by the way, he makes look insane, right? Obviously, the burst guns. If people like that,
prefers those.
People don't think that the distance is that strong, but in a player like him, if you can hit the whole burst shot, just we say that he comes behind 2 players right now. This should be 2
There's
easy
a bush.
kills. We see as my shirt says a bush Wookiee to come eat alive.
I think was that a Omega and a bush? I think I can maybe count on one hand that many times that I've actually seen that strategy. But hey. Glowing from a bush, obviously, the burning bush. Ninja's quickly going to take that one down as they're going to leave a few things behind. Why? Because they're so well kitted up, they really can't take as much resources as they'd like to when it comes in the latter parts of this game. But they're sitting pretty solid overall at 15. 15 frags in total, 4 kill advantage when we come down to the scheme of things. But Curtain Scissors right now having an engagement in their front side. Of course, kind of gatekeeping as well, just on the outskirts of Dusty Divot. A few shots, though, in the side for Courage. Needs to be very wary of his overall positioning. Of course, has his teammate just alongside of him. Scissors going to go for the rush. I believe maybe even rocked a jump trap to get there, but players from all which angles, Courage quickly needs to go for a little bit of the shields. Make sure he's good to go when it comes down to these engagements, but still I believe Scissors does pick off that team, or at least is still in hot pursuit of trying to find them, but looking on from the backside, Curtin Scissors in a little bit of an awkward spot for the time being.
Yeah, and the thing is, I just want to point out once again, Ninja and Hysteria, really, they've only moved about 100, 200 meters. This is the furthest away they've came from, or at least got from Shifty Shafts.
Are they going back to Shifty?
They look like they've literally gone back and forth. I think the furthest they got was the river. They went down to the river and for some reason turned around, but it worked out for them, which obviously it's showing, right? They're sitting at a total of 15 kills versus the 13 now on the right side of Courage and Scissors, but still very close. And I think this is the the least amount of movement we've ever seen from Ninja and Hysteria. Typically, they like to hit up those outskirts and kind of rotate through and hit up as many places as possible, which you think, statistically speaking, the more ground you cover, the more engagements you should get in. However, showing in this, at least this perspective here, seems like you don't have to move very far to keep the lead.
I think they're just homesick, man. Just wanted to get home.
They love their Shifty Shafts. I mean, hey.
Back to the crib.
Absolutely, man. And obviously treated them well in the past. Why not make it your own, to be honest with you? So
John Wick, he kills the best player in the game.
Nice elimination there.
Yep.
Of course, I believe looking at Hysteria screen. Yeah, Storm starts to come through, as I believe 3 of 4 of our players actually in that Storm, and Hysteria the only one currently out of that particular situation, not getting rained on in this particular point of view. But
he's just a forward thinker.
He is.
Just see a step ahead,
That's the thing. You got to get out of that storm, right? And Hysteria knows this is, in fact, true. He's going to be building up, trying to get out of it. He looks like he does have a jump pad, so he'll be jumping out of there and trying to scope out his competition, see what his next victim is going to be.
We have a 1-kill game right now.
We do definitely have a 1-kill game, and this is to be expected between these two, right? Ninja and Courage have teamed in the past, and both phenomenal players. Face Scissors and Hysteria both coming in and doing so incredibly well themselves and kind of matching each other's play style. I got to tell you, Hysteria, though, has been lighting up the kill feed, sitting at 7, Ninja at 11 himself. And, it's kind of nice to see Hysteria with that thermal in his inventory, because typically we see Ninja with the thermal kind of dinging shots in the back. So it's nice to see how Hysteria can kind of ding the shots himself. But you notice, I've talked about it in the past, Ninja and Hysteria, they like to switch up roles, and they've done just that. But to say that an engagement does go down, as Scissors will, in fact, find his next victim.
Hit a great hunting rifle shot
Gets
there.
a great shot there. Look how many engagements remain, boys. We only have 1 more, and we have a very close game.
Yeah, we do indeed, as it looks like still in the bottom left, Hysteria seeking out where the opposition could be at. He's got the thermal AR. If anyone's going to spot him, it would be him. But desperately trying to seek out where this final frag will be. But, well, of course, we wait for the Bush Wookiee to make himself present. We can kind of rely on the fact and thinking heading into this game number 2, how close it's going to be, right? It's going to be at least like a 1-2 kill game at the very most, rather, when we look at game number 2. I mean, we could argue maybe same landing positions between Ninja and Hysteria, like you mentioned, Taylor, kind of outskirts type of players. Curtin Scissors, when it came down to this game, how much ground did they cover while going to populated locations? Retail Row, Dusty Divot, Salty Springs, Fatal Fields. I mean, they went almost everywhere just to kind of see a tie game.
Definitely so. And, this tie game is something that we wanted to see, especially between these two powerhouse teams, and it's only going to be a 1-kill difference going into the next round. But who will have that? That is the question. But whoever gets it, regardless, is not going to have too big of an advantage. So looking pretty good on both sides here, and kind of curious to see the landing spots between both sides. Wouldn't go without saying, as Hysteria has spotted a wild potato.
The easiest kill of the game.
Wild potato appears, and he takes him out. And that is, in fact, going to be a 1-kill lead going into the second game, as Courage and Scissors. Scissors loves that new emote on the market. I believe it's called the Seagull.
The Seagull, okay.
The Seagull.
Okay.
I mean, hey, it kind of works, I guess. I'm kind of imagining that with, like, maybe the in combination with a pterodactyl glider. I think that'd be kind of cool. Maybe like a dinosaur type of thing going. I don't really know.
So much dinosaur themed.
Yeah.
Which is
just
kind of
something he does,
it's just something they do, It's kind of to be expected, to be honest with you, with the meteor coming in, right? The dinosaurs, meteor. I don't know. Little history lesson for you guys. The meteor killed the dinosaurs, and dinosaurs are
Were you there?
I was there, actually.
I missed it. I slept in.
I'm getting old. Actually, you're older than me. Finally, for once, I'm not the oldest one on the couch.
Oh, my gosh. Wow.
It is a great feeling, boys.
Talk about stats. I think we need to add that maybe to the stat book there. Just kind of get those notes written down.
I'm 26, but, man, my man's over here. How old are you?
I'm like 48 at this point. I'm getting old, man. This is crazy.
Already married. Jeez, he's got a house of his own.
Got a dog, too.
He's got a dog.
Sheesh.
Very cute dog, might I
I do.
mention
My
as
dog
well.
is beautiful. Look at my Twitter.
That's true.
Just a little plug there. Look at his Twitter. By the way, I'm Fallout. Nice to see you guys, and thank you for
With 2 T's.
with
How many T's?
Huh?
many
Two
T's?
T's. Fallout with 2 T's. You guys can follow me on Twitter. Got all the great stuff out there for whatever I provide on my Fallout Twitter.
Not to be confused with the game Fallout.
That's very true.
That is
of course,
very
which
true.
is a
That's
great
why-
game. Great
That's why we
series.
added the extra T. But let's bring it back into a little perspective here. We got a 1 kill deficit coming in.
Yeah, right, Taylor?
You good Fallout?
I am Fallout. Hello.
Taylor Fallout Noble. There we go.
That is
It's
who
a
I
new,
am.
New gamer tag.
I am
you
no
know?
longer Reflections. I have
Okay.
upgraded to Fallout.
Upgraded. I think
You've
is
ascended.
a fair estimate.
Very, very good looking man, I must say, by the way.
Yourself, or are you talking about Fallout?
I'm
or?
talking about Fallout.
I assume it's me. Like,
Could be. You know.
No.
it usually is.
I mean, for your guys' ages, I think you're looking pretty good. You know.
I gotta say, for our ages, we look pretty phenomenal.
Yeah, no, I hit the gym a lot, as you can see.
I'm not really sure exactly how to transition this into the gameplay, so I'm just going to go ahead and say.
Oh, yeah, Fortnite. Sorry, we're Fortnite.
Hopping into the game really
Ninja,
quickly.
yeah.
The Ninja and Hysteria obviously feel pretty good when it comes down to their overall gameplay. We talked about the mass amount of locations that the opposition went toward, and for it to only be a 1-kill game either which way is pretty noteworthy. I think when it comes down to the recency of Fortnite, thank you for the fun facts production. Appreciate that. I think we
like
should honestly
this.
continue with that.
I'm laughing but crying.
I'm loving this.
I'm crying inside.
I like this.
Inside.
This is nice. Yes,
Uh,
I feel
F's-
good.
F's
We need
in
to
the
bring
chat,
you on more.
please.
Yeah, pay F for respect for Ryan
Yeah.
being the oldest on the couch.
It's true.
Brian
But,
Fools.
but regarding the game, right? Kind of, I think we're having a hard time trying to transfer into the game here.
Yeah, I started on like Atari.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So these graphics are amazing.
But
Anyways, back to Fortnite.
we just have a history lesson.
We have a
really
1-kill
quick,
lead
or,
in
Pong,
favor.
Pong was his Fortnite, ladies and gentlemen,
Sheesh.
back in the day. I just want to point out.
Hey, Pong Battle Royale. I'd be the best. All right. But no, honestly,
Hold on. Can we just discuss like Pong Royale for a second?
imagine
Like,
a giant circle
That's exactly-
with all the paddles, and you just got to bang, 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 bang. I've thought about this before, if you haven't noticed.
I know. I
can
definitely
tell.
see it. I
Wow.
definitely see it.
That would
I
definitely
was
be,
innovative back in my youth.
Man, you killed it back then, man.
skill gap in that game.
here
I feel
you
like would
are.
be so high.
Oh,
You know
yeah,
what I mean?
100%.
Just, yeah. Absolutely insane. So thankfully, we can go ahead and transition to the game for real. Why? Because it's actually on our screens right now. But taking a quick look at the bus location, places like Tilted Towers, Salty Springs, Pleasant Park, etc., Retail Row, going to be your preferred locations when it comes down to the bus. Ninja and Hysteria enter in toward game number 2 of our loser semifinals with a 1 frag advantage. Question being, though, what are the landing locations going to be? Based off Ninja and Hysteria's drop, it looks like they could be going toward their homeland, Ryan. Toward us.
Back to the crib, bro.
Yeah, toward
Shifty Chefs.
Shifty Shafts, baby. But also, just received word. Want to give a massive shout out to our viewers. We've officially hit 100,000 followers here on twitch.tv/UMG events. If you guys haven't done so already, make sure to hit the follow button so we can even talk about 150,000 followers when it comes down to our page. But of course, all thank you to the viewers day in, day out, week in and week out for making these broadcasts possible. These wouldn't be happening. These tournaments wouldn't be possible if it wasn't for you guys. So massive thank you to the viewers out there as well for hitting 100,000 followers, hoping for many more.
We see more static at Shifty Shafts. We might have to rename this Static Shafts. There's been so many more people than I expected here, and it's just playing right into Ninja and Hysteria with their lead.
And with that being said, Courage and Scissors, they're down 1 frag, and they opt to go over to Tilted. Now, why did they do this? Couple scenarios come through my head. Ninja and Hysteria, they know they're going to go Shifty, so maybe they're trying to cut them off before they can transfer over to Tilted.
Yep.
Maybe take some of those kills, but still, though, you got to be thinking that is a very risky move.
Oh, yeah, that's
for
very
Courage
bold.
And Scissors, very bold play, but if it works out, Cotton, they could, in fact, take over the lead.
They could indeed. Like you said, very bold strategy. We'll see how it works out for them. And see what can kind of partake here.
The way I look at it, like it's high risk, high reward, right? Obviously, we always say that about Tilted Towers, and there's the opportunity to get a ton of kills. This is game number 2. I mean, you're playing against one of the favorite teams in the tournament. I like this play. I like putting kind of your money where your mouth is and saying, all right, if we're going to win this, like we're going to win it. Let's go to Tilted. Let's get the kills. Because right now we're seeing, again, Ninja and Hysteria pull more kills at Shifty Shafts than we've ever expected.
And you can even argue, right, after that first game, is the nice little heavy shotgun
Great
comes
shot.
in there from Ninja. But, yeah, you maybe argue from Courage and Scissors' point of view, it's like, hey, we literally went to every location but Tilted and somehow managed to bring this to a level playing field. That could be like a little bit of a frustration coming out, saying, hey, you know what, we're going to go Tilted, and we'll see how close we can make this game by going to the most prominent location in all of Fortnite. But yeah, piggybacking off of that, so many players in Shifty Shaft says maybe Ninja and Hysteria making this play a lot more prominent. We talked about TSM, Salty Springs, kind of the FaZe guys, kind of promoting crates and whatnot. A lot of strategies being developed in Friday Fortnite. Of course, we talk about the amount of viewership that these tournaments get. A lot of the Fortnite community obviously echoes those sentiments and starts to write them strategies themselves.
Yeah, if I was Courage and Scissors, yeah, we may have maybe, of course, we got that deficit coming in. We only have 2 kills. But then again, at this point, like I pointed out, the rotation obviously naturally has to be tilted. So Ninja and Hysteria, they're going to come in and kind of be finding those engagements that should have been, but Courage and Scissors already picked them up. So I'm okay with the trade-off being, yeah, maybe we have come in, with a 1-kill deficit. We're down 2 as well. So maybe we're down by 3 total. But at the end of the day, we cut off Ninja and Hysteria's rotation. So at the, bottom line is they're going to be looking a lot better off, I think, at least heading into the middle game, which we are, in fact, getting into with a total of 52 engagements still remaining, or 53 engagements. So with that being said, great plays and great heads up on their part. It's still a close game. Anybody can take this.
Absolutely can. Like I said, Ninja and Hysteria. We talked about the counter coming through from Courage and Scissors, making their way toward Tilted Towers. That was the one play where Ninja and Hysteria, you go toward Shifty Shafts. This is your ability to, once you kind of get kitted up, once you can find some frags to make your way toward this area. Courage and Scissors, you could argue, have already cleared this position out. We'll see how many frags can be found and whether or not there's any rogue squads hanging about as well, as somehow Ninja happens to enter in toward the map and finds 2 chests off the break. Of course, going toward Pawn Shop, but just as we say that, I could have swore Scissors did not take any fall damage. Thought that he was looking a little bit scary in that spot, but thankfully we'll live to see another day.
Definitely.
Maybe a bounce pad. I mean, he fell from pretty far.
I didn't see any like luminous lights around him or anything regarding that, but
no, I think honestly he just avoided the fall damage. If he just would have been a little bit higher, he
Thank
may
you,
have.
Taylor, appreciate
really.
Yeah, good insight. I know coming at you, that little stat nugget for you, but yeah, I think if it was a couple inches higher, he definitely would have been in a little bit of trouble, But I don't know. It's just something that he did, and it worked out.
Sound analysis.
Love it.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely love to see it, man.
Yeah.
You really do. Also, props to Ninja rocking the new skin. Personally bought that. Taylor, I know you try to refrain. Ryan, how about you?
I love the harvesting tool. I didn't buy the skin
it's
personally.
Sick. It actually sounds like a lightsaber whenever you use it.
I did buy the Vuvuzela though.
Okay.
The Vuvuzela.
Yeah.
Just because there's been a clear lack of Vuvuzelas in the World Cup this year. I think they got banned.
I think they did get banned. Yeah.
They did.
So there's not been a lot of rebels in the stadium.
They got banned like 2 World Cups ago.
They did.
Hey, I'm like 48. Remember? So back in my day, they were allowed. So
that's funny, man.
But no. The skin's awesome. Like I said, I love the harvesting tool.
Well, I love the flames that comes out of it. I think, or at least it's maybe flames or electricity, one of the two. But I got to tell you, it looks really good.
Absolutely. But kind of getting back on the landing locations quickly, it looks like Ninja and Hysteria making their eastern way right now, just of course toward Tilted Tower, or eastern away side from Tilted Towers. As far as Courage and Scissors are considered, I believe they're going to be or actually just southeast of Loot Lake for the time being as well. So kind of being in mind of the overall kind of ending locations, as I believe a rogue player with a shotgun or a shopping cart rather happens to be about, and they could quickly get C4 trying to make their way around the tree, and Scissors is here to cut them down. Fantastic plays coming forward, and here comes the shotgun play. There's one, and there is 2. Both, I believe, actually, did they get stolen from Ninja? They do.
Got both of them. Ninja finessed both kills.
I look at the kill feed, I'm like, oh my gosh, there's going to be an amazing play probably coming in from Courage. Not the case. Ninja, the kill-stealing man himself, quite literally living up to his name, happened to sprout up and take both of those frags.
And speaking of which, Ninja is the only one with frags on his side. He's sitting in a current of 6 total frags. And you talk about stealing kills at that point, so incredibly frustrating, but so absolutely necessary. So he comes in and takes it. And, of course, he looks like he might be in another engagement here. We're kind of trying to build up and get this little vantage point as he's going to be heading over into Dusty. But it looks like Courage has the advantage pushing in. And there it is. He is, in fact, going to pick up that frag, putting him a total of 10 on the right side compared to 6. So Courage and Scissors, yes, they did get their stills still stolen, but nonetheless, they're still leading the way. As we see now, they came in with a 1-kill lead with Ninja and Hysteria that puts them at 7. So right now they have a 3-kill lead overall.
And the one man that's not in all of those engagements happens to be Hysteria. We talk about the split coming through. Hysteria needs to go big, going for the edit, trying to take some shots on the other player. Will successfully take one down, but the fall damage could definitely spell for disaster. 83 HP in a dream, as it looks like Hysteria does successfully get another knockdown forward, but thankfully has those shields, only takes 20 HP off in that last shotgun blast. Still staying up, though. This is a big opportunity for Hysteria. After finding those knocks, solidified kills is exactly what he needs. And just like that, there's going to be 3 big ones just inside of Old Soccer from Hysteria. And that's fantastic. If you're in Ninja's shoes, the ability for players to not necessarily be next to the others, those engagements that no one is going to be able to see except for Hysteria's eyes only, and going big when he absolutely has to, as he comes through with 3 big kills.
That gives Ninja and Hysteria the lead back.
Yes, it
Just
does.
like that, we had Courage with a 3-kill lead, and then Hysteria finally turns up, gets I think a squad of 4.
They got that 1-kill lead. And you know what? Honestly, I have to say, this is what I love about Ninja and Hysteria is both of them, they switch roles off, but they're not scared to split from each other, as we see just that. Ninja will take some damage. A little bit scary, but it's okay. He's going to push up, knowing what Ninja can do. He's going to get that height advantage, comes in with the double pump, or excuse me, he's got the heavy along with the pump in his back pocket, as I like to say. Comes in, takes in 3 to continue this lead, and of course
he's
frags.
continuing on, man.
He absolutely is, and he has to at this point. But I love the fact Ninja and Hysteria split up, as well as Courage and Scissors. They're staying together, so obviously doubling your potential to pick up more frags.
Ninja does such a good job, by the way. Like, we talk about defensive building. I swear it's like an instant reflex with him. When he gets something shot underneath him, to instantly put a platform down and save his life. If he doesn't put that platform down, he probably doesn't get any of those kills, and maybe even gets a lot of fall damage there. So his ability to have that quick reaction time and, again, to build on a defensive side is incredible. Yeah,
without question, probably one of the greatest recovery builders in the entire game of Fortnite. And, of course, sitting alongside some fantastic pros who are also very good at that stat liner. Guys like Tfue. You could even argue like Myth Hamlins, etc., guys of that nature. But still, looking on, I believe a structure does get dropped. This is when we talk about the recovery building. Ninja showing off exactly why that's the case. Having an enemy just in front of him toward the outskirts of Salty Springs, having a few engagers, teammates, opponents just on the outside of him for the time being. Happens to get on the flank of one, having to be wary of his backside, trying to go for the challenges, but needing to go for the healing. He does have the Chug Jug. Is going to go ahead and rock this. Is going to take a lot of valuable time. And the Stink Bomb comes forward, trying to escape. He's trying to breathe. As he just starts to back out, player is still just in front of him. Does he try to engage on it? And yes, he does get the knockdown, but does he go for the Chug Jug usage again? How much free time does Ninja have at the moment?
I don't think he has enough time at this point. He looks like he's going to go ahead and pop those minis, and wisely so. Just picked us off the dead body, but another Stink Bomb comes in.
1 HP.
Mind you, they only affect health, so he's at 1 HP. Another Stink Bomb comes in. He's in a lot of trouble. And with that being said, he goes down. Now, I talked about the split before. Ninja and Hysteria were widely split up, so now it's up to Hysteria to continue to sleep. Mind you, this is
25
in fact
HP.
game 2. Now, but we have Scissors.
Oh, no. Hysteria's down.
Hysteria's down. No.
Hysteria gets eliminated, and just like that, Courage and Scissors comes through with one big one. Of course, Courage also gets knocked in a matter of moments. 3/4 of our players have dropped.
It's up to Scissors.
It comes
all down to this.
It is down to this moment. Scissors all by his lonesome. Of course, guys, trying to get a score update for you as quickly as possible to see how many kills are necessary. What exactly is the scoreline for right now? All relies on Scissors. This is his moment to try and prove himself. Of course, goes for the quick edit, trying to grab as much utility, as much health, as much resources as he can manage. Player just behind him. Keeping in mind, he has a great amount of mats. He has a great amount of kind of utility at his backside, but quickly trying to stay up and make sure he's set up for the late game.
I think he needs 4 or 5 kills.
6 kills.
Okay, 6
wow.
kills.
This is, I mean,
you
talk about
moment here.
A lot of weight on your shoulders. Now, down to 71 health and 9 shield. Of course, this team is unrelenting on his shoulders. He only has 4 minis. He doesn't have any bandages, so he's got to definitely watch out at this point. Edits out, comes down below, does spot a player, goes for the knock. Not able to get it, but finally able to successfully knock him out. Plus goes for the thirst, but he shouldn't have done that. There's going to be a player just above him. He's got to play this so incredibly perfectly, being 6. Now 5 total frags down. He's got to be careful. If you want Ninja,
he's going forward.
Or excuse me, yeah. If
he had it. This is not good.
The unfortunate mishap on the excess, and unfortunately looks at the entirety of his fort happens to be exploding at the seams, trying to go for the quick edit. Can he find any of these kills? Having to stay alive, taking a little bit of damage here and there, but players are surrounding him. This is Scissors' opportunity. Goes for another knockdown. Here's another opportunity. No! Scissors drops, and just like that, so does their chance of moving forward. And Hysteria and Ninja will survive a barn burner, one that comes to the close. What an insane ending to that match. Scissors had it in his hands. He had so many players around him. It was all in his hands. But unfortunately for him, he will get taken down, which will in turn advance Ninja and Hysteria in the tournament.
Honestly, he looked like he was in the middle of like 2 or 3 teams of 4, because there was rockets coming in, there was grenade launchers, there was C4, there were bullets. It looked like a 50v50 game at that point. There was just explosions everywhere, and he had to go get 6 kills out of that mix. Incredibly hard to do. Obviously didn't make it out alive.
Jeez, man.
Wow. What a match.
That's a good match.
Ninja and Hysteria move forward.
Hey, very good, Taylor.
That's probably who we would have favored coming in, right? But I mean, in that fashion, to see it come down to the wire like that in a situation where we just saw Scissors do a one-man army before that to kind of seal a victory, right? We just saw him do it earlier. Why can't he do it again? Doesn't obviously pull it out, but what a performance by them. And again, we see the favorite move forward. We're one step closer to kind of the desired Ninja versus FaZe grand finals. But I don't know, my heart's still kind of started to calm down a little bit.
That was insane stuff to watch. Like, oh my gosh! Like, talk about the plays that were made toward the end. And
he stayed alive. He didn't really stop staying alive too. Let's give him credit. Like, he died in the end because he was between a 50-50 match. It looked like, but
and you can see the frustration right at the end. Of course, the rage, but. I mean, when it comes down to the $20,000 tournament, being so close to that money and being in the spot that he was in,
that was such a good match. No, you talk about the ending. I mean, but
oh my god,
no, it was so. Think about it. Scissors, he loses that. He breaks the headset too, which was just added to the temper of the whole match. But what a great ending. Overall, I'm a little delayed there. That I didn't expect that to be the case. I thought Scissors were totally going to make that comeback possible. I didn't think it was 6 kills, but I'm sorry, I'm not providing a lot here. But it was just as a spectator, I really enjoyed that. But Ninja moving on. They're going to be going against Cypher as well as our man FaZe Geomach.
It's a Luminosity match.
Yes,
that's the Luminosity Losers Finals. We talked about Cypher and Geomach, right? 2 players who we know have a crazy skill, haven't made as far in the tournaments as we think they probably should outside of obviously Cypher's week 1 win. They team up, and I mean, look at them. Here they are. They're in the top 3, a placement neither of them have gotten near in quite some time. And again, they're going up against one of the Titans, we know. But I mean, everything they showed us so far, I don't know why they can't compete and maybe win the match.
Well, I'm excited for Cypher, especially because Cypher has made it this far, obviously coming in, not playing with Nick Merckx. This is great for his part. And you pointed out, you were excited for Cypher to be playing with Geomach because Geomach obviously hasn't shown much, at least whenever it comes to our tournaments overall. So this is a great showcase of his skills. But of course, were they beat by FaZe earlier in the tournament? I'm trying to remember back.
Who was?
Yeah,
Cypher,
they were. Excuse me. Yeah, they were. So that's who knocked
Cypher
them
and
down.
Cypher and they've been playing in the Losers Finals.
That was Winners Finals, exactly. Right. So obviously a rematch would be pretty awesome. But then again, you think about Ninja. Like I said, his best placement ever was 2nd place. So he wants that 1st place, and to get through Cypher. As well as Geomach is totally doable, of course, if you think about it, because Ninja, too, it's completely warmed up. He's been playing left and right, just comes hot off that win. Now he's going to be coming in against maybe potentially a cold team of Cypher and Geomach, and then maybe an even colder team of FaZe. But I say that, but they're always hot. But moving into it, I'm really curious who's going to take it. But honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if I see Ninja and Hysteria take it, because they've been playing on point. The shifty drop seems to be the way to go overall, and it's not served them wrong whatsoever. Even we saw Courage and his teammate try to counter that by going tilted themselves, and they still weren't able to do it.
Right. Of course, guys, a lot of awesome action to come. Our Losers Finals is set up and ready to go. Our final 3, of course, will continue on to see you get a majority of that $20,000 prize. Of course, FaZe awaits the winner of our next matchup, of course, in our Losers Final game. Of course, if you guys haven't done so already, make sure to follow the stream. Of course, yet again, thank you for 100,000 followers on our UMG Events Twitch page. Massive thank you to you all for making things like this happen. Of course, like I said, guys, going to take a quick commercial break. When we return, some more awesome Friday Fortnite action.
All right, here we are going into the losers finals. We've been talking about it all night. Would Ninja make it through with Hysteria? And he has, in fact, done just that. Now, of course, he has to get through Cypher and his teammate FaZe Jailmock. They've been playing considerably well. But now, Ninja, Hysteria, coming off that hot win that we just saw, they're warmed up. They're ready to go. They've been hitting up Shifty, and it looks like they might, in fact, be going Shifty once again. Seems to be their homeland, as Ryan likes to say. But, of course, you know, as we know one thing, Cypher and Hysteria, they like Shifty themselves, and they're going to be going Shifty.
They also like following the opponents, too. That's what we've been
do.
talking about throughout a lot of their tournament runs, has been kind of on the back heels of their opposition. And you could argue on this landing spot as well, they could be doing much of the same. Whether or not they obviously prefer Shifty Shafts is obviously a known factor, but I think them like seeing Ninja and Hysteria going there, it's like, hey, it's kind of two positives. Might as well make it a play call here.
Yeah, so Shifty versus Shifty. It's really going to come down to who can outperform the other, a battle of true skill and a little bit of kill stealing and a couple other things that come into effect as well.
And it also comes down to the rotations. We can't forget that, right? We've seen so many times Ninja and Hysteria take over a victory because they were just rotating ahead of their enemy opponents. Of course, that happened with FaZe. We noticed that earlier whenever we saw that FaZe Cypher and Jailmock match. FaZe just was able to rotate through a little bit earlier and take over those kills from Cypher and Jailmock. So that's another thing they're going to have to focus on too. Who is going to push for Tilted first and get those early kills? But trading back and forth is going to be overall frags. As we see Jailmock and Hysteria both picking up frags themselves. As Shifty, of course, you'll run into a couple of squads here, but it's going to be about those rotation. How is the Tilted going to work out?
Yep, 2-1 is the score right now. It looks like ultimately the squad wipe did go in favor of Ninja and Hysteria, but as you mentioned, Tara, I think the most important thing is who's going to rotate and how quickly you're going to rotate over to Tilted. Do they both decide to go Tilted as well? Something tells me they both will.
Oh, definitely so. That's the natural instinct for both of these guys. I mean, you know, a couple tournaments back, we saw maybe a Greasy rotation, but that was back when it was at least a battle pass objective, go to Greasy. You find out some opponents are going to be rotating through, and you might have a squad there, but ultimately that squad from Greasy usually is going to go Shifty or Tilted themselves, so eventually in the end, you'll end up finding them.
Definitely possible, yeah. When it comes into the Shifty Shafts, though, I know you touched on it already, Taylor, but really it's a matter of like, hey, like, are we going to wait for the rotation of Greasy players, or are we going to make our way towards the towers first? It's going to be a lot of the things kind of being in question right now in the minds of all four of our players, but I believe as the C4 comes through, Cypher happened to spot someone. Of course, the top right of our screens at the moment, we'll see if he tries to engage or who can actually be there. Jailmock is going to be the aggressor, and I believe in the end of things, it's actually going to be Hysteria who steals that kill. Rather unfortunate when it comes down to Shifty Shafts, where the kills necessarily aren't always in you know, a very high amount. You really got to take them where you can get them. In that situation, Hysteria comes big with a nice little steal there.
Yep, so in the end, looks like 2 squads actually rotated to Shifty at some point. Maybe a solo squad came in as 5 kills are on the board right now, 3 in favor of Ninja and Hysteria, thanks to the heavyweight of Hysteria, who's actually performing incredibly well today. Meanwhile, only 2 kills in the hands of Cypher and Geomox. Here comes the rotation. Looks like it's going to be a quick jump from Hysteria as he's looking to get to Tilted as fast as he possibly can. And right behind him, of course, are Cypher and Geomox.
And that's what I talked about. You got to get ahead of your opponents, and they look like they're doing just that. Yeah, they're going to be farming a little bit of wood, but Cypher will, in fact, have the lead overall pushing into Tilted. So he drops some rounds, of course, to kind of give Geomox a little bit of a buffer there in terms of bullet-wise. But very close score off of the rip, and that's to be expected with both teams landed at Shifty, a very low-intensity area typically with a couple of squads there. But as they push forward, will they tend to break up? Like I've been saying it, they'll stick together at Tilted. But then after that point, do they rotate back or push forward? They can't go back to Shifty at this point. They're going to be outside of the circle, so they've got to keep pushing forward. But interestingly enough, Ninja and Hysteria will, in fact, push into Tilted. But look at Cypher and Geomox. They're going to go down to the right side and kind of cross this river and push forward. Go salty.
Yeah, definitely. I kind of like this play, actually. I was kind of curious. Okay, you go to the tower. It's not a bad call by any means, but you're going to have a lot of opportunities to try to go for kill steals, which is exactly what Ninja happens to succeed at quite a bit. So as we actually see Ninja and Hysteria quickly start to find themselves some easy frags for the most part, you also could be putting into question Cypher and Geomox, their ability to kind of have the entire eastern portion of the map wide open to them. Salty Springs, Retail Row, you name it. Players have probably survived or trying to make their way through here, and they're going to see most of those players, if not a few, right? So I think while it is, at least for right now, not the greatest of returns, late game it could work out very, very well, actually, for Cypher and Jo.
Yeah, and that's actually a great point. Keep in mind, the bus did come from the south side of the map, so you're going to see Fatal Fields, Junk Junction, Yonder Yard, quite a few rotations coming to this area of the map, let alone the massive fights at Retail Row and Salty Springs that did ensue. So I think right now, short term might seem like the upper hand goes to Ninja and Hysteria, but long term, I think it's a smart decision from Cypher and Geomox. I would love to see Ninja and Hysteria try and find a jump pad or maybe bounce pad their way over if they can. I think if you push towards the north side of the map, you're making a huge mistake because there's going to be significantly less people that way.
One thing that I haven't highlighted as of yet, Hysteria is sitting at 7 frags just for himself. Of course, Ninja sitting at 0 and alone, just showing obviously the skill set Hysteria has. Now Geomox on your screen picking up an easy frag just ahead to kind of close that deficit just a little bit, showing this rotation. Like you said, that bus route, right? They could run into quite a few people over at Salty. So this rotation could, in fact, prove to be extremely useful. Plus, they've also hit up Dusty a little bit early, so they'll be able to get a lot of those people rotating through. Whereas, you know, Ninja and Hysteria, they go Tilted. They pick up a considerable amount of kills, but now they're going to have to go over by Loot Lake. And, of course, Loot Lake, you do find some kills yourself, but it's still an awkward place to transition to. So, with that being said, I think overall, Cypher and Geomox later game is, in fact, going to have a little bit of an advantage.
I think when you look at our final 3 squads, of course, keeping in mind phases, obviously got Ninja and Hysteria, Cypher and Jo, really all 3 of our teams, which is pretty much not at all what we're used to, are all kind of slower paced squads, right? For the most part, we look at this tournament the last few weeks, all pretty much slower paced. Teams like to go on the outskirts, not teams who maybe prefer Tilted, not teams who want to go in the middle of a Retail, in the middle of a Salty Springs, etc. As we actually do see a llama. If we get llamas in chat, that'd be great. But it's kind of, to me, a little bit interesting that we look at this tournament and maybe the progression, maybe Fortnite has kind of changed its meta, at least as far as Friday Fortnite is considered, to maybe say, hey, the slower strategies is now the way to go, rather than we used to see inside Salty, inside Retail, inside Tilted pretty much every single time. Now we're seeing more outskirts play, and it seems to be well suiting a lot of our squads. And like I said, maybe the meta for Friday Fortnite is starting to change.
Definitely is, and we've been seeing that throughout our tournament. You know, in the beginning, we saw a lot of hot drops. We would see a lot of teams just go straight into Salty. They'd go straight into Tilted, and they'd come out with a lot of kills, and it was very explosive, and that's why we also saw shorter rounds in the beginning of Friday Fortnite, because a lot of these teams would go for these hot drops, and unfortunately, some of them would end up going down, and because of that, we would have shorter rounds. Now we're starting to see longer extended periods, longer extended rounds, both teams staying up towards the very end and winning. The reason why we're seeing this is because they've slowed down their gameplay. They go for more rotations, which allows more kills than we used to see in the beginning. And it's kind of a refreshing thing to see. It's turned in more to a chess match and more of a marathon than a sprint, which is what we used to have.
Yeah, I think that's great commentary here. It's Stereo with a beautiful knock. The guy's still going to be knocked. So one thing they did a great job right there is just keeping the pressure on the built structures, which made that guy kind of hesitate a little bit to get that revive. I mean, that guy had 25 seconds to get the revive, but Stereo ended up doing a great job tagging up that wall, not allowing him to do so. They pick up 2 more kills, and now What's the rotation? You see Cypher and Jailmock with, I think, a strong rotation of Risky. They're really dominating the east side of the map. Ninja and Hysteria, I wonder what they spot, what they see. Of course, that thermal AR has paid dividends for them as they've been able to spot quite a few people from far away. But you got to wonder how they're going to follow up.
Yeah, with that being said, their lead that they had, at least moving over to Loot Lake, is in fact going to carry them, especially Hysteria's 8 total frags. They have 9 alone, and they still have the lead. Yes, they've hit up less areas, but they've hit it up more populated areas, so it seems. And that's why they have the lead, whereas Cypher and Jailmock, they've covered a lot of ground, but they've been in areas where a lot of players are not. And did you guys just see that hit from the Deagle that Ninja just hit? I mean, that was absolutely a great snapshot on his part, and came in and got it, making that player get extremely weak. And look at him just building over this opponent. He just has no idea what's about to hit him, and goes in with attack and able to finish off the kill. And actually, it's going to be the double pistol. So he hit that shot from a distance with a double pistol. Excuse me, not a Deagle. That's even more impressive.
I completely agree. Ninja's been a huge fan of that double pistol meta, and it goes to show his practice that he put in this week and using that double pistol has really paid off, as he's going to hit great shots with that thing. And of course, you hit a headshot with that guy. That's 70, 80 damage that you do instantly. It's nuts.
It's a lot of damage, that's for sure, especially coming from something like a pistol, which you look at from an outside perspective, like, okay, well, what's a pistol going to do? It's actually going to take most of your health away, if not 90% of it from time to time. But speaking of long-range shots, actually Ninja pulling out the thermal assault rifle from across Loot Lake. That's how much damage that thing can do as well. We test the damage. This is one of the best guns in the game, especially when it comes to Friday Fortnite, which is trying to seek out as many frags as you can get. That information is always super important.
Yeah, absolutely so. And actually, if we can go ahead and break away and look at the other opponent's screen, we were seeing Cypher was, in fact, going to be in a fight. He's going to be low in health. Places the trap very wisely so. He's going to go ahead and get that knock with more players just below him. Man. Pushing over to Anarchy Acres. We know this is a Battle Pass area. Obviously, people trying to go for their eliminations there. But look at this guy. He's going to be down to 5 health and a dream. Can he make it happen here? He's going to go for the thirst, and wisely so, as Jailmock pushes forward to try and provide a little bit of a buffer for Cypher. But unfortunately, Cypher, he's all out of meds, guys, but luckily he does have a med kit just below him. He's going to be forced to take some time out. He puts the fireplace just below him. I think he's going to try and save that med kit, feeling confident to go ahead and push forward to kill these opponents.
At the same time, Ninja & Co. also in some engagements. Ninja from long range, taking down one, but just a matter of bullets. Of course, the Portafort supplying a little bit of support when it comes down to the opposition's play. But just as I start to say that, Jailmock gets taken down along with being eliminated from the match. Cypher was not able to be there, and it looks like along with that, the player kind of jumps away for the time being. However, one is still remaining. A little bit of a resurrection time is Cypher. But talk about a huge loss, losing your opponent, and there's still quite a few engagements remaining.
And we just saw Ninja actually pick up a great kill with a double pistol. He is using those to the fullest of his abilities. And of course, those double pistols so incredibly powerful. And I actually saw one account, at least one person got 170-something damage with the legendary double pistols. You're talking about insane amount of damage, and he's using it to the fullest abilities. Pulls a thermal in his back pocket without skipping a beat, and manages to ding some shots. As you see, once again, Ninja's going to be leading the way. But look at this score, guys, 17-5. We have a 12 frag lead. Cypher's all alone, and we have a total of 14 frags still remaining. When you talk about a loser's finals, you don't want to come into that second round with this much of a deficit.
And also, when you really look at the beginning of this game, both teams landed in the exact same spot. So we can't say, oh, it was Ninja and Hysteria who happened to get more engagements, or no, oh, it was there who had like a really good RNG start off the break. Both these teams landed in the exact same spots. They easily could have done the exact same thing that Ninja and Hysteria did, but that's all about rotation. It's all about player awareness, etc. Cypher is pulling out some amazing plays here in Anarchy Acres. You got to give credit to him. But generally, when you look in the score and you're saying, hey, both these teams land in the exact same location, massive, and even more credit toward Ninja and Hysteria's case.
Cypher has just played incredibly well. That entire segment before he used that med kit, fighting the 1v3, his teammate dies and manages to clutch that up. So well done. But of course, all he has is 4 kills to his name, which, you wonder who had the better rotation. The tilt rotation turned out to be the better call for Ninja and Hysteria, as they've picked up so many kills over in that Loot Lake side of the map.
Yeah, and you got to think we were questioning that before. Yeah. We liked the overall rotation, but unfortunately, he covered more ground but wasn't able to find the frags in total. And in fact, Hysteria as well as Ninja was able to pick up quite a bit more as they continue to extend their lead, finding these last remaining frags. The Storm has been collapsing down, but with Ninja's thermal sight being able to scope out the competitors and Hysteria's aggression pushing forward and them splitting up now towards the end, they're covering more ground, of course, naturally than Cypher is able to do by himself. Cypher, however, is in fact going to be inside the circle, so he has the potential to find some players who are maybe trying to get a one-by-one, maybe build up inside the circle, and he could potentially pick up some more, but ultimately he's going to be going into the second game with a deficit.
Yep, Ninja with two beautiful headshots. There you go. I was trying to foreshadow a little bit. And that's one thing that I think these players are starting to realize is the benefit of the thermal scope in this format of game. It's all about finding as many kills as fast as you can, and that thermal scope gives you such an advantage in doing that. Big shout out to Epic for the new weapon. That thing is just beautiful. Not just does it do so much damage, but it also gives you so much vision that can really benefit your team.
Yeah, that's a great point. I think when it comes down to thermal assault rifles, like you mentioned, the amount of damage that it can do, and also a lot of players were kind of hating on it for the factor of you can't really shoot the greatest with it. Has a lot of kind of recoil or whatever it may be, like a lot of problems with the shooting aspects of it. But a lot of the positives from it come through its vision, right? The ability to see players through structures, the ability to see players through walls, and the knowledge that you can grab for a lot of the situations is so incredibly influential. So yeah, I absolutely agree with that. I think the thermal assault rifle in Fortnite especially is super important because it's not necessarily always about the kill finding. It's just about where the players are at in general.
Exactly. Having that ability to kind of foreshadow what's going to be up ahead is a huge benefit. As even right now, you're seeing there's only one player remaining. Now, Cypher, he's just having to use his ability, his eyesight, just to go forward, whereas opposed to Ninja, he could just go ahead and go out there and just look at, see what's around with these two players remaining, and obviously give the call out to Hysteria, who is split off, and he can say, hey, we need to collapse in on these two remaining players, of course, and they could be anywhere at this point. But honestly, if I had to say, Ninjas might find them over here in maybe these buildings, these farmhouses. But then again, Cypher has a good little lead too, but still the sting is there. They're going into second game with at least almost a 10 frag.
Ninja does have a pistol for each one of them if he's ready to see it.
That is true. That is true. And I got to tell you, they shred through buildings. And there we go. See, and this is what we talked about. But wow, did he take some damage?
Yeah, as he started to see that one player, that player also spotted him. As the rush, I'm sure, is on, and while Ninja has spotted at that player, I'm sure the call-out's also coming into Hysteria as well.
Yeah, Hysteria picked up the other kill as well. I'm not sure if you saw that in the bottom left of your screen. So it's looking great right now. If you're a Ninja fan, 7 plus 15, that's 22 kills to, I believe, 7. They're up by almost 20 kills. It is a phenomenal performance here as they've been playing out of their minds. I think it's about a 15-kill lead right now in favor of Ninja and Hysteria.
And Cypher has a little bit of a lead, trying to go for at least this last frag, and hopefully he'll be able to find it to kind of recover a little bit of that 20 frag deficit. But with that being said, I do believe Ninja sees some building over to his right, and I believe that's probably going to be all she wrote, to see that they just shred through those buildings, and that's going to be it. Talk about a lead for this loser bracket. I mean, first of all, $3,000 is the bare minimum, of course, though. You go from here, you got a $4,000 prize difference moving into the grand finals against FaZe. But if you talk about that much of a lead, you got to split. You have to split. One has to go tilted, cut off the shift, because you know where Ninja's going. They're going shifty, right? You got to go tilted, send them there, get up those frags, and then go over to Salty. But yeah, that stings. That stings if you're Cypher and J.
16 kill lead for Ninja.
That's massive.
16 kills. That is
massive.
And along with the number talk, I mean, as well, Hysteria finished off with 15 or 16 of those 23 kills. Fantastic game from him. I think we've been obviously giving a lot of credit for Ninja, right? The king of Twitch, how it has a very strong presence when it comes to the social media. But there's been a lot of moments throughout this tournament where we're kind of crediting obviously the team itself. There's been a lot of moments where Hysteria's back's against the wall, even from last week into this week as well, where it's a really high pressure situation, needs to stay alive, needs to have some big moments, and he's answered the call almost every single time. I know we've been critiquing a little bit Ninja and Hysteria's play regarding landing zones, etc. But when Hysteria, like I said, his back's been against the wall, when the pressure, the time called for it, he's always been there. So I think it's one nice little factor that Ninja has alongside of him, is that he doesn't always have to rely on himself to find those frags. Having that player joining alongside of him to make sure that those frags can be found in different situations, be found in different areas, is always nice. So,
yep. Beautiful play. And what's interesting is both teams survived pretty much the entirety of the game. Jomak went down maybe with 4 or 5 minutes left in the game, but the fact that they both survived the entirety of the game, and there's that big of a difference. You see that happen when a team dies early. It goes to show how well Hysteria and Ninja are playing, how smart the rotation was. I mean, they are really next level when it comes to rotations, and that's why I really do think I'm holding on to it. The dream is alive. It's never been more alive. Ninja Hysteria prediction in the final. I think they match up well against Tfue. I think we're going to see a good grand final, assuming that Ninja Hysteria make it.
Well, you know, let's go ahead and foreshadow the grand final. If they do, in fact, end up going up against FaZe, I think they will have a better opportunity to kind of beat them. And the reason being is because FaZe, their rotations have been so great, but it seems like Ninja and Hysteria have kind of found the secret key to their rotations, and that's the way to beat FaZe overall. But here we are. We're dropping in.
Tilted Salty.
We got a Tilted Salty, and it's exactly what we need to see. And this is, you know, pretty typical whenever you in terms of a 16 kill deficit, see how it works out. But of course, as we look, we always try to foreshadow what's happening with Cypher, because Cypher's going to be in Tilted, and that's usually the deciding factor.
Oh, and here comes the trap down. Thankfully, dodges it maybe a step forward, and Cypher could be saying goodbye at least an even beginning opportunity to take down this game. Of course, a lot of very close situations happen like that in Tilted Towers.
Great navigation, building the staircase to go up to the second floor, catching that person off guard. Of course, thinking in different directions there. Of course, that player was like, yeah, I got the trap to my right, which is kind of weird that he was over there kind of looking at the staircase. I mean, why was he doing that if he had a trap to his right? But regardless, Cypher, good navigation, pushing through, and he's going to live to tell the tale. We'll see how many kills he can at least get out of this. But, of course, surprise, surprise, we have another shifty drop from Ninja and Hysteria. But like I said, always got to put that focus on the person in Tilted, and Cypher now down to 30 health, and there it is. And that's the thing about Tilted, right? You send a player there, if he doesn't perform and he goes down, and you already come in with a 16-kill deficit, that's pretty much all she wrote.
Yep.
Oh, man.
And you know, a missed jump there followed by no mats. I mean, that is a heartbreaking way to finish if you're Cypher. I like the guts to go Tilted by yourself, but I'm gonna echo what Ryan said earlier. I think you send double Tilted. You get the extra support there. You know, Cypher goes down. Geomach is right there to clean up those kills. He's back alive. And now all pressure relies on Geomach as he's Salty Springs by himself.
Indeed he is. But like I said, man, like when it comes down to Tilted Towers, right, it's almost a matter of no mistakes. And in that situation, you could absolutely argue, I mean, how much pressure, the amount of like inputs needed for Cypher just to even see a few more seconds of his life is just absolutely insane. But of course, credit to him. Like I said, a massive kind of pressure put onto Geomach's shoulders. We'll see what he can try and do. This guy is very, very talented when it comes to situations. Playing, I'm sure he probably plays his fair amount of solo squads, etc. Obviously, a pro player for FaZe Clan in Fortnite, obviously, and obviously this is his chance, right? This is his opportunity. This is his platform to really show off his skills and really give us exactly what he can do when it comes into a game of Fortnite. But obviously, with the deficit that he's at right now, not looking the most likely, but pretty much if you're a FaZe fan, you're hoping Geomach can go off, find some easy kills, but also along with that, you're also hoping that we see an early drop from Ninja and Hysteria, which is not typical by any means so far throughout our tournament today.
Definitely not, and especially with it being so quiet at Shifty. They're not going to go down anytime soon, and wouldn't surprise me at this point if they do rotate over to Greasy. There's no reason for him to go Tilted at this point, and knowing that Geomach is pretty much last alive, and I believe we saw his teammate finished with, what, 1 kill? So not too big of a scare, at least if you're Ninja and Hysteria. But we do have a team kind of all jumping at the same time, trying to avoid these grenades coming in, these explodes, and they do so just well as they're all pushing pretty much together, but yeah. I think Geomach honestly should be able to clean this up fairly well, but he's got to watch out. He could get pinched from the back, and he does pick up one, goes for the second, coming in with the deagle, not able to hit a shot. Can he get it down? Taking a lot of damage. Will this be the end? And yes, it is. Cypher and Geomach, what a tournament run, but they're going to finish in 3rd place, $3,000 going to them, and I do believe this is the first time Geomach is finishing the money, as well as Cypher, of course, won, at least in the beginning, money overall, but showing obviously the team split ended up being the way to go. Geomach, obviously a phenomenal pickup for Cypher to use. Nick Merckx didn't do too bad himself throughout this tournament, but 3rd place going to them, and now we're going to get to see it come to fruition. We've been talking about it all night. You called it. Good job on your part. Ninja, as well as Hysteria, is going to be going against the FaZe boys. Will FaZe end up being at least a back-to-back champs, 4-time champions in Friday Fortnite, or will Ninja finally get that victory that has eluded him throughout our Friday Fortnite tournaments?
Yeah, I'm so excited
storyline,
for this
baby.
matchup. I am so excited. They lost to this. Actually, Ninja and Hysteria, we didn't even talk about this too much, lost to Cypher and Geomach earlier in the winners bracket. So the fact that they came back and won in such a decisive way goes to show their chemistry is there, their rotations are there, their communication. I think they're in a good spot. It's going to be tough to bring down FaZe, man. They are definitely the kings right now of competitive Fortnite. Fortnite, and especially in this format. So taking them down is going to be difficult, but if anyone can do it, it can be Ninja and Hysteria.
Definitely agree with that. Like I said, we talked about their similar play styles, the ability to stay alive throughout the latter parts of the game. You could argue when it comes down to it, as long as you're kind of there at the end of the Victory Royale, you're probably finding a good amount of frags for the end of things. So yeah, definitely echoing what Fallout says. I think the strategies kind of play very similar. Talk about late game, you're both alive toward the end. Like I said, you can imagine it could equal out to a very close, like kind of later stage of this match. And I think since both teams do play similar, I think that's what we're going to see.
Yeah, absolutely. So, guys, and I know this is the final. A lot of you guys want it out there. Make sure to tweet it out to everyone using the hashtag Friday Fortnite. This is going to be the final to determine who will take it. The grand finals. Could you ask for a better one? FaZe going against Ninja and Hysteria with both similar playstyles, as Lennon just pointed out. Trust me, it's going to get good. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Dude, it's so long, man. It's so long. It actually was about 5 hours. He's in the lobby.
Still launching my game, bro. You see the shit that Mitch Jones did earlier?
No, what'd he do? Oh, he goes, oh, I'm lagging. Alt F4.
Yeah, just tell my game crash.
Yeah, just he did that while streaming.
Yeah. I was like, dude. Bro, there's no way we get cut 2 games. Like, that's not happening. That'll never happen.
I told Jinx it. I have no idea.
Can you toss me lead real quick so I can get him in here?
Are you east or west, by the way?
I'm east, so we'll do one. We'll do 1-1.
Is he? Wait, is he west?
Yeah, he's west.
Oh, feels bad.
I ping like.
Okay. You want to do both east or?
Yeah, right. You guys ping like 40.
What?
To east.
Yeah.
Chill, dude. Listen, you do, man. I know you do.
I got like 90 ping on west, dude.
You guys are in wait.
I'm in New Jersey.
I'm in Florida.
Oh.
We haven't moved yet. Yeah.
Yeah, he's west, dude. Come on, man.
So if we're
all right, so we're just cucking him, or?
I mean, come on,
nah, I mean, shit.
We'll do east first.
Okay. Fuck you, man. Let's fucking go, Turner.
Alright, I'm gonna pee real quick.
You know, I was just confused for when you guys were at the FaZe house last week or the week before that.
Yeah, that was for E3.
Hello.
We'll be out there soon. What's up? How are ya?
Yeah, tell him to go to the bathroom.
Great.
He's going to the bathroom
great.
real quick. Dude, I saw that game against Courage and Scissors. That was sitting on the edge of my seat.
That was nutty, man. We've had so many, dude. Literally, we have not had like I don't think we've had a single easy win this entire tourney, man. Game 1, we played the Aussies and like we died right away on our host. And then they got like a 15 kill lead, and I ended up dropping a 17 kill game on their host to tie it. And then game 3, we slayed out literally the entire lobby, the last 17 guys, and won by 2.
Jesus, man. How much ping did you have on the service?
200.
Oh! Yikes!
It was a rough ping, that's for sure.
Dude, oh my lord.
We were down 13 with 15 people left, and we killed all 15.
Dude, that's actually nuts.
It was crazy.
That's pretty hype, though.
Oh, like for a second, we're like, dude, we can't even win, can we? And then it's like, wait a minute.
Wait a minute. Pop off, go. Good, that was sick. I'm hoping we get a good final. Hopefully, we all run into bots and get a lot of kills.
I'm hoping you guys die right away.
Whoa, hey, man. Jeez. Come on,
man.
Hey.
You know what? I hope that too.
Let someone else win.
Listen, man. Come on, dude. No one wants to see you guys win again.
Bro!
Dude, honestly, though.
Let's just have some good games, guys.
Yeah, for sure, man.
For sure.
Good luck, have fun, boys.
Good luck, boys.
let's end this round 1. Game 1.
Let's go, baby. You know this shit ain't even hard.
We're ending this round 1, game 1.
Just another pump scream, dog.
Yes. Yeah,
Nah, good luck to them for sure, for sure. Ugh.
All right, let's do this, Turner.
Hey, no stress, baby.
Game 1, round 1.
Greasy and shifty.
Wait, it's west. Yo, it's west. Did you change it to east?
Yeah,
We're not doing one on each?
I thought
I'm
we were
West
gonna,
Coast.
I thought we were gonna start east, but it doesn't matter.
You want to? We can.
No,
we
no,
can
no,
reset
I don't
and
give
do
a
east
shit.
first. No, that's fine. We want.
Yeah, we'll do this first.
Oh, no, that's fine. Where are they gonna land?
Why do I always get cucked by giving other people party leader?
I don't know. They're gonna go shifty probably.
Yeah, we're gonna go shifty.
And we are back again with the finals. FaZe going against Ninja and Hysteria, and this is going to be a monumental matchup. Both teams have similar play styles, and trust me, it's only going to get better from here. Will we see a bracket reset in Ninja and Hysteria take it over FaZe, or will FaZe close it out and be the two-time champions plus four-time champion, or two-time champions back-to-back, and four-time champions in Friday Fortnite with $40,000 earned? I don't know. It's going to get crazy. Where are we dropping, boys?
It looks like for the FaZe guys, we're going to be seeing potentially Greasy Grove and also Fringe and Hysteria doing the exact same thing, or maybe even make their, actually no, they're making their way towards Shifty Shafts. It looked like it was going to be a Greasy Grove pickup, but not at all the case. Both teams playing very similar off the start, which makes for a very interesting grand final on the outskirts of Tilted Towers. We'll see exactly which team likes to initiate that fight off the start, as it looks like Tfue on our screens at the top left, making his way instead of building first, trying to find some weapons and trying to get that first frag on the board here for the finals.
Yes, sir. This is exactly what we want to see. Both teams sticking together and trying to fight it out for not only loot, but also fight it out for the kills, as they are going to get brutal at this point. Now, mind you guys, if you're just joining us, Ninja and Hysteria have to get a bracket reset in order to take this victory, whereas Tfue and Cloaksy only have to win one game, or one series rather. So who will take it? I don't know. Let us know in the chat. Tweet it out. We got to get it going, as this is going to be one of the most exciting finals I think that we're ever able to see. But with both landing shifty, both hotly contested in this area, really, honestly, you got to be thinking we're setting records here potentially, or also, too, how scared I would be if I was an opponent in this lobby.
Right, man? You got tons of viewers watching this game. I quickly made a quick little jaunt as far as viewership is considered. Over, like, there's got to be at least over 400, 500,000 people watching this in total. Grand finals across all streams. Unreal stuff. And, of course, thank you to the viewers for making all of this stuff possible, making the finals here for Fortnite Competitive even more amazing.
Yeah, man, can you believe this matchup? I mean, this is the matchup we've been waiting for. Ninja and Hysteria versus Tfue and Cloaksy, the kings of Friday Fortnite, as they've won 3 times total in their tenure. Can Ninja defeat them? Of course, they're going to have to reset the bracket here. If it's going to be anyone, it's going to be Ninja and Hysteria. We've talked before about how they match up incredibly well. So interested to see, though, that Tfue and Cloaksy did their research. They actually countered them at a shifty drop, which goes to show they're really, really confident against them. I think they feel like they can match up well and outlast them in 2v2 or 2v4 fights.
And what I love about this landing at Shifty is both of these teams got 0 kills, which means they just got kitted up, and now it's going to be all simply down to the rotations to see who ends up taking it. Now, I want to point out Ninja and Hysteria's rotations have been absolutely on point. So has Tfue and Cloaksy, but are they going to pick different spots? Doesn't look so. It looks like they're all heading together as one cohesive unit, which once again I like even more so, because it's like they're going to be battling so hard.
Well, yeah, it looks like FaZe Boys are actually making their way towards Salty Springs pretty much off the break, and Ninja and Hysteria probably getting to go toward Tilted Towers, it seeming, for the time being. So a little bit of a split potentially in our midst. It's going to be a little bit of interesting strat, right, if Ninja and Hysteria decide to go there, and it looks like that is going to be the case. So, yeah, a little bit of a split coming forward. And for Ninja and Hysteria, right, we argue about the high traffic possibilities of this moment for them. They can either really distance themselves when it comes down to this game, or very quickly lose any potentials of closing out this first series. A lot on the line for our losers bracket team, especially, in a nice situation off the start. A nice way to kind of kick things off and Tilted is a quick knockdown coming in from C9 Hysteria.
Yep, Hysteria's going to pick up that kill as well. So I think that's the first kill we've seen picked up so far. So Hysteria's going to break ice. And meanwhile, the Salty rotation. So we saw the same exact thing last game with Cypher and Jailmuck, their teammate actually on phase, rotating over to Salty side. So we'll see which one pays off. Last time, of course, Ninja and Hysteria got paid dividends by rotating over to Salty with a 23 or 24 kill game in game number 1.
Definitely so. It's going to be hot, late, contested, tilty, salty. Which one is going to reign supreme? Of course, Ninja and Hysteria going into those tilted areas, they have managed to make it work considerably well. They have been rotating, honestly, just beyond belief. On top of that, too, being in tilted, they get a lot of great kills. But now I've got to be a little bit worried for them with Tfue and Cloaksy rotating through Salty. They've got that Dusty advantage. But I've said that in the past, especially in our previous round, whenever we saw Cypher going up against the team of Ninja and Hysteria. I was like, well, you look at the Salty drop, or excuse me, you look at the Shifty drop, they go tilted, but then they went back to Shifty, and they ended up winning the game by a considerable amount. So obviously there's something I don't know or something that I'm missing here.
I would say, too, when it comes down to Tfue and Cloaksy, I was going to say they have yet to find an engagement, finally find the knockdown, and that's probably been the longest that I think we've in this entirety of this tournament that it's taken them to finally get a kill on the board. But regarding map positions, I think it's a little bit worrisome if you're Tfue and Cloaksy. Granted, you have the high ground when it comes into a lot of different spots, but having Tilted Towers be open, have it be available, has got to be a little bit worrisome. Got to be a little bit aware in the back of your minds that that is going to be the case. However, Ninja and Hysteria quickly both involved when it comes down to engagements. Ninja decides to go ahead and back down, try to reassess the situation and help out Hysteria from one side of the fight.
And I absolutely love that. Some beautiful movement from Hysteria as he's going to place down the pyramid, which allows him to sneak through the window and barely flank and get a nice double kill. Great gameplay right there for Ninja and Hysteria. This duo-ship is really starting to show how much chemistry they have. They've been putting in work together, and boy, are they starting to bond. Of course, if you don't know already, Ninja and Hysteria, former teammates in competitive Halo. They go way back, years and years of competing in Halo, and their chemistry certainly does show.
Two very different routes after they landed Shifty, but ultimately almost the same result as we have a 1 frag difference between the two as Ninja and Hysteria have a little bit of an advantage there. But notice they are in fact going to be on the edge of the circle. They're going to be able to play that gatekeeper role a little bit better. Kind of curious to see where Tfue and Cloaksy will be rotating just after this. Looks like they will in fact be at retail. So let's recap. They landed Shifty, go across the river, they head over to Salty, then go to Dusty, and now they're going to be at retail. You talk about covering ground. They have managed to cover a lot of square footage, whereas Ninja and Hysteria, they're staying typical at their Shifty drop. They're staying also by tilted as well. They're banking on the rotations coming through Greasy, or maybe even players a little bit further out. With that being said, Ninja, though, will take some damage. He does, in fact, pick up the thirst, but is he going to be in trouble here?
He's trying to edit to try and escape just around the corner. Looked a little bit risky there for a moment. Thankfully, we'll be able to escape out of that fight. Of course, we bring up Ninja and Hysteria and quite a few fights. I believe Tfue is spawning quite a few enemies from long range as well. So regarding that split, it looks like both of our teams actually seeing quite a few engagements.
His thermal shots earlier were absolutely
I know, right?
disgusting. At least 200 meters away, and he's hitting every single one of them, which is ridiculous. But Ninja and Hysteria here on the right side of your screen actually coordinated a little bit of a split. Ninja was fighting a separate squad while Hysteria decided to push one as well. You'll see that now they're going to kind of regroup as Hysteria's going to take a little bit of fall damage, hits a shotgun shot for 1 damage there, but is going to get the down on the second pump shot. And it looks like they should be able to clean up these kills momentarily. One last member alive. Hysteria is going to call him out and tag him up just a bit, but another squad seems to be rotating, so this is the concern of going risky, is there's so much mid-round to late-game static. Finally, a lot of those kills are going to be picked up actually by Tfue and crew on the other side of the map, as Ninja and Hysteria still need to be a little careful.
Trying to get that high ground is in fact going to be Ninja. We saw him get dinged up just a little bit, but he manages to get that high ground, and he goes down and does get an elimination. But players still building up. A lot of activity here, and that's to be expected, especially where the circle is at as these players are going to be rotating through. He's got to be careful here. Of course, that player builds up. He is going to be down, actually, as now Hysteria has to go big. He has to save the day, but luckily for Hysteria, Ninja does not get thirsted. This player is going to be around. He's going to go ahead and finish them off, but the zone is moving in. There is still time to save him. Luckily, they don't have that much to run, but this is something to worry about. Where's the bandages? He only has minis in his back pocket.
And they're in tilted towers, right? They should be able to find some heals.
Right.
If you're a Ninja fan, don't be too concerned. But
There it is.
I'm more wondering, where is the last member of that squad? And there he is, actually. He's going to pop out of nowhere. And now in a pretty tough spot, literally backed into a wall here, are Ninja and Hysteria. Can they back out and reset this one, as this last member alive is going to actually down Ninja all up to Hysteria? Hysteria's going to flank him. He downs him, but there's still one last member lingering somewhere. Hysteria's down to 30 HP and only a few bandages. He's going to spot him. He's going to get tagged up as well here. I'm on the edge of my seat right now as it all comes down to this last 1 versus 1. Hysteria forced to bandage, isn't actually going to even be able to pop it as he needs to play for this kill.
Oh, this is so incredibly close. He still has that player around. He's going for the revive on Ninja.
God.
You talk about a bold plan. Of course, though, they still have some major ground to cover. Hopefully he has some bounce traps or at least a bounce pad in his back pocket. But then you look at it, too. He only has one bandage. There's no med kits. There's no more bandages. And there's a bounce trap. So, hey, there is a possibility they can break out. Like I said, they don't have that long to travel. But he's sitting at 9 health. He's going to have to bandage up one last time before they make this push. Ninja, he's going for the impulses to try and get out of the storm. But both are incredibly weak. If they go down now, there? I don't know. This is going to be so incredibly close. The fact of the matter is both of them are so incredibly weak, and I think.
Oh, the campfire! They actually have a campfire in their back pocket.
That is so clutch.
Oh my goodness, they are living on the edge. And talk about how much time this is taking out of their gameplay. Whether they could stay alive, obviously, was the question for a while. But now here comes the storm. The bounce trap comes forward, and just like that, they stay alive. But barely at that. And who else, just as they start to get outside of the zone, Cloaksy and Tfue are ready to say, hey, guys, welcome to the fight. Welcome to the finals. We've been waiting for you guys to finally join alongside us.
And Ninja's actually going to pick up the kill. So despite all of that and the rotation, Ninja grabs the kill, manages to survive by a campfire, literally. And just like that, Ninja and Asteria are still in this fight. That has to be one of the craziest sequences of Fortnite I have seen in my career casting.
And
wow.
Of course, you're going to see it in the finals. And I mean, what match other than this is we're going to see it? We knew it was going to come close, but man, you talk about living on the edge. But they managed to make it work and come out with a kill. Only something Ninja himself could do. But now, let's get back into the action to see what's going to happen. We do see some C4 going down trying, and he does get some damage on that opponent who's in that 1-by-1, but he's got to watch out. Will he take fall damage? No, he will not. Great defensive build. And there's going to be a person just below him, actually 2 of them, and this could be big for Tfue. They were all tied up, or excuse me, I believe they had a 1-frag lead at this point, but with that knock, that's going to tie it up, and they're going to be moving down and trying to overall get these kills. They're going back and forth, but Ninja.
Genius.
Ninja, they
will take back our world from the scourge of the machines. Glory to mankind.
Was like I said, every time that we watch Tfue stream, it's like we're always learning something else to add toward our gameplay. But as far as engagements are considered, they're starting to come down to the wire, and Ninja is starting to find an entire squad. There's one, and here is a second as well. Double knockdowns coming forward as we talk about Hysteria's play throughout a lot of this game, a lot of this tournament rather. And now it's Ninja starting to add toward the overall amount of kills. This is a team who can kind of hang with the FaZe group. When you talk about the consistency, the long escape of these games, one player in the bush, Tfue, not going to escape from him either. As back and forth we go, similar team fights, same squads, and overall kills going to both of our teams.
We have a total of 7 engagements remaining, and they're going to be pushing forward. Now 6 as we see another one getting dropped from a player not on this team. And of course, every frag is going to count. Now, mind you guys, just another quick reminder. I said it at the beginning, but Ninja and Hysteria have to win this. It's so important because they have to force a bracket reset in order to take this over FaZe. So at this point, Tfue and Cloaks, the pressure may be on them, but they can afford to lose this and still come into the second series fresh and ready to take over the win.
Yeah, it's definitely FaZe's game to lose here. As you see the score, 14-13. So this is a nail-biter. And buckle up because we're in it for the long haul here. Game 2 will be crucial, but what's even more crucial is how they finish this one off here in game number 1.
Absolutely. So we see a bounce trap coming out. Ninja pushing forward. He's been so incredibly aggressive. And I know this match has been at least, 10-15 minutes, but it seems like it has just flown by as both teams, as the trap kill coming in for Cloaksy, both teams have just been battling it out left and right. And you talk about a high-octane, high-intensity match. But as I say that, Cloaksy does go down, and he is going to get thirsted. Now, of course, this late in the game, this is exactly, if you are going to drop, you want to drop this late in the game because, of course, it's not going to matter just as much as it would have if there's maybe 30, 40 kills still left, but that is going to be a little bit of advantage for Ninja and Hysteria pushing forward for the last 4 frags.
Yep, and that's actually big, though. He did pick up a kill before he died, so a 2-kill lead right now for FaZe Clan, and it looks like Tfue, despite his teammate just dying, is pushing with such aggression here. That it's pretty crucial, though, because this should be the last remaining kills for Ninja and Hysteria if they can play their cards right. They have the jump on Tfue, who's trailing them right now. We'll see how they decide to play it as they're pushing and trying to be the aggressors here.
Yeah, and Hysteria currently with the advantage, of course, a jump pad coming through from one of our players, and Hysteria tagging him up quite a bit, but running right into the line sight of where Tfue happens to be. We'll see who can try to find the kill. First constant HP flying around. A lot of weak enemies happen to be just right in front of him. Here comes the race. Looking at Tfue's screen, he's got one player jumping in. That's going to be Ninja. Hysteria also building as well. It's a race for these kills. It looks like it will actually be going toward Ninja. Oh my goodness. And Hysteria
I think
both.
We're tied up here, or a 1-kill lead for Ninja and Hysteria. So if you're a Ninja fan, you are ecstatic right now as they're going to end this one strong thanks to that death from Cloaksy. 2 members of the opposing teams alive right now, so they're going to want to pick up these 2 kills, and they can go into game 2 with a 3 or 4 kill lead.
And how long would it be where we see a team coming into a second map versus FaZe with an advantage? Like, I could probably count on my hands the last few weeks where that's ever been the case. So you want to talk about a nice play coming in from Ninja and Hysteria, as they're actually going to be down 1 kill at the moment. But still, if they could have someone of an advantage coming in the map too, all the credit to them.
Ninja hits a great shot, follows up with the gold scar in his pocket, of course, pushing forward once again.
Tfue,
he hopefully will be able to get it. We do see Hysteria, though, is going to find one of them. Misses a couple of shots, but I believe, Tfue got it.
Tfue got him.
Wow, you talk about clutch coming in.
So Tfue gets one, Ninja gets the other.
But that's still a one
it's a
frag
1-kill
lead
advantage
going into. But, I mean, you talk about, like you said, when's the last time have we seen FaZe come in? Yeah, they have the lead, but you're talking about a 1-frag lead. That is massive. And for the first time, which I just want to point out, too, they land together. Yes, they split up, but this is the first time we've seen both teams land together and still finish so closely contested, because before we were seeing Ninja, Hysteria, they would land shifty, they would then go tilted, and the other team would break off, and that'd be like a 15-kill difference between
Huge
the two.
difference there.
Yeah, we talked about that last series, them and versus Cypher and Jayamok, and it was like they go to the same landing positions, but the rotations from Ninja and Hysteria were far superior. They were walking away with, like you said, 13, 14 kill advantages, despite landing in the exact same spot, which only gives more credit to Ninja and Hysteria regarding their knowledge of the map when it comes down to Fortnite, knowledge of overall what players like to do around the map.
Yeah,
so
perhaps that's a little bit of RNG as well, as we saw, Cypher and Jayamok pushing to that side of the map and didn't find a soul.
Not a soul.
In that side of the map, So it goes to show, again, a big part of that is battle bus and understanding where the paths go and where player movement and a little bit of analysis that goes into that. But at the end of the day, a little bit of randomness involved. Again, as you brought up earlier, the fact that FaZe keeps winning these tournaments time after time after time again, you wonder how random it truly is.
Yeah, Ninja's hungry for this win. Second place is his best that he's ever gotten in these tournaments, and this is the time that he wants to take it. And, of course, being 1 frag down, you might as well be even going into game number 2. But I guess we're going to see another shifty drop. Seems to be working out incredibly well. Will FaZe mirror that? We know FaZe's favorite spot, though, is to go just outside of Salty, and that has worked for them throughout the tournament. So for them to kind of mirror Ninja and Hysteria was kind of interesting, but it wouldn't surprise me if we see FaZe kind of go to that Salty drop. Now you look at the direction of the map. Shifty, Shifty's right there. It's towards the end, but Salty is also there too. So we could see a potential Ninja and Hysteria going Shifty once again, but it wouldn't surprise me if we see FaZe go Salty again as well.
Yeah, based off the bus, obviously Tilted's going to be available, Retail, Shifty, Salty Springs. I mean, you're kind of typical in this, right? Also, Tomato Town, right in line with the bus, which we're going to see quite a few of the enemies reign. So, is it with the tie game right now? Like, what really is the strategy call for both of our teams? Tfue and Cloak are known for kind of countering the enemy. Do they drop later? And in Ninja and Hysteria's mind, what are they thinking right now? Do they go towards Shifty Shaft for what worked last time, or do they want to really counter? Or do they really want to counter the opposition though, and try to go somewhere kind of off kilter to try to take down this team? A lot really is coming into the minds right now as the battle bus starts to take place.
I think we're going to see Tfue and Cloaks drop to their typical Salty Springs outskirt spot. Ninja Hysteria looks like they're going towards crates or containers, maybe even a dusty divot or a split.
I almost thought retail, actually. I think they might hit up residential
looks like they're going retail. Yep, it does look like they're going retail.
Which is interesting.
Yeah, I think it is Salty Springs for, so it's going to be 2 major cities for both of these teams. Very even drops. It's going to come down to who can get more kills and who can clutch up. This one's going to come down to the wire here. 1 kill lead for FaZe Clan.
So both of these were obviously in the direction. Now, Hysteria is in fact going to get a very low drop. You notice the players are going to be just above him. He has to break off. Oh, no. So Hysteria gets a bad drop. Ninja, he gets a decent drop, but there's also going to be people just below him. Luckily, he will find a chest.
And what a sniper, though.
And he has a sniper. No. He's got only a pistol as he has some players running towards him. Luckily, he has that half pot in his pocket. But, of course, Hysteria will find a chest himself. And lucky for him, he finds the double pistols plus a half pot himself. But they've got to meet up. This is a great opportunity for them to get a lot of kills. We saw, of course, the battle bus. This was well along the route. There's going to be a lot of players here. But, of course, a lot of players at Salty, too. But Ninja is getting lit up from the side, guys. This is a bad situation if you're Ninja and Hysteria.
He's going to find himself a green SMG, though. That is massive. Hysteria needs to get there ASAP. A poor drop is going to force Ninja to have to clutch, and who better to clutch than Ninja himself, as he's going to take out 3 right now, all by himself. Ninja solo squatting retail row as his teammate Hysteria tries to catch up.
Yeah, rightly so. We see the double pump in the back, or in the hands of Ninja. As you see him, he does have that sniper too. So, you know, he didn't get the best of loot in the beginning, but winning that first round, at least against his opponent who pushed him with the pistol, seems to be working incredibly well. Finally, half pots. He's got the loot in his hands. This is a great opportunity for Hysteria Ninja. Now, of course, it started off a little bit rough and a little bit shaky, but now they can pick up a lot of kills. But Tfue and Cloaksy are starting to push into Salty like they typically do. But at this point, usually they have quite a few kills. They're opting, instead of to go for the engagements, to kind of get some wood, get some resources, which leads me to believe not a lot of people went Salty.
Yeah, definitely not as many as per typical. That's what kind of comes into the typical mindedness when you talk about these players. I think it's fair to say retail row compared to Salty Springs, a typical game, you're going to see more players kind of land toward retail row if they're kind of familiar with the game, just because of the amount of spots that are possible. We talk about, you even kind of split this thing up. You go retail side, or you kind of go merchandise side, whatever, maybe even shop side as well. The amount of possible players is usually more prominent when it comes in a retail row. And of course, speaking onto that estimate is going to be Ninja, seeing quite a few enemies just in his front side, takes down the Omega, and now is sitting on top of 6 frags in total. Hysteria at 1, the FaZe boys not seeing, like I said, a whole lot of engagements for the time being, but in Hysteria, while it was looking pretty grim for a moment,
rotate is the key question. They need to ignore the rest of retail row loot. You're good enough with your loot. Get to Dusty Divot or wherever as fast as you possibly can, because guess what? FaZe is one of the best in the business in rotating towards that side, and they're almost already there.
And I noticed, I think right as Tfue and Cloak started to make that rotation, Ninja and Hysteria also realized in the minimap and said, hey, now's the time for it to go to the rotation. So I think maybe it was a call for Ninja and Hysteria to realize and say, hey, these guys are going for the rotation. We know this is their game plan. This is what that's what they succeed at. In so many of their matches, they're doing it. Now's our time to copy the champions.
Absolutely so. As we see, Dusty is going to be hotly contested. We see Tfue and Cloaksy trying to make some magic happen here, but Tfue will, in fact, be lit up, trying to get that high ground with the Pop Rocks. Cloaksy pushing in. Of course, that great, consistent support role player is now going to be the aggressor. He's going to get above, and no one's going to be home as Tfue already cleaned them up. And, hey, got to say, Tfue's playing on point. Of course, they're answering back to Ninja and Hysteria's great start over at retail, but like you said, Fallout, now they're going to be at Dusty. They're going to start matching pound for pound the kills, at least over at Dusty themselves. It wouldn't surprise me if they stick together at this point, of course, or maybe even split up, send one player ahead. You have to get ahead of FaZe if you want an opportunity to win this.
And that's what I was about to say. You're a step behind by going Dusty Divot, a chess move ahead. Our FaZe clan right now, if I'm Ninja and Hysteria, I think the better play, actually more people are going to rotate. So a few more people, they could pick up some of these kills. We'll see what's going to result here. Oh, no, that was Ninja shooting that piece of cover-up. I apologize. But I think the better rotation would have actually been to Salty. So a little bit of mind games, but you're going to catch people coming from Yonder Yard, from Lucky Landing, and a little bit further down, maybe even from Salty Springs. I think you go straight to Salty and just beeline for Tilted if you're Ninja and Hysteria.
Ooh, and what a shot from Ninja. That's going to be a knock from the top of Dusty Divot. He's going to push up to try and get the final kill, but look at Tfue. He's already there, and he is, in fact, going to get one knock as well as the players are trading back and forth. But with that being said, he only got 1 elimination. So did Ninja. So that means they are now, I believe, still 1 frag ahead at this point as they just go back and forth, and the kills have been dwindling away. We're almost down to the final 30, 34 players, 34 engagements still remaining, and of course opting to stick together. It looks like Cloakzy's trying to make his way over
the split. Okay.
The split,
yeah.
exactly. So a little bit different.
Yeah, I was curious when this was going to happen. You also see Ninja, right? He is just right behind Tfue for the time being. So I'm curious, where does Hysteria go? Does Hysteria start to follow alongside with Cloakzy, or what really is the break here? So at least one thing that we can take note of, Ninja and Tfue sticking on each other's backsides, along with Cloakzy and Hysteria kind of going in their opposite directions.
Yeah, absolutely. So pushing forward is Ninja and Hysteria. We'll see if will they be able to find anybody. Tomato Town obviously isn't a big hotspot, but Tfue begs to differ. He's going to be over there trying to spot anybody that's over there. Of course, though, Ninja will be matching just that. He's going to be at Tomato, but of course Tfue has that little bit of an advantage. But one thing, though, Ninja has the sniper rifle, and he's putting it to work. He just misses that, but that's something that Tfue doesn't have. So we're going to see Ninja have that distance advantage, whereas Tfue is going to have to get up close and personal. So we'll see if Ninja will be able to kind of, surprisingly get some kills from behind.
And here's the thing, though. Look how low Ninja is on AR ammo. 15 thermal shots. He's going to hit that headshot, but not going to be a headshot, actually. So he basically just gave Tfue a kill. Ninja also going to get tagged up here. Not looking great for Ninja, who only has 14 AR bullets, and Tfue's actually going to pick up that kill low side.
Oh my gosh, Ninja is taking all the damage, taking all the excess fire, and Tfue was, at least for the moment, sitting incredibly pretty. Goes for the challenge, and here's the opportunity. Thankfully does not take fall damage. He has the mountain to thank for his life, at least for the time being. But you talk about Ninja versus Tfue, literally fighting side by side. Only 19 total HP right now for Ninja to try and even stay up for the time being. And there's still, I believe, one more player just on the outskirts of this position. Ninja does go for the successful knock, but that player, like I said, was knocked down. There is still another enemy lingering around this area. Who's going to find it?
Well, luckily he's able to find some bandages, and I think that's what his kind of objective overall for that. But like you said, where are the other players at? And I think Tfue might have found at least a couple of them pushing forward. He's going to try and meet up. And, even though he can steal some kills from Tfue at this point, the point is he's going to have a little bit of added protection, especially from splitting up. But look at Hysteria and Cloakzy both matching each other at Tilted. This is exactly what you want to see. You've got a Tfue and Ninja battle, whereas you also have a Hysteria and Cloakzy battle. You couldn't ask for anything better.
This is so great to see. I love these matchups, right? You got the kind of, high-profile players, the guys who are incredibly well-skilled when it comes down to how many inputs they can do per game in Tfue and Ninja, and you got kind of like the support-minded guys in some cases in Cloakzy and Hysteria. You couldn't ask for a more fun, more kind of head-to-head matchup to have two 1v1s going on at the exact same time here for our grand final.
Yeah, and it's going to be Hysteria who goes big right there, picking up a crucial double kill. That's going to expand their lead to about 3 or 4 kills for Ninja and Hysteria. Game 2, they started off down by 1. Can Ninja and Hysteria reset the bracket and force a second game in our grand finals? This might be one of the most epic Friday Fortnite finals we've seen to date.
Mind you, they're only up by 1 frag at this point. The current score is 11-9. With that 1 frag, of course, in the hands of FaZe before this game started, that puts them at 10. So 1 frag is the only thing that separates these two teams, and we have a 1v1 battle going on. And Hysteria picks up a very much needed knock and goes in for a second one, is able to get that. That's going to secure 2 frags, and now they're going to be up by 3 total frags. You talk about taking a lead to get that bracket reset. Ninja and Hysteria are out for blood. FaZe starting to slow down a little bit. We're going to notice them. They're going to once Cloakzy, he's going to be over at Loot Lake. Hysteria, though, is going to break off from that. He's going to stay at Tilted, and it seems to be working so far. Ninja with the thermal is going to be dinging some shots at players straight ahead, but Tfue has broken away from Ninja as well.
Yeah.
We're all split up.
Yeah, we started off being right next to each other. Players started to kind of go on their separate ways. We saw Ninja and Tfue right next to each other, Hysteria and Cloakzy. Now all four players are, like I said, Taylor, all spread out. Where can they find these kills? This is going to come down to ultimate player vision and overall knowledge of where the enemy is going to be at, all at different locations. Loot Lake, Dusty Divot, Tomato Town, and I believe just around Shifty Shafts is where all 4 players are lingering. Where are the enemies at, and how does this all come into play?
Yeah, and I see Cloakzy's going to spot a few. I don't know if Hysteria knows something that we don't, but he's pushing outside of the storm into Shifty Shafts, trying to hunt down the last member or two. And he's spot on. He's going to find one. Easy shots, going to connect
That's
for the down
huge.
here. Hysteria has been going off in this mid-game and single-handedly securing the win here. Meanwhile, Ninja on the other side of the map doing the exact same with a phenomenal performance on his end.
Tfue is down, and there it is.
man.
He gets dropped, and that is huge for Ninja and Hysteria to force a bracket reset. Cloaksy now last alive for his team as Tfue is completely finished off. Cloaksy in a battle himself. He's got to be patient, or he's got to go in for it, but he is taking some massive damage, opting to kind of dip out. If he goes down, we're going to be forced into a bracket reset. Will Cloaksy stay alive and pick up these frags, or will Ninja and Hysteria close it out and take the victory?
And you also notice, right, Cloaksy doesn't really have any eliminations, of course, getting those knockdowns, but he's yet to really kind of get any solidified kills on the board. Just as that happens, 3 big ones go through as it's all on Cloaksy to keep that kind of one series pad alive. Of course, like we said, if FaZe ends up losing this series, it is not all done for yet. Ninja and Hysteria, they've got to win 2 of these series, so a much more difficult task for that duo. But we'll see if they can make it happen. As right now, 29-31, only 14 engagements left, boys. It's about to get even more intense.
Only 2 frags separate them. So I got to say, even with Tfue going down, Cloaksy can very well take over this win, especially if he's able to kind of come in and steal those kills. He's going to be building way up, though, getting pretty high at this point to kind of jump pad over at Loot Lake to join up with the men of Ninja and Hysteria. But notice they are split up.
Yeah.
Great separation to double their chances of picking up these final remaining flat frags. As you say that, Ninja picks up a frag himself and Hysteria getting a knock too. So looking absolutely phenomenal. But also too, got to be saying, look at him finding those players in the storm. Guys, I'm seriously considering a bracket reset here.
I think it's happening. Ninja and Hysteria are certainly playing for it. They're playing incredibly well, and they deserve the bracket reset here based on their performance here in game number 2 especially. Hysteria going off in Tilted Towers. Ninja with barely any health, no ammo, somehow finds a way. It's been an amazing performance here on Friday Fortnite, and we'll see if they can close this one out. 14 people left in the game.
Yeah, definitely looking pretty good. Very happy with the performance of Ninja and Hysteria. Dropping down, taking some fall damage, but he could sacrifice that as long as he picks up this final frag, or at least one of these frags inside of this 1-by-1. This player drastically trying to stay alive, but you notice Cloaksy does come in, and he is able to find the knock, though. Will take some damage, backing up, finally gets the elimination. It's exactly what he needs to do if he wants to keep his team alive. This is going to come down to a final few frags unless Cloaksy goes down. He is keeping his team alive, and Fallout, he's doing exactly what he needs to do.
Yeah, Cloaksy doing everything possible, but the duo of Ninja and Hysteria also playing so well with the split. I mean, what a crucial split it was. The right call. They both clutch up against multiple squads here as Hysteria and Ninja are both about to find themselves in a fight. 1 versus 2 for Ninja, 1 versus 1 and 1 versus 2. As it's going to be Ninja hits one headshot. Can he get the kill here? And that's going to be, I think that secures it all just about. If Hysteria can pick up these kills, especially as Hysteria downs 1, grabs the second kill, eliminates 2 more, and it's all Ninja and Hysteria at the bottom left of your screen, as they have had one of the most remarkable Game 2 performances we've seen in Friday Fortnite final history.
Boys, I think that has to be it with those frags. We're seeing now, look at Cloaksy's screen, there's only 8 remaining, so a total of 5 frags remaining, and I believe their lead extends 5 frags at this point, if we can get an update on the score. But I do believe we are going into a bracket reset, and there it is, another frag in the hands of Hysteria. And trust me, guys, I think that is it. You talk about a performance. Hysteria going in for yet another one. Wow, we have finally have a bracket reset. This eluded FaZe last time. FaZe ended up making their way in the last tournament. They worked their way all the way through the winner's bracket, much like they did tonight. And including the finals, there was no bracket reset between Avery and High Distortion. They lost immediately. However, in this case, we can see the gods can, in fact, bleed. FaZe will, in fact, be going into a bracket reset, and it all comes down to this next series.
And what a phenomenal kind of game plan coming into this series from Ninja and Hysteria. As you see on the scoreboard, they're 39-32. The amount of frags, the amount of consistent kills that we saw in this game regarding rotations, being super aware of their enemy. I mean, really, Ninja and Hysteria just showed absolute improvement. Coming in from a top 4 placement last week, they have improved on so many different factors, whether or not it's been teamwork, whether or not it's just been overall awareness, rotation kills, etc. They are playing like FaZe does, essentially, right? Being super aware of their opponents and also getting kill steals, being consistent with frags. They're playing at a whole nother level, and I think they put on a fantastic game plan regarding their early game landing locations, and we'll see if they can do it yet again. Taking down FaZe already is hard enough, but a matter of doing it twice. I don't know if we've ever seen a team do that.
With that being said, I know this game is over, but they're still getting kills, and that's the hands of Ninja and Hysteria. Ninja sitting at 14 kills, Hysteria at 11. That's a 25-kill game alone. That is impressive. That's 1/5 of the lobby just between those two players alone. Of course, FaZe had plenty of kills themselves. Cloaksy with a great performance with 6 frags himself. But Ninja and Hysteria are on point tonight, playing like we've never seen them play before. This is Hysteria's best placement so far, at least guaranteed second place, and the most amount of money that he's won as well. But Ninja, too, this is, I mean, he's already had second. He wants first. I've been talking about it all night. And it's coming down to this. As we see, Ninja is, in fact, going to get the final one. Coming in with the Seagull Dance, and we're going to a bracket reset.
Wow,
this is what we wanted. This is what we wanted, guys, in the chat. Make sure to tweet out using the hashtag FridayFortnite. We're going into a bracket reset. Couldn't get any better than this.
And one thing that you said, like kind of touching on how many frags that were found, you said 15 for Ninja, I think 11 or 12.
16 towards the end.
Or 16 toward the end.
Yeah.
Except 11 for Hysteria. I mean, that's fantastic to see. I'm sure I think there's a few Ninja and Hysteria fans probably out there really hoping that they're kind of cheering on their team and cheering on that duo and whatnot. To see them play that well, of course, with that many frags toward the end is awesome to see. To see them keep like kind of staying consistent. It wasn't like they had a lead and they kind of slowed down toward the end. It was all full force at the entirety of that series, which is what you have to have versus Tfue and Cloaksy.
Yeah, that's so true. And really, I could feel the ice in their veins for Ninja and Hysteria. I mean, game 2, backs against the wall. You're down by 1. You've never won a Friday Fortnite before. All pressure is on you, and they play perfect, pristine Fortnite. The split, Hysteria goes tilt to towers, clutches up. Ninja pushes with Tfue, no health, and manages to clutch up. I mean, what a performance that was in Game 2.
Yeah.
The only question is, everyone forgets that Game 2 performance if they can't close this out here in the bracket reset.
Yeah, I had my buddy DM me, Fluffy is God. He DM'd me and he says, shout out to Fluffy is God. He sent me a DM and he was talking, he was watching Ninja stream, and he was saying Ninja is on point when it comes to the overall rotations and predicting where the enemies are going to be pushing from. And obviously that is the case here. Unfortunately, we're not able to hear those call-outs coming out from them, but if we were, we would be thoroughly impressed with how he's been calling out overall in the communication between the two, like you've been harping on all night. They come from a Halo background. Both of these players have that team chemistry. Halo is all about communication, and so is Fortnite as well, and they're bringing that in, and they're showing that it's working. But with a bracket reset, this is going to get crazy. I mean, honestly, we can expect the same amount of... And by the way, I just want to point out, none of this would have been possible. Let's go ahead and revert back to that tilted area where we saw them trapped in the storm and came out because of a campfire, used a jump pad, came out of the storm, and still managed to steal a frag out from underneath.
That's very true.
That's
totally
a great point.
Yeah.
What a match this has been so far. I mean, we could have written a better story. This is one of the best Fortnite matches I've seen yet. I think in my at least my career, it's been amazing to see. Game 1, that tilted experience. Game 2, they clutch up. You're spot on. What an amazing performance it's been.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about crazy performances. That's hands down one of the top moments in Friday Fortnite overall, and this is hands down one of the best finals we've had in Friday Fortnite overall. But of course, Game 2 or Series 2 is about to be underway. Of course, they're going to be switching up lobbies, but predictions going into this. Let's go ahead and talk about it. You've been predicting Ninja all night. You've always been a FaZe guy, but of course, you're not counting out Ninja whatsoever.
No.
I'm not saying my prediction yet because I want to know both of your guys.
And then you're going to change yours.
Yeah,
flip-flop.
exactly.
Well, we'll see what I'm going to do. I'm hoping the game starts, and I'll just go right into the game commentary before I'm able to predict. But let's start with you. Going into the bracket reset, who you taking?
You know, I predicted Ninja and Hysteria to make it to the grand finals. I never said they're going to win the tournament, but at this point, I got to go all the way. I got to say Ninja and Hysteria are playing so well. I'm going to ride the hype train all the way through. I'm going to see my prediction through. I think Ninja and Hysteria are going to do something that we haven't seen before. I think Ninja's going to win his first tournament.
Okay.
I think it's hard to predict. I mean, first off, like when it comes down to these predictions, it's obviously not easy based off both these teams, how similar they play.
Political answer, this guy.
Based off of Ninja and Hysteria, how well they played throughout this entire tournament. But no, I'm not going to ignore the prediction, man. I'm going to go FaZe, man.
Oh,
okay.
I think that they're
bring the flags out, man.
I think that they're going to go for a 4 championships and be the first team to defend their championship successfully as well. I think beating FaZe was hard enough for Ninja and Hysteria. We talked about how many situations, how close they nearly escaped by the skin of their teeth. I don't know if you're going to do that 2 times in a row.
Well, you know what? My prediction definitely has to come into play, and I'm going to have to go with, of course, they're going to be dropping. Where are we going to be dropping? Tfue and Cloaks and Ninja and Hysteria going. I did it. I finally
At Reflections on Twitter for baiting. If you guys, what do you want? No.
Yeah, that was clickbait if I've ever seen it. But, of course, we got to see a Shifty drop. The bust is primed for it. Tfue and Cloaksy, of course, could go over to, a Salty as well. That's primed for that, too. So both players, both teams are going to get exactly what they wanted out of these drops.
Looks like an early Shifty drop going to come through for Tfue and Cloaks. Ninja and Hysteria are going to drop a little bit late. Looks like intentionally. Well, sorry, Ninja's stream is delayed, I believe. So I believe it might have been at the same exact time.
I think for Shifty.
But I think we're going to see a four-man Shifty here. So it's going to come down to who can hit more shots, just like we saw in game number 1 last time around. What a match this has been so far. If you guys are enjoying, of course, spread the word. We're going to bring you guys the energy all match long because, man, these players are delivering the energy with their gameplay. It's been an amazing viewing experience so far.
You know, this is going to be a little bit different whenever it comes to Shifty. We've been seeing a couple of engagements, but that bus drop was literally right next to Shifty. And, of course, this tournament has been going on all night. So, you know, people have been watching this, and they're wanting to go Shifty, too, to kind of get involved with these kills overall. They're seeing how it's working in rotation. So I think it's going to get a little bit hairy between these two teams, and hopefully both of them will be able to make it out alive. But, of course, it's going to come down to that rotation just after that. But we have 3 players, except for Cloaksy. He's going to be making his way over and just trying to get some resources. But we had all 3 players fighting for resources within the houses alone.
And what a weird drop, fighting for resources, fighting for chests, fighting for items. It's been an interesting drop so far, and we'll see if anyone else went Shifty. I don't know if there's any other static there. I think they might be able to just farm up, resource up, and then it's all going to be about that rotation. 2 times now we've seen Ninja Hysteria go tilted. They like that play. Last time we saw Tfue and Cloaks go towards Salty. We'll see what decisions they make here.
Rightly so. It actually is a lot slower at Shifty than I thought it was going to be. Yeah. I was expecting quite a few more players here. But then again, Tilted was right in the bus path as well. So them rotating over towards Tilted could be a big hit.
Definitely could. I'm also curious. We talk about Shifty Shafts every time we got to bring it up. Late rotators from Greasy Grove. Also rotations coming in from Tilted Towers as well. Whenever you want to make that rotation, really is up to you. It's a matter of who wants to initiate that fight first. But I believe there's going to be someone spotted right now. The Rockets come forward, and I believe just as that happens, I believe the full-on elimination coming through from Hysteria to set the tone. Yeah,
with the rocket.
Setting the tone here, already fighting for loot and also fighting for those eliminations. Hysteria puts the first kill up on the board here for our second series of our current grand final.
If this ends up being a 1-kill differential, remember that kill.
Right?
Hysteria with the Pucket Rocket, able to pick up 1 from long range there. Well played, and well played by Hysteria.
At least so, as it looks like we could be threatening a tilted hilltop rotation here as we're seeing both teams head over towards that tilted area. Yeah. And they both need to, honestly. You can't really afford to go over to River and then rotate through. You've got to be high octane, high intensity, especially knowing your opponents here. But, of course, they got to be careful in tilted. It's going to be such a chaotic place to be heading off to. But Tfue and Cloaksy look like they have a little bit of an advantage. They're going to be on that hilltop, and they have some range with it. We see a hunting rifle in with Cloaksy, and then, of course, on the top we have that zoom for Tfue. Looking at the right, what do we have? We have, I believe, another zoom for Ninja and Hysteria. Well, not having himself,
gosh. But Tfue is doing so much damage with the scope they are from long range. Constant 23s popping up, definitely weakening the opponents for someone to try to take them down. Question being, will it be Cloaksy or will it be the opposition of Ninja and Hysteria? You see 2 players on the backsides, Tfue and Ninja, both peppering players from afar with the scope they are and allowing Cloaksy and Hysteria to both be the aggressors. You see the roles definitely coming into play regarding Tilted Towers. Question being, who can find these players who've been tagged up?
Yeah, definitely so. You know, honestly, I think Ninja got the little better end of the stick there. He was peppering players as we saw Tfue was, but Tfue wasn't getting any knocks, whereas Ninja was getting knocks and eliminations. But look at this Hysteria guy pushing up. He's already in tilted, ready to go into the action. Of course, Ninja providing that coverage as we see plenty of times, and right there gets a Splode plus an elimination, but Tfue also got one as well. So back and forth trades.
Cloaksy, though, oh my goodness, Cloaksy was out of mats, lost height advantage, and barely gets away by the skin of his teeth with 14 HP. That could have been so dangerous.
And Tfue wasn't there, right? The thirst easily could have came through. It wasn't a matter of like Tfue could be there for the res. He was nowhere to be found. Like you said, Fall, that was such a very close situation to nearly even kind of counting out our defending champions.
Jeez, and
Ninja's
look
a
at
close range pistol.
Yeah, see that
and it's gonna be a kill steal from Tfue. That's big.
That is big, especially with them being down. Actually, Hysteria came down and got that kill down from below, but Tfue as well. They were able to trade it off. So we have 3 on the side of FaZe, and looking at the right, we have a total of 7. So a 4 frag lead for Ninja and Hysteria. Plenty of frags still remaining. We're looking at a total of 35 to come, and Tilted being this hotly contested area. You look at the line of that circle, it's just going to be on the outside of Tilted. So plenty of teams still to rotate through, and plenty of engagement still to be had. Of course, this is to be expected, but you got to be thinking Ninja and Hysteria already having this lead. They're not slowing down anytime soon.
Yeah, and I wonder, I'm not sure if Ninja had one of those blue pumps in that close range encounter, instead opting for the pistol, which does a lot of damage, does a lot of DPS, don't get me wrong, but it's not the best finishing weapon. So in those close range battles, if you're going for kills, you need to have those shotguns out. But again, not sure if Ninja did have the luxury of using a pump shotgun. One thing that's been great to see, of course, is this new meta. Since the recent patch, you see a lot more scoped AR work, both thermal and the regular scoped AR. Been great to see that. A lot more SMG work, as we've seen a lot of these players, especially Cypher, Ninja, etc., Tfue, in using that silenced SMG.
Because, you know, the thing is obviously shotguns have been getting nerfed, and they're great to have in your close quarters as well as your submachine guns, whether it be silent or tactical, whatever you like to rock. A lot of these players have been rocking the tactical submachine gun regardless of the, I mean, it got a buff and a nerf as well, but still they opt for that versus the silenced SMG. But with that being said, having that zoom, having that scoped AR in your back pocket is obviously what you want in the end. But Tfue has been known for that, in fact. But notice he also does have the C4 too, so he'll be able to provide detrimental damage whenever he comes to pushing forward. But very slow now, as we're going to be slowing down, pushing out of Tilted and pushing forward. It looks like Salty is Ninja and Hysteria might be able to hit it up first, but Tfue and Cloaksy are going to be going over towards Loot Lake.
Yeah, either way, they're all kind of close to each other in proximity. One thing that's interesting about that C4 is you really can have the upper hand, and also raises a question about interference. Because if a teammate's fighting a build war and you launch C4 because you're going for the enemy, you knock your teammates down. I mean, there's an interesting role play that C4 plays now that it's got an increased buff. But regardless, Tfue having that C4, I think, is a significant advantage.
Found when it comes down to these current kills.
Yep, Tfue's getting tagged up a little bit. Cloaksy's still sitting at full shields, looking good, nice and pretty. Meanwhile, Ninja's finally going to rotate over. You wonder if it's too little too late, though, as a couple kills have already been picked up by Tfue and Cloaksy. I believe there's still a few more running around. There it is. 4 straight kills for the FaZe clan, as that's going to be crucial. 7-7 is the score. We are all tied up here in game number 1. The epic storyline continues.
Yep, as Lennon just said, we are at the final 30, and Ninja in hot pursuit as a player jumps up and dips out. And the player is like, I want none of this. I'm going to go ahead and dip out. But we do have a little nice battle going on, as unfortunately Ninja is going to lose that high ground, and he has to try and regain that. But luckily he finds an enemy down on the ground, dodging rockets, gets a knock, another player just ahead, and opts out for the thirst, but rather goes in for the close. And the guy brings up pills.
He brings. I was like, for a moment, I was like, okay, Tfue 100% stole that kill. But thankfully, not the case in that spot. Great play from Ninja and Hysteria to kind of surround those players with the builds and collect those frags.
Yeah, meanwhile, look at Tfue, actually. So Cloaksy's going to backtrack and try and steal some kills, but Tfue is on to the next one. He is looking to out-rotate and pick up some kills early here. I like the call from Tfue. Smart decision comes in for him. And again, close one here. Score is 9-8 right now. 1 kill lead just barely in favor of Ninja and Hysteria.
I want to say earlier, maybe like a few minutes ago, I actually saw Cloaksy drop off that bounce pad to Tfue, and I'm thinking that maybe what Cloaksy is having in mind is saying, hey, I can either kind of separate myself, I'm going to give you the option to be more mobile. They kind of, a lot of times when it comes down to this duo, prefer Tfue to kind of go up against these solo squads rather than Cloaksy. Cloaksy kind of playing more of that support role. So I'm wondering if that's coming into play in this fight and saying, hey, Tfue, go out, seek some kills, trying to get us a little bit of that lead established, and here's the option to do so with quite a bit of that mobility that the bounce pad provides.
Yep, both teams going to spot a separate squad here, so this should be theoretically a 4-kill wipe for both teams. We'll see if that ends up being the case.
There's that C4.
What a toss.
You know, we talked about that C4 bringing down the builds and kind of throwing off the tempo, the pacing from his opponent who was trying to get that high ground. Now he's going to be forced with the low ground, and Tfue is going to take advantage of that by getting a knock and pushing for another one who's trying to dip out. But you see there Cloakzy too, that great support, consistent row coming through and able to try and put the pressure on, and he's going to go ahead and get it as well with the Splode, bringing down the enemy base plus the enemy's life. That's going to be 4 frags for Cloakzy, and Tfue sitting at 7. That puts him at 11 total frags, as opposed to we have 13 on the right. So still a 2 frag lead for Ninja, and Hysteria looking incredibly strong, getting down to the final remaining 20 frags still, as we see 15 remaining overall. It's a close one.
Yep, so yet another Game 1 nail-biter that's going to be decided most likely by a Game 2, bar something crazy happening here, one team potentially getting wiped, which is pretty unlikely at this point, so it's going to come down to the wire here. A Game 2 to rule them all in this Friday Fortnite, but we'll see who can clutch up here and go into Game 2 with a significant lead.
And rightly so. We'll have to see, as they're going to be frantically searching for these last remaining players. You notice there's going to be a big split on it, but there is a shopping cart, but only one player. And that was actually a great distraction, as Cloakzy will take some damage, plus fall damage. He's got to be careful during this moment. He will build up, showing the experience overall. Can Cloakzy come through and pick up these 2 frags? Of course, being so close, this is extremely crucial. He picks up one, knows there's a player just below, puts the trap down, and he will, in fact, be able to pick up a knock plus a kill. And that is going to be another 2 in his pocket. 6 total frags for the man of Cloakzy, and that is what you want, especially this close in the game.
Yep, what a beautiful play there. And it's actually going to be the split from Tfue and Cloakzy that might make the difference here. Meanwhile, Ninja and Hysteria, I believe, sticking together a little bit, finally going to split here, but maybe too little too late now, as Cloakzy just picked up a squad. Tfue just spotted another one. He's actually going to get flanked here, so Tfue might be in a pretty rough spot, depending if Ninja and Hysteria can come and try and clean up some kills.
Rightly so, we see Tfue still engaging in those players just ahead. They seem like the RNG is, in fact, in their favor, as they are finding all of the engagements. Ninja and Hysteria very slow. As you see, the circle is, in fact, collapsing down, and Tfue should make quick work of this opponent, and yes, he does, taking him out. That's going to put him at 8 total frags. We're looking at a very high frag game, as Hysteria now will finally spot a player, and he's going to be trying to eliminate him. Tries to pull out the rocket, opts out, and just keeps going in with
Tfue and Hysteria actually both sandwiching these individuals. So it's going to be Hysteria, though, that ultimately gets the final kills. Once again, Tfue put all the work in, but Hysteria cleans up all 4 of them, I believe. So that's going to be a big, big 4-kill pickup for Hysteria, sitting at 18 kills are Ninja and Hysteria. Meanwhile, 14 kills are FaZe Clan.
Rightly so, as
Ninja picks up another 2.
Hysteria is okay with being inside of this storm. He knows very well Ninja in the storm too. They know, though, this is a crucial play. We've seen them in the storm before. This is what saved them the game, and it seems as though they're not scared to be in it once again, as they managed to pick up at least 1 squad. Now, bandages will be in the hands of Hysteria, plus a supply drop is going to be right in front of him. So hopefully a med kit will be in there. But, of course, the timing, there is the med kit. Does he opt to use it? Of course, that's going to knock off the timing for the pushes. Now we see FaZe. They're going to have a huge advantage. They're going to be deep and dusty, pushing forward for these few remaining frags. I believe there's 4 still to come, and we've got a close game.
I'm just super, super impressed overall. We take a look at that quick scoreboard from Ninja and Hysteria, seeing the lead that they possess versus a very consistent team like Tfue and Cloakzy. We talk about how can they find so many frags in quick unison such as that, and now we see Ninja and Hysteria starting to kind of play similar mindsets, time in and time out. Last tournament playing and having quite a bit of the same attributes as FaZe, now playing almost identical to their playstyle, going to places like Shifty, playing incredibly passive off the start, but being super wary of those rotations. That is the name of the game when it comes in a Friday Fortnite. Both teams kind of catering to that same strategy, and obviously they're in the grand finals for a reason. I believe a 6-kill advantage right now for Ninja and Hysteria. Last few fights getting ready to come underway, but like you mentioned, followed a very, very intense game number 2 getting ready to come up here soon.
Yeah, very well said. I mean, regardless, top-tier Fortnite gameplay that really highlights why this game is such an exciting esport and competitive title to watch. I mean, look at this coming out of the wire. The display of skill, the communication that is needed, and Hysteria going to take 90 fall damage here. He has 5 HP in a world of hurt, and a launcher rocket knocks one. Tfue knocks the other. Hysteria some way, somehow alive. Can he get that kill? No, it's going to be Ninja who picks it up instead. Hysteria with 5 HP. Can he clutch that last kill? What an ending for Ninja and Hysteria. And oh my gosh, a 2-kill different. No, wait, way more than that actually. 22 20-16. 8-kill lead for Ninja and Hysteria. 6-kill lead. I can't do quick math.
If you are, math is hard, especially right now when there's a lot of thoughts going through our head. But Ninja and Hysteria, if you're a fan of them guys, they are in fact almost about to take the victory. We're going. We're going.
It's almost like we're not used to saying that. It's like, wait, they're ahead. Like FaZe is losing right now.
But I want to say this now. They've got to keep a level head. You see now 22-16. They've got to keep a level head, go in and play the game that they've been playing because obviously it's working for them. Land shifty. Don't get crazy with it. Land shifty, push tilted, and do the exact same thing that you've been doing. It's a formula. It works every time for them, apparently.
I'm curious now because we've seen FaZe. Like, when it comes into their gameplay, they want to play their style, right? But this has not happened before, right? Being in a grand finals in the winner's side, losing your first series, also based off kills. It wasn't like a very close kind of tested game toward the ending parts. Ninja and Hysteria were up after game 1 of the last series. They obviously closed out game number 2, being the most kills as well. They've won 3 games in a row by having more kills than the FaZe boys. So now if you're in FaZe's situation, it's a matter of, okay, hey, these guys are obviously countering us by playing our strat. Now do we change up our landing location? Yeah. Do we go towards shifty to maybe make tilted later, or do we even go toward the kind of the rider side of the map, the eastern side of the map, the eastern quadrant, and going toward the landing triangle, places like Salty Springs, Retail Road, Dusty Divot? That's the question to be asking right now for the FaZe guys, is saying, hey, do we maybe want to kind of get away from Ninja and Hysteria because they've been getting more slays than we have, or do you want to kind of continue with our gameplay, which has won us 3 championships? A lot of communication, a lot of kind of things coming in. It's the mindset off the drop, and based off of where the bus is.
I think Ninja and Hysteria are dropping crates.
Yeah, this is looking a little bit, I don't know, a little bit worrisome, I think, for FaZe because they have the option. Retail. They have the option, right, to go toward the eastern quadrant of the map, but based off the zone right here, it's not the best bus for the amount of bodies that they want to have on the eastern side of the map.
Shifty would be a big mistake here, and that's so well said. It's almost like FaZe Clan has been playing Ninja and Hysteria's game as opposed to playing their own game. I'd like to see more salty drops and then play what's worked so well, the formula that's worked for them throughout. But we'll see where they decide to drop here. Looks like Ninja and Hysteria are holding on here as they might be going another shifty, even though it's very, very late on. Meanwhile, we're going to see a tilted towers drop. That's going to come in for both members of FaZe Clan. So high risk, high reward here as they are going to go all in on tilted towers.
Wait. Oh, my gosh. Yeah.
They're all going
tilted. Oh, my goodness. One game to decide it all.
Ninja's going, they're going shifty.
Oh, my gosh. I was going to say, be still my beating heart. Tfue and Cloak are setting all 3 championships on the table and saying, hey, we've got these already, and now it's time for our 4th. We're going to win this one in exciting fashion. Of course, like I said, high risk, high reward. It all comes down to this. Tfue and Cloaksy, how did they make this comeback happen? And it looks like it's going to be on the back, at least off the start, of some great revolver shots from Tfue.
And I also want to point out, too, this would be the first time that FaZe has been in the finals and lost, because every time they have gone into the finals, they have never got second place. They've always got first. Of course, they haven't won every tournament, but every time they have made it to finals, they have won over their opponent. So this is literally Fortnite or Friday Fortnite history at this given moment. Let's see if it is, in fact, going to pay off. One good thing that we do have for FaZe, if they make it out of Tilted, let's say they get in, they get a lot of kills, they are cutting off a huge rotation for Ninja and Hysteria, which puts them at a huge lead. But, of course, they have to make it through. We have not seen a team, at least tonight, make it through Tilted. Will FaZe be the first?
Definitely possible. This is the team to do it, right, Fallout?
Oh, indeed it is. I said it at the beginning.
In your voice.
I'm just saying. I'm sticking to the prediction. Maybe I can be national.
Oh, no! The
Tfue's down!
The snipe from afar. Tfue somehow has been taken down, and Cloaksy cannot get there, at least for the time being. He's got to build up quite a few ramps, and he has yet to get one. No ramps right now for Cloaksy. He has to go for the res. There is no question as to what he has to do in this situation. Sprint, get the res. You see the alarm on his face.
I feel like I'm watching a Bruce Willis movie right now. Sprinting up those stairs, trying to get to his teammate is Cloaksy, as you did see those stairs being built to top of Castle. So can Cloaksy get there on time?
The awareness on his face as well. You can see how scared he is.
That's it.
Cloaksy drops, and just like that, Ninja and Hysteria for the first time have made Friday Fortnite history. You see Ninja getting hype on your screen right now. Their first title, taking down the 3-time champions. FaZe has
Wow.
been taken out by the king of Twitch.
Is he going for pom-pom?
Hysteria.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness.
Yo, this is the first time the curse is lifted. Ninja has gotten second place at least once overall. He wanted that first place, and he managed to get it. Hysteria as well, doing good on his organization. What a play. Ninja and Hysteria are the Friday Fortnite Week 8 champions.
Wow.
FaZe, the gods of Friday Fortnite, have shown that they can bleed, and Ninja takes them out.
Unbelievable story from the losers bracket. Ninja and Hysteria claw their way back, and I love the story of this. Ninja and Hysteria placed 4th place last week. Ninja could have easily said, you know what, I want to play with maybe a FaZe member, whoever it might be, sticks with his teammate, grinds it out, and secures his first Friday Fortnite championship. An unbelievable performance. Game 1 was phenomenal. Game 2 even better. Game 1 of the second reset was amazing. I mean, what a great display of skill, and goes to show how exciting Friday Fortnite really is.
Absolutely so. But with that being said, FaZe, yeah, they got second place. But mind you, don't let that distract you from the fact that they've won $37,000 in Friday Fortnite.
And donated
alone.
a lot of it to charity.
And donated it too. Yeah, they donated it as well to St. Jude's, I believe, a while back. And that's a respectable thing. So, but with that being said, still $37,000. And of course, we've given away, how much did I quote it earlier? Like $135,000 plus from Friday Fortnites alone. Of course, this is our Week 8, and you couldn't ask for a better one. I'm excited. I know the crowd was excited, but the FaZe boys finally losing and getting second place. Ninja, well deserved. He's been he's literally played in every single Friday Fortnite, and
except for week 1.
Except for week 1, but on there he's played in 7 of them, and he finally gets his victory.
Yeah, and it comes here, right, versus the FaZe boys. If you're going to get a win, right, you want to do it versus the best team, the best duo squad in the
100%.
world. And you could absolutely argue it is going to be the FaZe boys and Tfue and Cloaksy, but what a grand final. I mean, I think we have to say it. GG's to both sides. Of course,
100%.
FaZe put on one heck of a show, making their way all throughout the winners bracket. Like you already mentioned, Ninja and Hysteria, an incredible story through the losers bracket, playing countless tournaments, trying to get in preparation for the Friday Fortnite title, the one title in Fortnite that Ninja didn't have. He's won Ninja Vegas, right, a few tournaments. He won the E3 tournament, but he had yet to win Friday Fortnite, and he wins it here in Week 8. Truly a phenomenal story.
And you saw from his reaction